Naruto, Fairy Tale Chronicles by Red Rover 117 on fanfiction.net. Chapter 1, Dying Wish. Shinobi World, Forest of Dead Trees. This was going from bad to worse as the fight went on, and it seemed like things were finally coming to head. Hatake Kakashi was renowned as the copy ninja of Konohagakure no Sato and was thought to be one of the strongest shinobi of the village. But compared to the monster they were facing now, even he had to admit he couldn't possibly win. The organization known simply as the Akatsuki, a group of S-ranked criminals, had been hunting down Jinchuriki for months. Two of their members had come to capture Konoha's Kyuubi Jinchuriki, and Kakashi had led the three remaining members of Team Asuma into battle against them. Nara Shikamaru had taken on the one called Haiden, and the two had left the area. Now Kakashi stood beside a caught Yamanaka Ino and Akamichi Chuji as the Akatsuki agent called Kakuzu, a man whom had said he had fought the Shodai Hokage himself, readied himself to administer the killing blow. "This is it," Kakuzu said as the two white masks embedded in his shoulders charged up. "Katan, Tsukaku. Futon, Atsugai. Kamui," Kakashi whispered, and the Sharingan spun wildly. "Futon, Rasengan. Suitun, Hahanryu. Gufu Suka no Jutsu." Naruto and Yamato exclaimed as they arrived on the scene and combined their jutsu into a single spinning tornado of water and wind between the two combatants. "What is this?" Kakuzu thought as his chest started to convulse and the space in front of him distorted into a spinning vortex. "Dujitsu, oh crap," he quickly tried to evade, but he was pulled into the vortex. "Oh shit," Naruto thought as too was pulled in. "Damn it, I can't properly control the position and size of the barrier space," Kakashi thought as he clutched his now bleeding left eye. Naruto. His blonde student couldn't escape the vortex's pull, and Yamato had already jumped back after his and Naruto's previous combination jutsu. Kakashi felt the web threads around him slacken, and he quickly broke free before lunging at Naruto in the hopes of throwing both of them free of the vortex. The pull was too much, however, and both of them were pulled in instead. Time slowed as the world distorted around them, and they both fell through space and time. Suddenly the two fell to the ground with a pair of echoing thuds. Naruto groaned as he pushed himself back to his feet and spotted an unmoving Kakashi a few feet away. Naruto quickly rushed over to his fallen sensei with a worried look on his face. "Kakashi-sensei, are you alright?" Naruto asked as he crouched beside the copy nin. "Naruto." Kakashi strained while lying on his back. He had used too much chakra, far too much. "Considering all of the jutsu I've been using today, I'm surprised I lasted as long as I did," Kakashi thought grimly. "Using Kamui on top of that must have drained the last of my chakra. I don't have enough left to live through this." He looked up at the face of his student and spoke. "Don't worry about me. Watch out for Kakuzu, he's a member of the Akatsuki for a reason." "You've cost me quite a bit of trouble," Kakuzu spoke up as he walked out from the trees. "Your heart belongs to me, Hatake Kakashi. It's time for you to get your ass kicked," Naruto growled out with his back to the Akatsuki agent. Yeah, Kakuzu waved off the comment. "I'll have it out with you another time." "You're too careless," Kakashi mused. "What?" Kakuzu thought as an orange blur descended from the trees behind him. "Rasengan!" Naruto exclaimed as he slammed the spiraling sphere down into Kakuzu's back. "Damn," Kakuzu winced as he was blown forwards and slammed into the side of a nearby tree with an echoing boom. "Naruto, be careful," Kakashi rasped out. "I got this," Naruto said as he formed a familiar hand seal. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, two shadow clones popped into existence beside him a moment later. "I won't fall for your tricks again, boy," Kakuzu sneered as he stood up and his body convulsed, spewing more black threads, including some from his mouth. "He must be preparing to fight you," Kakashi spoke. "Charge!" Naruto yelled and his clones shot forward, only to be destroyed by Kakuzu's black threads a moment later. "He's using his shadow clones to gather data on the enemy," Kakashi mused as he watched on. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, Naruto quickly summoned another 3 clones and had 2 of them start directing chakra to his hands. "I'll end it with this," he yelled as a bell-like screech filled the air. A moment later he held up a spinning white chakra shuriken with what looked like a Rasengan in its center. "What is that?" Kakuzu thought with a shiver. "So this is the power of the Kyuubi Jinchuriki. Well, the jutsu certainly befits the beast." "Come here!" Naruto yelled as he and his clones shot forward. "The clones are irrelevant," Kakuzu thought as he jumped into the air. "If this jutsu is anything like the one he used before, then he will need to get in close to use it. As long as I take out that jutsu and the main body, then we'll be over." He thrust out his black threads and impaled Naruto through the chest and arms. "I won't fall for you tricks." A second later, Naruto disappeared in a poof of smoke. "A shadow clone? Wanna bet?" Naruto shouted as he and his clones appeared behind him with another chakra shuriken in hand. I've got you now. He mixed his real body in with the clones? Kakuzu thought in surprise. Futon, Raisin Shuriken. Naruto exclaimed as he slammed the spinning chakra shuriken into Kakuzu's back. It spun wildly for a few seconds before propelling Kakuzu forward and expanding into a large spinning sphere of wind and power. Kakuzu screamed as his body was ripped apart until with a blast of wind the sphere exploded. After the dust cleared, Kakuzu's unmoving body could be seen in the center of the newly formed crater. The number of times the wind slashed at his body was more than even my Sharingan could see, Kakashi thought, amazed. What a magnificent jutsu, it seems he's finally surpassed me. Jutsu that were even beyond you. Minato-sensei are well within his grasp. Kakashi-sensei, I did it, Naruto laughed softly as he clutched his bleeding right arm. Nicely done, Naruto, Kakashi gasped out and slipped into unconsciousness. Kakashi-sensei! Naruto cried in worry. Just then he heard a rustle from the nearby trees and turned to see what it was. Who's there? He demanded. Calm yourself, young man, an elderly woman emerged from the woods with pink hair of all things. Sakura-chan? Naruto asked upon seeing her hair. Sakura? My name is Porla Yusaka, the woman responded. I heard the explosion and came to investigate. Please, you have to help my sensei, Naruto pleaded. He's dying. I will see what I can do, Porla Yusaka conceded and crouched down beside the white-haired man. Come with me, my home isn't far from here. Earthland, East Forest / Porla Yusaka's house. Truthfully, Porla Yusaka had only gone to investigate because she had felt an unusual disturbance similar to anima and wanted to see what had caused it. When she had first arrived at the scene, she wasn't surprised to see that the three combatants had already finished their battle. One of them was dead, and from what she was able to understand, the nucleus of every cell in his body had been destroyed by whatever had created that crater she had found him in. The blonde boy also had a similar but noticeably less amount of the same damage in his right arm, which she had bandaged up and healed to the best of her considerable ability. Finally, the white-haired man was on his deathbed, which seemed to be caused by the lack of life energy in his body. She had tried to augment his rapidly depleting life force and he had regained consciousness, but sadly creating life was beyond even her powers. You're going to be fine, Naruto tried to reassure both himself and the copy nin, but Kakashi just chuckled at his words. I think we both know that's not true this time, Naruto. Kakashi leaned his head back and sighed. Naruto, I have something to ask of you, he gasped out as he looked up at him. What is it? Naruto asked with tears falling down his face. I want you to take my Sharingan, Kakashi answered. Sensei, I can't dash, Naruto started. Take it and use it. It's a tool I was entrusted with, now I'm entrusting it to you, Naruto, Kakashi interrupted. Please, grant a shinobi's dying wish, you of all people should understand a dying wish, Naruto. Yeah, Naruto nodded, remembering another dying wish, though that one was ignored by the people of Konoha. Save your strength, Sensei, Naruto told him. No. Not yet, Sasuke, when you run into him again, he may not be the boy we once knew. As his friend, I want you to stop him from falling even more into darkness than he already is. I fear what he may become if you don't stop him before that happens, Kakashi whispered, and the blonde pulled back. Damn it, why is this happening? Naruto cried. Porla Yusaka-san, my left eye, I want you to remove it and implant it in Naruto, Kakashi said as he turned his head to look at the elderly woman. Are you sure? Porla Yusaka asked, curious. That red eye of his must be something special if he was asking her to transfer it to the blonde boy. I'm sure, you need to do it now, Porla Yusaka-san, Kakashi told her, and she reluctantly nodded. Kakashi didn't feel a thing as she numbed his eye socket, and suddenly his vision in his left eye turned into a dark void. Naruto didn't move as she repeated the process with him by removing his left eye and slowly inserted the Sharingan into the eye socket. Naruto blinked several times and covered his left eye with his hand. It's done, Porla Yusaka said finally. I leave the rest to you, Naruto. Kakashi whispered before darkness finally claimed him. Kakashi-sensei, Naruto sobbed as his master passed away. Porla Yusaka watched on silently, and after a few seconds passed by she quietly exited the room, leaving the blonde boy to mourn his master's passing. An hour later she returned to the site of Naruto with his head resting on the side of the bed with red streaks down the side of his face, clearly asleep. She sighed at yet another death happening within her lifetime and pulled a small blanket over Naruto's still form. Perhaps there was something she could do for the boy. Naruto's mindscape, Jinchuriki seal. The next day Naruto rested Kakashi's body on a small bonfire and set it ablaze as per protocol. Upon death and in the event that Shinobi's body cannot be returned to the village, it was to be burned to keep the body's secrets from falling into enemy hands. A week passed since then and porla Yusuke had explained to Naruto where he was. At first Naruto didn't believe he could possibly be in another world entirely, but that changed when he confronted the demon within him. So my jailer finally returns, Kyuubi spoke mockingly as he watched his container approach the cage doors. I knew you would come back. I want answers, Fox, Naruto said with a glare. Where the hell am I? And how do I get back to Konoha? I do not answer to you, boy, Kyuubi snarled back. Do not ask questions to which you already know the answer. So the old hag was telling the truth? We really did end up in another world? Naruto asked. You seem surprised, Kyuubi mocked. Surely you remember what that master of yours told you about his jutsu. Don't you dare mock Kakashi-sensei, Naruto glared back. Even if he did give you that accursed eye of his, you are still nothing before me, Kyuubi sneered. One day this seal will weaken completely and I will break free. When that day comes I will devour you and I be wreak havoc on this world, and this time I will not be manipulated by those disgusting Uchiha. When this seal does finally collapse I will kick your overgrown furry ass and take your power once and for all. That's a promise, Naruto shot back and turned away. Just you wait, Fox, we'll settle our score then. He walked out of the chamber and vanished from the mindscape. I'll be waiting, Naruto, Kyuubi said darkly as its massive red eyes closed and it drifted off to sleep again. Earthland, East Forest. Kuchios no Jutsu. Naruto exclaimed and slapped his hand down on the ground. A large seal matrix spread out across the ground and a second later a large human-sized toad appeared in a poof of smoke. Yo Gamakichi, he greeted the toad. Bro. You're alive. Gamakichi exclaimed. When we didn't hear anything from you we were beginning to worry. Your friends returned to Konoha and reported that you and your sensei were pulled into his jutsu along with the enemy. That guy from Akatsuki, Kakuzu I think his name was, he's dead, Naruto explained. I'm fine but Kakashi-sensei, he didn't make it. I see, Gamakichi nodded in understanding. I'm sorry. So am I, Naruto said finally. Your eye? Gamakichi trailed off upon seeing Naruto's leaf headband covering his left eye. Don't tell me that sensei of yours gave you his Sharingan. Yeah he did, Naruto replied. It was his dying wish. I burned his body so no one else can get anything from him, he added. Anyway, can you help me get home? I could reverse summon you to Myobokuzen, Gamakichi mused. And then we could summon you back to Konoha from there. Let's do that, Naruto nodded. Jiraiya thought that you might actually summon us to get into contact with Konoha, so he wanted to speak with you, Gamakichi told him. Once I reverse summon you to Myobokuzen I'll then reverse summon Jiraiya and you can talk about what to do from there. Sounds like a plan, Naruto nodded. Alright then, Gamakichi said and disappeared in a poof of smoke. So you're going home, an aged voice spoke from behind him. I don't know if I'll be coming back, Naruto said without turning round. If you do I look forward to our next meeting Uzumaki Naruto, porla Yusuke spoke sternly and a second later Naruto disappeared in a poof of smoke. Summon Realm, Myobokuzen. So this is where you live? Naruto asked as he looked around at the strange toad village. Yes it is, a small elderly-looking green toad spoke from ahead. I am Fukasaku. This place is really a separate world from both the shinobi world and Earthland, where you found yourself sent during your last fight. How many worlds are there? Naruto asked the elder toad. Many, Fukasaku replied cryptically. I know of only 4 more. How many people know about this? Naruto inquired further. Just the other animals that inhabit this realm, Fukasaku answered. Our territory borders the snakes and slugs. There are also numerous other summon contractors in this world. Ours is one of the only worlds that allow travel between others. What about Earthland? Naruto asked. We haven't had a summoner in Earthland for centuries, Fukasaku replied. That's dragon territory, he added. Dragons? Naruto asked in surprise. They're real? Of course they are, Fukasaku shrugged. Though they may have died off, I don't know, like I said we haven't had any contact with Earthland for centuries. You sure had Tsunadeheim worried brat, a new familiar voice spoke up from behind him. Ero-senin? Naruto asked in surprise. I heard what happened to Kakashi, Jiraiya nodded. And judging by the way your headband it placed I think it's safe to say you have his Sharingan now. Yeah, Naruto nodded sadly. I won but it was already too late. I have good news, bad news and worse news, Jiraiya spoke again after a moment. The good news is that your old pal Sasuke has killed Orochimaru. Sasuke, killed Orochimaru? Naruto blinked in shock. Then he's coming back to Konoha, right? That's the bad news, Jiraiya spoke grimly. He's putting together a team of his own and appears to be going after Itachi, directly. That idiot, Naruto gritted out as his fists clenched at his side. I need to go after him. And that's the worst news, Jiraiya continued. Tsunadeheim told me that if I ever contacted you I was to give you orders to send you into hiding. What? You can't just expect me to hide while Sasuke is out in the open and the Akatsuki are hunting me. Naruto yelled. Think about it, Jiraiya shot back. The Akatsuki are after the Kyuubi, and if you remain in Konoha then in all likelihood the Akatsuki will launch a direct attack just like they did in Suna months ago. As Hokage, Tsunade cannot risk the safety of the village over one man no matter what. You of all people should understand her position. Damn it, Naruto gritted out in anger and turned away. Fine, he conceded. I'll have Gamakichi send you back to Earthland, Fukasaku spoke up. You can summon Gamamaru to maintain contact with Konoha. I'm sorry Naruto, Jiraiya said sadly. I know. Earthland, East Forest/Hillside. At the edge of a cliff, overlooking a large forest and a pair of mountains in the back stood Naruto with the front of his jumpsuit open and waving in the wind. He breathed as his eye closed and he turned his head down to the ground. So you're back, Porla Yusuka said from a few feet behind him. I take it something came up. It was a statement more than a question. I've been given orders to hide in this world from my enemies back home, Naruto answered her unasked question. It seems like no matter how hard I try or how strong I get, I still can't do anything. Are you running away? Porla Yusuka asked him. I don't run away from my problems, Naruto replied. I face them head on and never give up. But, Porla Yusuka trailed off. I couldn't stop my best friend from betraying me and everyone I care about. I couldn't even save Kakashi-sensei, Naruto said as he brought his hand up and pushed his headband out of the way of his left eye. My dream is to become Hokage, but maybe, I've really been running away from what I really want. And that is? Porla Yusuka inquired. To be free, Naruto snapped his head up at the sky and opened both of his eyes revealing one ocean blue and the other spinning red. I think you'll fit in well at Fairy Tail. Chapter 2, Guild War Part 1. Earthland, East Forest/Porla Yusuka's house. You old fool, Porla Yusuka sighed and slapped the green-faced elderly man now lying on the bed. Hey, spoke Alzak Connell in surprise. What are you doing to our master? I mean the patient? Biska Connell added. Humph, he rushed into things without considering his age and look at him now. Really, such a fool, Porla Yusuka shook her head. How long are you going to stay here? Go home already, she turned and glared at the two Fairy Tail mages. No. But, we're worried about the master's condition, Alzak reasoned. Please allow us to look after him, Biska added. Go home, Porla Yusuka told them. Those worried faces are like rubbing salt in a patient's wounds, and take Naruto with you. You want me to go with them? Naruto asked from the side. You were going to join Fairy Tail anyway, Porla Yusuka reasoned. Now is as good a time as any, besides, this wind magic. Metsu, it's a dreadful magic that depletes the target's magic power. Once the magic power is drained, it'll float in the air and eventually disappear. If we could have gathered Makarov's magic power as it was floating around, we could heal him faster. But now it's too late, it'll take a while. Is that so? Alzak stammered in surprise. We'll tell everyone, Biska added. What are you still doing here? Porla Yusuka shouted angrily. Huh? But we thought you wanted us to hear you out? Biska yelled. Go away already. You humans stink. Porla Yusuka shouted as they ran out of the door. Excuse us. Biska yelled back as she pushed her future husband out of the tree house. Good luck young man, Porla Yusuka said over her shoulder. Thanks for everything Porla Yusuka Abakan, Naruto grinned as he followed after the older teenagers and closed the door behind him. You've caused so much trouble since the old days. For mages, magic power is like their source of life. The greater the magic power you possess, the more Metsu hurts. If you don't try your best, you could die from this. You really are a fool. Earthland, Magnolia/Fairy Tail Guild. Fairy Tail, respected as one of the most powerful and crazy of magic guilds, was now a battered and nearly destroyed building. After the recent attack by Phantom Lord and the loss experienced when they launched their failed attack on the Phantom Lord Guild itself had all but crushed Fairy Tail's morale. To make matters worse, apparently it was the new guild member Lucy that was the target of Phantom Lord's client. I can't believe we had to retreat. So degrading. We couldn't avenge our guild, nor Levi-chan and the others. Damn it. Their headquarters is here, so if we attack them with long-range magic from the southwest hill, we're bringing as many bomb lacrima as possible. Bring some powerful magic sheets from the storage for the mages. What's up? Still worried? Gray asked upon seeing the blonde girl's face. No. It's not that, it's just, I'm sorry, Lucy apologized with a pained face. Well, daughters from rich families are destined to be targets, Elfman mused. And it's a man's duty to protect them. Don't say such things, Gray said over his shoulder. But I'm surprised too, the talking blue cat called Happy of all things spoke up. Lucy, why were you hiding? I wasn't so much hiding, Lucy denied. But I ran away from home, so I didn't feel like talking about it. He didn't care about the daughter who ran away from home for a year, and now he suddenly wants me back. Papa did this so that he can get me back, he's horrible. Though, all of this happened because I ran away from home in the first place, right? It sounds like your dad's just an asshole, a new voice spoke up from the side. Who are you? Happy asked as they turned to the newcomer. He was a tall blonde with 6 whisker-like marks on his cheeks and a headband that covered his left eye and wore a black and orange jumpsuit. My name is Naruto, the blonde boy said. I heard about you, Gray mused. I think Bisca and Alzak said something about you wanting to join Fairy Tail. That was the idea, Naruto scratched his head sheepishly. Though, it looks like you're all having your share of problems. Yep, Happy nodded. Everything will go back to normal if I go home, right? Lucy asked the question. Is that so? Natsu asked. I mean, the term lady doesn't really suit you, does it? You fit better in this dirty bar, laughing and merrily going out on adventures. You said you want to stay here, what good would it do for you to return to a place you hate? You're Lucy of Fairy Tail, right? This is your home, she began to tear up at his words. I've got to agree with Porla Yusaka Abakan's grandson on this one, Naruto grinned as he thumbed at the pink-haired dragon slayer. Porla Yusaka isn't my grandmother, Natsu responded. She isn't? Naruto blinked. But you both have pink hair, and she pointed me to this guild so I thought you were related. The jury is still out on that one, Happy quipped. Suddenly the ground shook as the sound of a loud thud filled the air. What the hell was that? Naruto asked as he looked around. It's coming from outside. Alzak yelled as again the room shook and an echoing thud sounded. You've got to be kidding me. Naruto trailed off at the sight in front of him. A large guild was walking atop the water and being held up with 6 large metal legs. That guild is walking? Is it Phantom? I never imagined that they'd attack us directly. Urza clenched her fists at her side as the water from her shower ran down her face and exposed shoulders. What should we do? Suddenly the main gates of the attacking guild fortress opened and a large tube expended from it and started gathering purple energy inside it. This is bad. Everybody get down. Urza shouted as she rushed forward. That's a magic conversion cannon. Are they trying to blow our guild away? Everyone get down. Urza shouted again. And Tsunade Abakan thought it was safer for everyone if I stay here? At least this place isn't boring, Naruto thought as he lifted his headband to expose his left eye. Urza! What are you doing? Kanso, Kongo no Yoroi. Urza declared as blue and white armor materialized over her body with a pair of white shields. I won't let you take down our guild. Adamantine armor? Don't tell me she's trying to stop that attack? Even though the armor is famous for its high defensive power. No, Urza. You're going to die if you do that. Get down. Urza yelled at them. Urza. Natsu yelled as Gray held him back. Stop, Natsu. We've just got to believe in Urza for now, Gray told him. Suddenly the cannon fired a beam of destructive energy at the Fairy Tail Guild and its defenders. Urza brought both of her shields up in order to better prepare to the oncoming attack, however everyone was surprised when the space in front of her started to distort. Kamui, Naruto whispered though it wasn't heard over the thunderous blast. He had created a large distortion of space and time directly between Urza and the beam, effectively sucking the beam in and dumping it in another dimension, hopefully not injuring anyone on the other side. What just happened? Damn, Naruto grunted and fell to his knee, catching the attention of an equally surprised Urza. Did you just deflect a shot from a magic conversion cannon? Urza asked over her shoulder. It's the first time I've used that jutsu on something that big, Naruto responded as he pushed himself back up onto his feet and removed his hand from his left eye, allowing her to see his Mangekyo Sharingan. I'm still working on aiming it right, especially against moving targets. He was able to deflect a shot from a magic conversion cannon with a single spell, Urza thought as she examined the blonde. He's strong, though I shouldn't be surprised if Porla Yusaka has taken an interest in him, but that was clearly an S-rank spell he used. Is he an S-class mage? When this is over I need to talk to him, especially if he wants to join Fairy Tail. Even if you were able to stop a single shot from my Jupiter cannon, a loud voice spoke from the guild fortress. You still don't stand a chance. Hand over Lucy Heartfilia right now. You're out of your mind. Alzak yelled back. Where in the world would you find a guild that offers up a comrade to an enemy? Bisca shouted out. Lucy is our comrade. Makoa yelled. That's right. Go away. We won't hand over Lucy. Even though the enemy is attacking their home they still refuse to hand over one of their own, Naruto thought as he watched on. I wonder if the people of Konoha would ever do that for me if the Akatsuki attacked. Hand her over, the voice spoke again. We'd rather die than give up one of our comrades. Urza herself yelled and the rest of the guild roared in agreement. Our answer won't change no matter what. We'll take you down. Natsu shouted. I see, then we'll fire an even bigger and stronger Jupiter. Now struggle in this 15-minute terror until it's reloaded, the voice yelled back. You mean we have a full 15 minutes? Naruto asked with a grin which surprised everyone. That should be more than enough time. What are you talking about? The voice demanded. To kick your ass and save the whole damn guild, Naruto grinned. Listen to me very carefully because I'm only going to say this once. You may think you've got us cornered but you're wrong, because you made one mistake, you underestimated us. You can't stop us, the voice spoke clearly as hundreds of shadow creatures flew out of the guild fortress and shot towards the fairy tale guild. You have two options, be killed by my soldiers or die by Jupiter. Impossible, is he going to kill his own men with Jupiter as well? He's just threatening us, he won't fire it. Yes he will, Kana spoke up. That's Jose's magic Shirito, they're not human, they're just ghost soldiers that Jose created. Ghosts? Naruto suppressed a shiver at the thought. He'd always been afraid of ghosts and though admittedly it had lessened over the years his fear was still there. We've got to do something about Jupiter. Kana trailed off. I'll go smash it, Natsu declared. 15 minutes, right? Kana silently nodded in reply. Happy, immediately white wings spread out from the blue cat's back and it grabbed hold of him, lifting him into the air despite the size difference and flying the pair towards the guild fortress. Gray. Elfman. You two head in there too, Urza gave the order. Loki. Kana. You are in charge here until I get back, she got a nod from the pair. What are you going to do? Naruto asked the redhead. You and I are going after Jose himself, Urza replied. Kanso, Tenrin no Yoroi, light encased her body as her armor changed shape and took the form of silver-plated dress with flower-like wings extending from the back. Can you fly? She asked the blonde at her side. No. But I can run real fast, Naruto grinned and ran forward, jumping off the cliff edge and landing atop the water. Racia, he yelled and took off running on the water towards the guild fortress. He can walk on water too? What is he? Urza thought before taking to the air and flying off towards the guild fortress after her new partner. Earthland, Magnolia/Phantom Lord Guild Fortress. The pair quickly entered the fortress and made their way through its maze-like corridors towards the highest tower where the guild master Jose Porla was waiting. They encountered a small snag however when they entered a ballroom and Urza was forced to fling both herself and Naruto to the side just as a blast of wind cut through the floor where they had stood moments ago. What the hell? Naruto thought as he rolled back to his feet beside Urza. This guy? Urza mused and her face settled into a glare when out of nowhere a large man in a green trench coat and with bandages covering his eyes. He's the guy that drained the master. Urza Scarlet, huh? How very sad for your neck to be handed to me, the man mocked. You're the bastard who dared to touch the old man, Urza glared. Can you handle this guy? Naruto asked over his shoulder. Give me 5 minutes, Urza replied. If I'm going to be fighting the mighty Urza, the man, Arya spoke. Even I have to take this fight seriously, he removed the bandages over his eyes to reveal pink eyes with white X going through them. Is that a Jujitsu? Naruto thought. Come at me, Titania, Arya challenged as the wind started to spiral around him. I have activated the airspace of death, 0. This airspace consumes all life. Magic that consumes life. Urza trailed off as her eyes darkened. Why do you people find it so easy to steal people's lives away? You bastards. Now let us have some fun, Arya smiled as Urza shot towards him. I wonder, can you survive this airspace? That's some pretty strong wind, Naruto thought as he watched on. Should I help her? Does she even need help? You'll pay, Urza whispered as she sliced her way through the wind with her swords. No way, she's slicing up the airspace, Arya thought with wide eyes. Tenrin, Rairin no Ken. Urza exclaimed as she lunged and swung with her swords, cutting clean through him faster than the normal eye could see. She appeared behind him with her back to him as he dropped down onto his back with an echoing thud. She took him down with one blow, Naruto thought in surprise. Her speed was insane and what is up with that armor of hers? Master could never be defeated by the likes of you, Urza declared as she glared down at Arya's beaten form. That tale will never appear in your saga. All you fairy tale members out there, Jose's voice echoed across the battlefield. We have succeeded in capturing Lucy. You've got to be kidding me, Naruto growled out. Our objective has been accomplished, Jose chuckled and was soon followed a loud scream of pain from Lucy herself. We have but one single objective remaining, to slaughter the lot of you disgusting brats. Natsu is probably already going after Lucy again, Urza mused. He'll be facing Gajeel Red Fox, the Iron Dragon Slayer of Phantom Lord. I thought Natsu was one of those dragon guys? Naruto asked. He is a fire dragon slayer, Urza replied. We need to keep moving, Jose should be this way. I'm here, Jose declared as he appeared atop the steps at the end of the room. I never honestly expected you to provide me with this much entertainment. About time the main villain shows his ugly face, Naruto grinned and formed a familiar hand seal. Now can I start fighting for real? Chapter 3, Guild War Part 2. Earthland, Magnolia/Phantom Lord Guild Fortress. Tajukage Bunshin no Jutsu. Naruto exclaimed as 100 shadow clones filled the room. Charge, he yelled and the clones rushed at the Phantom Lord Guild Master. Are those physical copies? And so many of them, his magic power must be equal to the Master's, Urza thought as the clones attacked. Annoying little fairies, Jose sneered and extended his arm towards the oncoming clone army. Dedo Vivu, a purple seal formed in front of him and a beam of purple energy lanced out, wiping out the clones in a matter of seconds. Wait! Don't just go charging in by yourself. Urza shouted as Naruto himself shot forward. Kamui! Naruto called out as space and time distorted next to Jose's head. That's the spell he used to stop Jupiter, Jose thought as he quickly jumped away to escape the vortex. I've got you now! Naruto yelled as he appeared behind him with a clone at his side and a spinning chakra sphere the size of his chest in hand. He used an S-rank spell as a distraction? Jose thought in surprise. He's strong, Urza thought as she watched on. Oh damarasengan! Naruto exclaimed as he drove the chakra ball into Jose's back. It sent him flying forward through a support pillar and into the wall with a mighty explosion. Got you. Dedo Vivu! Jose roared back in anger as a beam of darkness lanced out from the dust. Damn, Naruto grunted as the beam hit him head-on and blew him into the far wall with an echoing thud and crack. The wall came down a moment later and buried him under the rubble. What an annoying little pest, Jose commented with a sneer. He doesn't even look harmed by Naruto's last attack, Urza thought and narrowed her eyes. I can't worry about Naruto right now, I have to concentrate on Jose or Fairy Tail might be destroyed today. Are you ready to die? Jose asked the red-headed girl. Kanso, Kureha no Yoroi, Urza spoke clearly as black and silver armor materialized over his body. If I'm fighting for those I love, I care not what happens to this body, she declared and lifted her dark purple sword. She shot forward. Such admirable strength of heart, Jose smiled darkly. Yes, you are truly a woman worth killing. Suddenly the room shook and debris started falling around them. Ha 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 ha, that dragon does like to rampage, he commented with a chuckle. Looks like Natsu got underestimated, Urza mused. His power is on a level with mine, or perhaps even stronger still. Quit with the modesty, Titania, Jose sneered. Your magical ability is truly magnificent, in truth, no other mage has lasted so long against us. I just can't stand the thought of another mage of that level could exist in Makarov's guild, he raised his hand and another seal formed. Dedo Vivu, a beam lanced out and struck Urza dead, sent her in the chest sending her crashing into the wall. Do you understand why it is that I never killed Makarov outright? Despair, it was to shot him despair, how would he feel to open his eyes and find his beloved guild and his beloved comrades all completely destroyed? Ha 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 ha, such sorrow he would feel, I will kill that man only once I have made him know despair and sorrow. I cannot simply kill him. I must make him suffer, suffer, suffer to the very end. How disgusting, Urza gritted out and jumped to the side to evade another blast. Phantom Lord was always the #1 guild, in this country our magic was unsurpassed, our members' talent was unsurpassed and our funds were unsurpassed. But then, in the space of a few years, Fairy Tail came to power. Urza and Laxus, Mystigan and Gildarts, their names spread as far as my own hometown and rumors of the salamander spread throughout the whole country. Before I knew it, these two guilds, Phantom Lord and Fairy Tail, came to represent this country. I just couldn't stand it, them, who started out as a shitty, pathetically weak little guild. Are you telling me this war is all because of some pathetic little jealousy? Urza demanded as she shot forward and crash-slashed with her sword. Kuriha, Gessen. Jealousy? That's not it, Jose denied as he evaded the strike, including the large explosion of energy she released upon its completion. We just wish to make it painfully clear who is truly superior here. For a stupid reason like that? Urza yelled in anger. Dedo Vivu. Jose exclaimed however this time instead of a beam of darkness, he grabbed her and restrained her with his ghostly darkness power. Oh, that guild has been getting on my nerves for a long, long time, but the trigger for this war was a trivial matter. We received a request to recover the young heiress of the Heartfilia Zaibatsu. Lucy? Urza thought in realization. The daughter of one of the wealthiest men in the country had joined Fairy Tail? How great did you have to become before you would be satisfied? If you had free access to the Heartfilia funds, then your power would finally have truly exceeded our own. And that was the one thing I could never forgive. Jose shouted as his darkness squeezed around the redhead. It's pretty damn pathetic of you to get so heated up about who is the best, but what's really shocking is how terrible your information-gathering sources are. Urza rasped out. What's that? Jose asked surprised. Lucy ran away from home. Do you think we could use her for money? She lived in a 70,000 jewel rented house. She worked her ass off, just like all the rest of us. She fought with us, laughed with us, cried with us. She's one of the mages of our guild. You're telling me that was the trigger of this war? Lucy, the heiress of the Heartfilia family? A flower can't choose the place where it blooms, and a child can't choose the parents she's born to. What the hell do you think you know about Lucy? Urza yelled in outrage. Well, I guess I'll find that out, Jose mused. Do you really think I'm going to hand her over to her father for free? Oh, I'm going to keep her until they have no money left. I'm going to get my hands on the entire Heartfilia fortune. Damn you! Urza screamed as the darkness around her contracted once more. I wouldn't struggle if you were you, you'll just make it hurt even more. Jose chuckled and raised his hand again to create his seal. Dedo Vivu, a beam of darkness lanced out and shot at the restrained redhead. No, a blur of red appeared between the two as the beam struck with a mighty explosion. What? Jose's eyes widened as the dust cleared. I heard everything. Someone like you. I hate people like you, Naruto said as the dust cleared, revealing him standing with red chakra spiraling around him and Urza being carried in his arms, bridal style. And Naruto? Urza asked surprised. What is that power he's using? It feels similar to Mirajane and Elfman but worse. Stay back, Naruto told her and set her down behind him. This guy is mine. But Urza start red. Believe in me, and I promise you, I won't lose, Naruto declared. Red chakra exploded from his form, taking the shape of a fox over his form with 3 swishing tails. What is this feeling? Why is he to make me feel like this? That aura feels dark and full of malice, and yet his words bring warmth to my heart. My soul, Urza thought as she looked up at her blonde savior. I knew you'd come crawling back to me, boy, he heard the Kyuubi say in the back of his mind. Your power cannot protect, it can only destroy. To protect her, I'll even use your power, Naruto declared to the beast within him. Try and take it from me. I dare you, the Kyuubi snarled at him. Fine, Naruto shot forward and disappeared in a burst of speed, reappearing in front of Jose a second later. He slashed with his chakra claws and struck the guild master across his face, sending him crashing back through the wall. I won't let you hurt her, he roared at his opponent. He can really? Urza thought as Jose stood up from the rubble. Naruto, I will believe in you, I have just one thing to ask. Name it, Naruto said. Win. Urza yelled. Kyuubi. Naruto roared as a fourth tail formed on the chakra shroud. His skin was ripped apart as a black sphere formed around him, and with an explosion of fire the chakra condensed to such a degree that Naruto's form couldn't be seen anymore. All that remained was a crimson chakra fox with a black mask, white eyes and 4 swishing tails. By the sage, this burns. Impossible, you're actually conscious? Kyuubi yelled in outrage. And Naruto? Urza asked as she stared at the beast that stood between her and their opponent. A demon? Jose gritted his teeth at the sight. Dedo Vivu, he exclaimed as he unleashed a beam of darkness at the crimson fox. That won't work. Naruto roared back and brought his arms up to defend. The Kyuubi's chakra shot out and created a wall between the two that shrugged off the blast. How about this then? Jose yelled as he appeared beside him and slammed his fist into the side of Naruto's head, knocking him back. Almost instantly the red chakra sprouted from his chest and formed a hand, slashing at Jose only for him to quickly pull back. Damn him. I can't hold this form for much longer, Naruto thought as he felt his body being ripped apart a piece at a time. Enough, Kyuubi said from its cage. Use the Baijidama and end this. I want my power back. What's the Baijidama? Naruto asked it. Do I have to do everything myself? The Kyuubi growled out him. What is he doing? Jose thought as he watched on. Blue and red orbs of chakra exploded from Naruto's body as his chakra tails converged in front of his mouth. The orbs gathered into a single black sphere and then compressed into a smaller sphere. It dropped into Naruto's mouth and he swallowed it, causing him to feel sick and fall to his hands and knees. His stomach felt like it was going to explode and steam started to leak from his mouth. Oh dear, Contact with such compressed magical energy could even kill me, Jose thought as he readied to dodge. Imari! Naruto exclaimed as the chakra sphere exploded from his mouth in a beam of crimson light. Must dodge, Jose thought as he narrowly evaded the sphere. However, it grazed his side and exploded past him in a blast of directed light. The fortress shook as the rear end of it was literally blown and vaporized by the blast, leaving a long stretch of destruction through the guild fortress. What inhuman power! See crap, that tastes like throwing up, Naruto grunted as he pushed the Kyuubi's chakra back. 3 chakra tails retracted into the shroud and it slowly returned to its original state with only 1 tail. Naruto's body itself was drenched in his own blood, though his skin seemed to be growing back at an inhuman rate. That power must grant him regenerative abilities, Urza thought as she watched his skin grow back. However, the more power he uses, the greater the damage that power does to his own body. It looks like you're at your limit, Jose gritted out as he clutched his bleeding side. If he had landed a direct hit with that spell, he might have killed me. Damn it, I missed, Naruto grunted in pain as the last of the Kyuubi's chakra left him. This has gone on long enough, a new voice spoke up from the side. Master? Urza asked in surprise and relief. I'll put an end to this, Makarov declared as he appeared in front of both Urza and Naruto. You wish to cause a cataclysm? Jose sneered. If it is necessary for my guild, Makarov responded. Urza, take your new partner and leave now. I will take it from here. Understood, Master, Urza nodded and grabbed Naruto's arm. Come on. We can't just leave the old man here alone, Naruto said. If we stay here, we will just be a burden to Master, Urza responded. We should leave everything to him. Damn. Naruto winced and moved his headband back into place so it covered his Sharingan. Urza hoisted his right arm over her shoulder and supported him as they made their escape. It has been 6 long years since we last stood face to face like this, Jose chuckled. Who would have imagined that fairy tale could become a guild in that space of time? Ha 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 ha, it's just a pile of rubble now, mind. A guild is not a physical building, Makarov declared. It is the sum of its members. Still, this does make me very happy, for 2 of the 10 wizard saints to be able to contest like this, to determine whom is superior, Jose laughed. Those youngsters will go far, Makarov proclaimed as he started charging magic to his hands. They've done well, they take pride in being part of fairy tale. Dedo vivu! Jose exclaimed as he unleashed a beam of darkness at old mage in front of him. Kaijin no Gekurin. Makarov countered as a seal formed in front of him and a beam of light shot out, intercepting Jose's attack and beginning a battle of attrition. What the hell is with this thunderstorm? Naruto asked upon seeing the sky darken and lightning strike down around them randomly. That's because the master is fighting without holding back, Urza replied as the 2 stopped at the edge of the balcony overlooking the water. It's only a matter of time before master uses that spell. What jutsu are you talking about? Naruto asked her. A spell master knows that is only used as a deterrent to war, Urza answered. Fairly impressive, Makarov commented. So much power at such a young age, you have at least earned your place among the 10 wizard saints. Had you chosen to use the power for good, and become a model for those still younger than yourself, the world of mages would surely have benefited greatly. Old man, are you preaching to me? Jose sneered. As is the custom of fairy tale's justice system, Makarov began. I shall give you the count of 3, kneel, he ordered. Jose mocked. 1, Makarov started. I was wondering what nonsense you would spout, but telling me to kneel? Jose sneered. 2, Makarov continued. You want me to kneel before you, to acknowledge you as the greatest in the kingdom? Stop fooling around. In combat I am your match. Nay, more than that. I am stronger. 3, Makarov finished and charged pure light energy to his hands. You are the ones who should be kneeling before me. Now die. Crumble to dust and vanish from the face of history. Fairy tale. Jose yelled in outrage. Dedo vivu. That's enough, Makarov said clearly. Yosei no Haritsu. Fairy law. The world was claimed by light. Holy shit. Naruto yelled as he covered his eye. What's that light? That's master's spell, Urza replied as she too covered her eyes. It's Yosei no Haritsu, a holy light cleansing spell which destroys evil. The mage who invokes this spell can selectively choose their targets. This is his ultimate magic, widely recognized as one of the handful of fable spells. Just as suddenly as it appeared, the light died down a few seconds later. So, does that mean we won? Naruto asked. Yes, we've won, we should be getting back, let's go home, Urza sighed as she looked out at the direction where Fairy Tail was. Or at least where it used to be. Earthland, Magnolia/Fairy Tail Guild. The building that housed Fairy Tail had been completely destroyed and reduced to nothing but rubble. Man, I had planned on some renovations but this is a bit much. Makarov sighed at the sight. Master? Lucy asked nervous. Looks like they put you through the ringer as well, Makarov mused. Turn that frown upside down, Lulu-chan, a bandaged Levi said with a smile. We started out as a team and we came out victorious as a team. Truth be told, the guild's new look is growing on me, Droy added. Yeah, a few minor touches and it'll be good as new, Jet agreed. Yup, Redus nodded. Levi-chan, Redus, Jet, Droy. Lucy cried. Don't sweat it, okay? Levi smiled back. No. I should be dash, Lucy started. Everyone here knows the score, Levi cut in. There's no need to beat yourself up over it. It's all good, Lulu-chan. I was completely useless, please forgive my ineptitude, Jet bowed his head in shame. Lucy, every time you laugh, every time you grieve, pieces of those moments become ours as well, Makarov spoke up. That's what it means to be a member of our guild. When a member is on cloud 9, we all float. When a member is outraged, we all clench our teeth. When a member weeps, we all wipe our eyes, so you have no reason to be riddled with guilt, because no one here holds you responsible, and why would they? You are, after all, a member of our family, a member of Fairy Tail. He sent her a smile and that seemed to what broke the dam because Lucy fell to her knees and openly cried in both happiness and relief. Today wasn't so bad after all, Naruto thought with a smile. Chapter 4, Settling In. Earthland, Magnolia/Fairy Tail Guild. Naruto sighed as he placed his hammer down and looked over his work. A week had passed since the war with Phantom Lord and he had been helping out with the rebuilding of Fairy Tail. Even now his clones were carrying lumber and bricks from one place to another. The others were helping out too, but even with everyone working hard, it would still take at least another week to completely rebuild the guild. The day after the war ended, a legion of Rune Knights, the Mage Council's army, had rounded them up and questioned them on what happened. After everything was said and done, they were told that the council would decide the fate of Fairy Tail. As for Naruto, he had mostly settled in as a member of Fairy Tail and it seemed like the others in the guild had accepted him, especially after his actions in the war against Phantom Lord. As he continued his work on the rebuilding of the guild, he couldn't help but remember his talk with Urza the day after the war ended. Flashback no jutsu begin. Who are you? Urza questioned. The name is Uzumaki Naruto, the next Hokage, Naruto grinned back. Please, hold the applause. What kind of mage are you? Those abilities you displayed didn't feel like any magic I've ever seen before, Urza questioned further. You could manipulate pure energy and control space and time to a certain degree. And then there is that demonic aura you unleashed. I'm not a mage, Naruto replied. I'm a ninja. A ninja? Urza asked with narrowed eyes. As in the Assassins of Legend? Yeah, it came out as question. He'd never really checked to see if this world had ninja or not, but clearly it must have at one time. Though judging by Urza's words, the ninja of this world must have died out long ago if they were referred to as nothing more than legends now. What kind of ninja wears orange? Urza asked incredulous look. The super awesome ones, Naruto grinned back. You shouldn't underestimate me. Yes, I saw what happened when Jose did so, Urza commented knowingly. What was that demonic aura you wielded? It felt different from Lullaby and Deloria. There are demons here? Naruto asked back surprised. Truthfully, he had never heard of any demons other than the Biju back in his world, so he hadn't thought that there were other demons in this one. Of course, Urza nodded. And you didn't answer my question. It's not something I like to talk about, Naruto replied truthfully. Fine, Urza conceded. But I will make one thing clear right now, if you do anything to harm my comrades then I will deal with you myself, understand? Why yeah, Naruto cursed himself for stuttering. This woman was scary as hell and he couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief as she turned and walked away. As he watched her go, he let a smile spread across his lips as her hips swayed from side to side. After a moment of staring, he shook himself and turned away with his face red. What am I doing? Flashback no jutsu end. I like Sakura-chan, he had told himself again. I barely know Urza-chan. Those two are at it again, Mira-Jane smiled, snapping him out of his thoughts when she saw both Natsu and Gray descend into another one of their infamous arguments. They remind me of two fangirls I used to know, Naruto commented. Did they fight all the time too? Mira-Jane asked him. Yup, Naruto nodded. And always over a boy who wouldn't give them the time of day. Hey, a familiar loud voice yelled from the side. If you've got time to play around, hurry up and help. Urza shouted at them as she stood wearing her builder's clothes and carrying a dozen blanks of wood on her shoulder. We've got to fix the guild as soon as possible. Even the master is helping, Mira-Jane added, still smiling as Makarov, Now a giant many times the size of a normal man slotted a wooden beam into place. Just another crazy day in Fairy Tail, Naruto grinned. Everyone get back to work. Urza yelled. I wouldn't have it any other way, Naruto sighed again. What about your friends back in that village of yours? Kyuubi sneered at the back of his mind. I don't know, Naruto thought sadly. They'll never accept you as one of them, Kyuubi said mockingly. You're just a weapon to them, they see you as me, they even sent you here, they abandoned you because they didn't want to risk their own lives to keep you safe. Shut up, Naruto shot back. The truth hurts, doesn't it? Kyuubi taunted. You've always used me as a crutch, used my power to fight your battles for you, face it, you're nothing more than a mere fragment of my hatred. I said shut up. Naruto yelled in thought. I don't care what you say. So what if the people of Konoha see you whenever they look at me? I don't care anymore. I love Konoha itself, not the village or the people, but what it represents, the will of fire. Who are you trying to convince? Kyuubi mocked. Me, or yourself? Are you okay, Naruto-kun? Mira-Jane asked, snapping him out of his thoughts. Why yeah, Naruto nodded. I'm fine, he reassured, but Mira-Jane couldn't help but frown as he turned away and continued his work. The next day Lucy had gone back home to confront her father, and after finding out she was gone, Natsu, Gray and Urza went after her. They returned the day after they returned to the now half-finished guild. Everyone. From today onwards we can receive job requests again. Mira-Jane declared from behind the counter. Though this took a long time, everyone should work hard at their jobs. We have jobs. We have jobs, a random member yelled as they all scrambled over to the job board. Why are they so excited? Usually they just fool around and drink, Lucy sighed and shook her head at the sight. I should probably do a mission too, Naruto mused. I need new clothes and a place to live. My jumpsuit is pretty worn out and sleeping in the forest just isn't the same as a real bed. Maybe you should partner with someone and do a mission together, Mira-Jane suggested. Maybe Loki, if he's available. Speaking of which, Loki isn't here, Lucy spoke up. Did you fall into Loki's hands as well? Mira-Jane asked. No, Lucy denied. It seems he helped me find my keys, so I want to tell him, thanks. If I see him I'll pass along your message, Mira-Jane offered. Don't talk about that, you lost the keys. Are the spirits angry? That, already, isn't just at the level of angry, just thinking about makes my butt hurt, Lucy groaned as she placed her head on the counter. Do you need me to cool it? Gray inquired. Don't pretend to be a gentleman, Lucy said as she turned away. That's sexual harassment. Lucy, let me see your red butt, Happy requested. That's obvious sexual harassment, Lucy shot back. If I make her but hurt more I wonder what expression Lucy will have, Natsu mused. Are you a devil? Lucy asked in outrage only for a table to be flung from the side and knock the fire dragon slayer to the ground. You dare say that again, Urza said dangerously as she glared at a big blonde man that sat in front of her. Urza? Lucy muttered in surprise. Then I'll say it more clearly, the blonde man sneered. This guild doesn't need weak bastards. You bastard, Urza said as her glare darkened. To be looked down on by a guild such as Phantom Lord, how embarrassing, I couldn't face anyone, the blonde man continued. Laxus is back, Happy spoke up. That bastard mouths off as soon as he comes back, Gray gritted his teeth at the sight. S-Class Laxus? Lucy asked. I'm talking about you, Laxus said as he pointed over at Team Shadowgear. I heard that you guys were beaten up by that Iron Dragon Slayer, speaking of which, what are your names? Who are you guys? You're a disgrace, and don't even get me started on the princess who caused this mess. Shut your mouth, Naruto growled out, catching his attention. What did you say? Laxus asked as he turned and leveled a mocking stare at the young Jinchuriki. I hear you running your mouth off about all the bad things that have happened, but let's get one thing straight, Naruto glared back. You weren't even here for the fight, so you don't have any right to place the blame on others. Don't you know who I am? Laxus sneered. I don't give a shit who you are, Naruto shot back. Nobody insults my friends and gets away with it, especially not some coward who couldn't even be bothered to show up to fight for his own comrades. Naruto. Urza muttered as she watched on. You talk big, Laxus chuckled darkly and turned away. When I inherit the guild, you'll be the first to go along with the rest of the weaklings. I will build the strongest guild, a guild that nobody will look down on, history's strongest guild, he laughed as he walked away. What the hell is his problem? Naruto asked once he was gone. And what did he mean by, inherit the guild? Lucy asked further. What nonsense was he talking about? It's not really nonsense, Mira-Jane sighed. Because Laxus is the master's flesh and blood grandson. Seriously? Lucy asked in surprise. The old man? Damn, Naruto grunted and turned back to the counter. So if the master retires, the probability of the next master being Laxus is very high, Mira Jane explained. Someone who looks down on others and abandons their comrades doesn't deserve to be in charge of Fairy Tail, Naruto declared. That's why there's a rumor saying that the master can't retire because of that, Mira Jane continued. Is he waiting for someone else to take his place? Lucy asked curious. It's just a rumor, Mira Jane shrugged. In reality, the master hasn't said a word about anything concerning a successor. Sounds like old man Sandaime back in Konoha, Naruto thought. And look how that turned out. That bastard, Natsu growled out. Forget it, Urza told him. It'll be very troublesome if you have relations with that guy. How about this? Want to take up a job? Huh? Natsu asked surprised. Of course, Gray and Lucy should come too, Urza added. Ever since the Eisenwald incident, we keep gathering together. We're like a little team, aren't we? We 4, if we add Happy then that makes 5. I really need to start going on missions again, Naruto sighed and turned away. Retire, huh? The guild building has been changed to a new one, Makarov mused as he took a drink of the glass in his hand. If that's the case, the master should be new too, Laxus, his way of thinking is a serious problem. Laxus is not possible, Mystigan perhaps? He's reclusive so, no. If that's the case then young Urza is the best choice, but she is, too young, maybe in a few years. And then there is that young Naruto boy that poor Asuka sent to us, he's too inexperienced though, even if he does have the power to rival me. His mind drifted back to the meeting he had with the young man the day after the war ended. Flashback no jutsu begin. So poor Asuka sent you here? Judging by what I saw, you don't seem like a bad kid, Makarov commented. You helped protect the guild and even fought Jose with Urza. I didn't do much, Naruto sighed. All I did was stop that blast they used to attack the guild and fight that Jose guy. I didn't even win. You should be proud of that, Makarov told him. Had you not been there, Urza would have most likely been crippled if not killed outright by that Jupiter cannon and Jose would have had free rein to do more damage before I could stop him myself. Your determination and sheer dumb luck were nothing to snuff at. If you say so, Naruto shrugged. Anyway, can I join Fairy Tail? Of course, Makarov smiled widely. Mira, could you please go and retrieve the Fairy Tail stamp? Yes master, Mira Jane nodded and walked over to one of the counters. Here it is, she said as she walked back with the stamp in hand. Where would you like it? She asked with a bright smile. On the back of my hand, Naruto answered as he held out his left hand. There you go, Mira Jane said as she brought the stamp down on the back of his outstretched hand, imprinting the symbol of Fairy Tail on it like a tattoo. Welcome to Fairy Tail, Makarov finished. Flashback no jutsu end. Master, Mira Jane spoke from below. So you were hiding here. What is it? Makarov asked her. Looks like something happened again, Mira Jane smiled as she held up a piece of paper. It seems Urza and the gang destroyed half a stretch of road doing their job. The council requests that we compensate for the damages done, master? What's wrong? How can I retire like this? Makarov yelled to the darkened sky. Earthland, East Forest / poor Asuka's house. This seems to be becoming a regular occurrence, poor Asuka commented as she placed a wet towel on the head of a black-haired man lying unconscious on the bed in front of her. Like with the blonde young man, Naruto, a month earlier, she had sensed another disturbance reminiscent of anima nearby and had checked it. What she found was this black-haired man whom had been bleeding from his mouth and looked like he had been in a fight for his life. Not only that but upon investigation she had discovered that he was suffering from an unusual illness originating from his eyes which was strange in itself since he appeared to be blind. She had brought him in and using her vast knowledge was able to effectively cure the unnamed disease. After she was finished she created a pair of artificial eyes to allow the man to see again based off of the ones he already had. His original eyes seemed to be almost identical to the one she had transplanted into Naruto and though these ones seemed normal and appeared to have worked for a time before going blind. Hopefully he would regain consciousness soon. Where am I? His harsh and clearly exhausted voice caught her by surprise. My home, poor Asuka replied as she backed away slowly. Water, the man groaned as he slowly sat up with his back against the window. Drink this, poor Asuka said as she pushed a glass of water into his hand. It will make you feel better. Thank you, the man said and gulped down the liquid. I seem to be making a habit of this, poor Asuka commented. You are the second person to be transported within 2 miles of my home. I'm not dead, am I? The man inquired. Most certainly not, poor Asuka replied. You said I was the second, who was the first? The man questioned further. A young man with blonde hair, poor Asuka answered. Naruto Uzumaki, the man said after a moment. Yes, Porliusica confirmed and narrowed her eyes. What is your name? My name, the man chuckled almost amused and looked up as his Mangekyo Sharingan spun wildly. My name is Itachi Uchiha. Chapter 5, The Fox and the Weasel. Earthland, Magnolia/Fairy Tale Guild. The following days saw the greatest, disaster, theater performance ever when Urza, Lucy, Gray and Natsu became actors. Let's just say it was an earth-shattering performance and leave it at that, moving on. The next few days saw Lucy running round and trying to find out what was wrong with Loki. That turned out to be a strange tale. So you're a spirit? Natsu asked skeptically. Yeah, that's pretty much it, Loki chuckled sheepishly. I never noticed, Gray commented. What's a spirit? Naruto asked. I'm a celestial mage, Lucy explained. We can summon a variety of spirits to aid us from another dimension. Sounds like my Kuchios no Jutsu, Naruto mused. You can summon too? Lucy asked surprised. Only toads, Naruto replied with a shrug. The biggest ones are the size of one of those buildings downtown. Fight me, Natsu said as he pointed his finger at the blonde Jinchuriki. Maybe later, Naruto waved him off. Ever since he'd shown up, Natsu had been challenging to fights, but Urza usually stepped in and stopped it. She had all but forbidden them from fighting, saying something like, comrades shouldn't hurt each other, or something like that. Hey, wait a minute, Natsu spoke quickly. You're not a cow or a horse or anything like that, he said as he turned to the only spirit in the group. Well, you've seen Virgo before, Loki responded. She looks like a human, right? No? She turns into a gorilla, Natsu replied. That's true enough, Loki chuckled at that. Loki is the lion spirit, Lucy spoke up. Matatabi-chan would burn his ass, the Kyuubi spoke from the back of his mind. Who? Naruto asked thought before he shook his head. Lion? Happy exclaimed. A lion means a grown-up cat, doesn't it? That's right, Loki nodded with a smile. No it's not, Lucy denied from the counter. That's so cool, Happy cheered. Anyway, is it okay for you to just carry on as you've been doing up until now? Gray asked the question. I'm afraid those days are long over, now that Lucy is my owner. When Lucy is in trouble, I'll gallantly shot up. After all, I am her knight in shining armor. Speaking of which, let's go talk about our plans for the future, Loki spoke with a smile as he picked Lucy up and started carrying her away. Just another day in Fairy Tale, Naruto grinned at the sight. She's so lucky, Natsu sighed. I want a spirit too. What kind of spirit? Happy asked curiously. A dragon of course, Natsu answered immediately. I've finally learned Dragon Slayer magic, but if I can't try it out on a real dragon it's a total waste. You can't just summon spirits so you can have some sort of free-for-all, Lucy said with a sigh. That's right, Loki nodded with a grin. You summon them for their declarations of love. You can leave now too, Lucy told him, sweat dropping at his remark. Just then a rather unusual silence filled the room, causing the group to look around and notice their guildmates staring at the main doorway. Why has it all gone quiet? Loki asked the question. Hello, Naruto-kun. A familiar male voice spoke from the doorway. It can't be, Naruto thought as he snapped his gaze towards the newcomer. His hair was black and he wore a plain black cloak, but Naruto recognized him instantly. You know this guy? Gray asked with a frown. Itachi Uchiha, Naruto said with nothing but disgust. So the Akatsuki finally found out where I am. Despite what you may believe, I did not know where you were after your battle with Kakuzu, Itachi responded. And judging by the way your Hitayate is placed, covering your left eye, I assume Kakashi has perished and given you his Sharingan. A wise choice to be sure, his Sharingan activated as his eyes turned red. Don't look into his eyes. Naruto yelled to the rest of Fairy Tale. Naruto. Who is this guy? Urza asked as she appeared at his side. Those eyes he has are the same as Naruto's left eye, are they related? He's one of my enemies, Naruto replied. Whatever you do, don't look into his eyes or at his hands. He can trap you in an illusion and beat you in a one move. Then how do we fight him? Urza questioned further. I'll take him down. Natsu yelled and shot forward with his body ablaze in orange fire. Wait! Natsu! Naruto yelled after him. Your power is impressive, Itachi commented as he locked eyes with the attacking Dragon Slayer. But your strength is useless here. A second later Natsu dropped to the floor and lay unconscious beside the Uchiha. Itachi! Naruto yelled as he charged and uncovered his Sharingan. Naruto closed in and threw out a punch which Itachi deflected and pulled back as he traded blows with the blonde. Once outside the guild, Itachi suddenly grabbed Naruto's arm and locked them both into place, staring into each other's eyes. I'm going to kill you and avenge my sensei. This one is a shadow clone. Itachi narrowed his eyes and tried to pull away, but Naruto grabbed his arm, stopping him from escaping. This seems familiar, he thought as the real Naruto and his clone appeared from the side with a chest-sized chakra sphere in hand. Utama Rasengan! Naruto exclaimed as he and his clone slammed the enlarged spinning chakra ball into the Uchiha's chest. Bunshin Daibakuha, Itachi whispered and exploded a second later. Naruto skidded away from the blast and came to a halt at the edge of the water along the shoreline. That was close, he thought as he looked around for the elusive Uchiha. If my Sharingan didn't see the chakra build up in Itachi's clone, then he would have taken me out right then and there. I do not wish to fight you, Naruto-kun, Itachi spoke as the smoke cleared, revealing his unharmed form. But you are not leaving me any other choice. Master, why aren't we helping Naruto? A recovered Natsu asked. Patience, Natsu, Makarov told her as they watched on. This is Naruto's fight, we have no right to interfere. But Natsu started. From his words it would seem that Naruto has faced this man in battle before, Urza cut in. And I saw what Naruto did during the battle with Jose. If this man has fought Naruto and survived, then this is clearly a battle between two S-rank fighters. Then why don't we help him? Natsu asked again. Because he needs this, Makarov replied simply. Ever since the war with Phantom Lord, that boy has been heading down a dark path. What do you mean, Master? Urza asked confused. In the fight against Jose, Naruto used that crimson magic power to fight, correct? Makarov mused. According to Porla Usaka, that power he used is not really his but is actually from a demon he has imprisoned. Not only that, but his left eye is a tool that was given to him by his now deceased master that allows him to control that demonic power. He believes that he has been using the strength of others to fight his battles for him instead of relying on his own strength. He thinks he is weak? Natsu asked incredulous. Yes, Makarov nodded. You fool, Urza thought as she turned her attention back to the fight. It doesn't matter where your power comes from, as long as you use it for the right reasons and don't let it corrupt you, then you shouldn't care if it's someone else's power. I will not fall for the same trick twice, Naruto-kun, Itachi said clearly. I won't let the Akatsuki take the Kyuubi from me, Naruto shot back. I have no interest in collecting the Biju, Itachi responded. They no longer matter to me now that my goal has been fulfilled. What are you talking about? Naruto questioned. Before I woke up in this world, Itachi began. I fought Sasuke. Sasuke? Naruto trailed off. Our battle was long and gruesome, but eventually my illness caught up with me and I fell unconscious. I awoke later in this world near the forest east of here, Itachi explained. The East Forest? That's where Kakashi-sensei and I dropped into this world. Did Kakashi-sensei's Kamui open a hole between dimensions or something? Naruto thought. Enough playing around, Itachi declared as a black three-point wheel formed in his eyes, awakening his Mangekyo Sharingan. Amaterasu, he whispered, and black flames shot out at the blonde Jinchuriki. Kamui! Naruto exclaimed as the space in front of him distorted and black flames into the spinning vortex. He deflected Amaterasu with some kind of Jakuken jutsu? Interesting, Itachi mused as the last of the black flames disappeared along with the vortex. What is with this guy? I mean, I knew he was strong, but fucking hell, Naruto thought as he made a hand seal. Tajukage Bunshin no Jutsu. A moment later 2,000 shadow clones popped into existence around them, creating an almost endless sea of black and orange. That is a lot of shadow clones. Itachi narrowed his eyes and he looked around at the clone army before him. He rapidly formed a series of hand seals and started spewing small red fireballs from his mouth as he spun round. Katan, Hosenka no Jutsu. Charge! Naruto yelled as the clones attacked from all sides. There is too many of them, Itachi thought as his Sharingan spun wildly. Bunshin Daibakuha, the clones closest to him, suddenly exploded, though Itachi narrowly escaped the blast and skidded to a halt atop the ocean water. He copied my jutsu from earlier, Itachi mused as the clones attacked him again from all sides. He quickly jumped into the air and formed another series of hand seals. Katan, Gukaku no Jutsu, he exclaimed as he belched out a large fireball downwards at the cluster of shadow clones, wiping them out. This isn't working, he thought as he landed and stood atop the water. Itachi! Naruto yelled as he descended upon the elusive Uchiha with a familiar chakra sphere in hand. He has gotten better, Itachi thought as he quickly formed a set of hand seals. Chidori, he whispered as his left hand was encased in lightning. When I copied this jutsu from Sasuke 3 years ago, I never thought I would use it like this. Rasengan! Naruto exclaimed as he brought his hand down and the two powerful attacks clashed. Silence! The water rippled as the two techniques fought for dominance until finally, with an echoing explosion, the two were blown away from each other. They slid to a stop atop the water and stood up, staring at each other and panting. You really have grown, Naruto-kun, Itachi commented and breathed. But sadly this ends here, Tsukuyami. Damn it, we have to help him. Natsu yelled. If you were fighting Igneel, would you want one of us to interfere? Gray asked him. That's different, Natsu replied in a quieter tone. No it isn't, Gray said back. It's the same with me when I fought Lion back on Galuna Island. Suddenly a red column of light shot up from Naruto's position and a massive shockwave washed over them. What the hell? Natsu exclaimed in surprise. This feeling, it's the same as before, Urza thought as the light died down. What is that? Lucy stammered when they all finally spotted their blonde friend again. His body was encased in a dense crimson chakra which radiated malice and hatred. White bones had formed over the chakra in the shape of skeleton, though what caught Urza's attention was the number of tail he had. There were 6. It's like my Satan Saru, Mira Jane commented. A different form of Taiku Oba magic. He has 6 tails, he only had 4 when we fought Jose, and he looks different too. Those bones weren't there before, Urza spoke up. It seems the Kyuubi reacted to Tsukuyami and forced Naruto-kun to release its power. So this is the power of the Kyuubi compressed into human form, Itachi thought as he gazed upon the crimson chakra fox that roared at him. It burns. Naruto bit back a scream as he fell to his knees. He's still conscious? His control is amazing, however that form must carry with it considerable risk, Itachi mused. Kyuubi! What did you do? Answer me, Kyuubi! Naruto yelled at the demon within him, but he received no reply. Don't tell me that Itachi's genjutsu caught you instead of me? Even with the power of the Kyuubi, you cannot win, Itachi said clearly. We'll see about that, Naruto growled back. If the Kyuubi is trapped in a genjutsu, then I really am fighting alone this time, he thought as he pushed himself upright and started gathering blue and red chakra spheres at his mouth. What is he doing? Itachi narrowed his eyes at the sight. Compress the chakra, consume it, Naruto mused as he swallowed the black sphere of chakra. And release, he took aim and belched out the chakra ball at the Uchiha. Imari. The density of that chakra, even I cannot survive a direct hit from such a jutsu. It seems that I have no choice but use that jutsu, Itachi thought as the projectile closed in. Susanoo. The chakra sphere exploded forwards, and washed over the ocean surface, sending ripples of water everywhere. What was that? Lucy asked with wide eyes as the blast died down. He called it the Imari, Urza answered. He used it in the fight against Jose and blew out the rear of Phantom Lord's walking guild. He's more destructive than Natsu. Happy quipped. I didn't think it was possible, Gray responded. Hey! Natsu yelled indignant. Nevertheless, the situation is more serious than you realize, Makarov spoke up. How so, master? Urza inquired. Take a look for yourself, Makarov nodded towards the ocean where the mist was starting to clear. Impossible, Gray said in disbelief as the two combatants came into view once more. No way. Lucy stared with wide eyes. He survived that? Natsu asked surprised. Even Jose recognized the danger of Naruto's attack and he dodged it, Urza thought as she watched on. This man took that attack head-on, so how did he survive? What is that? Lucy asked as she saw a red aura encasing Itachi's body. It stood over him with 3 hands with a large spirit sword, shield, and a jar in each one. The shield was lowered down and was covering Itachi himself while the sword and jar were down at his side. It looked vaguely humanoid in shape and the blade seemed like it was on fire. Whatever it is, I think this fight just went to a whole other level, Gray reasoned. Man, those two are really going at it, Kana commented. Master. Natsu groaned. Not yet, Natsu, Makarov responded. To have pushed me this far, Naruto-kun, is no small feat, Itachi said clearly. Your control over the Kyuubi is amazing, astounding, and your last attack even managed to crack my Susanu's Yata no Kagami. Just, what the fuck are you? Naruto growled out as he forced the Kyuubi's chakra back until only one tail remained. His skin grew back as he collapsed to his knees and bit back another scream of pain. You should be honored, Itachi told him. Not many have seen this form and lived to tell about it. This is Susanoo, the third and final ability granted by the Mangekyo Sharingan. Unlike Madara Uchiha before me, my Susanoo wields the Totsuka no Tsurugi and the Yata no Kagami. With these two tools, it is called Yubu no Aragami and said to be invincible. I've never believed in an invincible enemy. Naruto's voice returned to normal as the last of the Kyuubi's chakra left him. Then face me now, Itachi challenged. If you have anything left, then I suggest you use it. You got it, Naruto nodded and rose to his feet once again. This guy is a real fucking monster. If this doesn't finish it, then I don't know what will, he thought as he formed a familiar hand seal. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, he said as clones popped into existence at his side and started channeling chakra into his hand. Now what is he doing? Itachi thought as a bell-like screech echoed through the air. What is that jutsu? Is that what he used to defeat Kakuzu? Are you seeing what I'm seeing? Lucy asked as she covered her ears. How is he still fighting after all of that? Gray muttered. He reduced the amount of demonic power he was using while pushing its regenerative abilities to their limits in order to restore his body to fighting condition, Urza replied. Though I have to admit, I have never seen him use that spell before today. Porla Yusuka told me about it, Makarov explained. She said that when she found him, his right arm was gravely injured and said that he had used a powerful wind spell to do the same kind of damage to his enemy. She told him not to use it again because it was dangerous to its user, even more so than that demonic power he has. Then shouldn't we stop this? Natsu asked the question. No, Elfman was the one who answered. This is his choice as a man, he knows the risks and has made his own decision. I'll end it with this. Naruto yelled as he and his clones charged at the large red spirit wind god. Nothing can penetrate the Yata no Kagami, Itachi said clearly as he swung with the Totsuka no Tsurugi and struck down the two clones. Futon, Raisin Shuriken. Naruto exclaimed as he slammed the spinning chakra shuriken into the spiritual shield. It slashed and cut into it until finally with the resounding echo of shattering glass, the Yata no Kagami broke apart. Even with my Sharingan I can't keep count of the number of wind blades that jutsu has, Itachi thought as he pulled back and threw himself out of Susanoo just as it was consumed in a large spinning ball of wind and power, shredding it to pieces. A jutsu capable to penetrating even Susanoo, even Sasuke didn't have that kind of a jutsu at his disposal. Damn it, Naruto grunted as he fell to the ground a few feet away and the wind ball exploded, sending water cascading everywhere. My arm, he winced in pain as he clutched his bleeding right arm with his left. Impressive Naruto-kun, most impressive, Itachi praised as he steadied his breathing. I think we're both at our limit, you cannot use the Kyuubi's chakra anymore, your right arm is badly hurt and now you can't make hand seals for jutsu. I still have my other arm. Naruto yelled as he lifted his left hand and channeled chakra into the palm to creating a familiar spinning blue chakra sphere. That jutsu again? Itachi thought as he quickly formed a series of hand seal and channeled the last of his chakra into his right hand, encasing it in sparklingly blue electricity. The two ran at each atop the water and threw out their respective jutsu. Rasengan. Chidori. Krinothkeima, Burithum. Gray called out as twin cages of ice formed around the two battling ninja. Even so, the jutsu the two had used punched clean through the side of the ice cages. Are you both finished? Makarov questioned as he stood atop Naruto's floating ice prison. Master? Naruto asked. I think that's quite enough, Naruto, Makarov told him before looking towards the other ice cage. I'm sure there is quite the story behind this. Itachi nodded as he examined his icy prison. I trust that there won't be any more fights like this, will there? Makarov phrased it like a question but both knew that it was anything but. I will not continue to fight, Itachi answered after a moment of silence. You've got a lot to answer for, Itachi, Naruto said with a glare. Chapter 6, Calm Before the Storm. Earthland, Magnolia/Fairy Tale Guild. I was speaking the truth before, Naruto-kun, Itachi began as he lay in one of the guild's infirmary beds. I died in battle against Sasuke and then woke up here, in this world. So Sasuke finally kicked your ass, Naruto chuckled lightly as his right arm clung to his side in a cast. Yes, Itachi nodded slowly. I imagine he is on his way back to Konoha right now in order to re-establish the Uchiha clan. After everything you've done, Naruto said as he clenched his left fist in barely suppressed anger. You tortured Sasuke, came after me and killed Gaara. I can't forgive you for any of that even if Gaara was resurrected by Chiyoabakan. I do not expect you to, Itachi responded. But either way my goal is completed, now all that remains, is for me to die. Well too bad, Naruto shot back. Because you're going to live with what you've done for the rest of your natural life. We can offer you a place in Fairy Tale, Makarov spoke up from one of the nearby beds. Are you kidding, old man? Naruto asked the aged guild master. This guy wiped out almost his whole family in one night and tortured his own brother. All the more reason to have him as an ally instead of an enemy, Makarov replied. Welcome to Fairy Tale, Itachi Uchiha? Earthland, Magnolia/Marketplace. Why are we doing this again? Naruto asked as Mira Jane dragged him through the busy street. You needed new clothes and a sense of fashion, Mira replied surprisingly blunt. That's harsh, Naruto pouted as she pulled him into a store. But why did you volunteer to help me? I wanted to ask you something, Mira said quietly as she dragged him towards the men's section. It's about that fight the other day when you used that demonic power of yours. What about it? Naruto asked guarded. He never did like talking about the QB to others, which was natural considering how much trouble it had caused him during his childhood. 2 years ago my siblings and I fought a monster. My brother tried to take it over and he succeeded, mostly. He lost himself to the beast within and Mira trailed off sadly. He hurt someone, Naruto finished knowingly. Our little sister, Mira confirmed. I wanted to ask you if that had ever happened to you. Yeah, Naruto nodded as he remembered his battle against Orochimaru of the Sannin months ago. It was just a few months ago actually. We were on a mission to capture an enemy spy when, well, I guess you would call him a monster, showed up. I fought him and used the QB's power, but I lost control when I unleashed 4 tails and I was knocked out. I don't remember the battle or what happened to the bastard I was fighting. When I woke up my squad's leader told me that I injured our other teammate and I had pretty much torn apart the battlefield. Then you know how dangerous that power of yours is? Mira asked him. I saw the aftermath, Naruto replied. I just want to protect those precious to me no matter how much pain it causes me. Neither of them said anything after that and instead just started picking out different clothes for Naruto to try on. By the end of it Naruto was wearing a black, high-collared jacket with a zipper and over that was another jacket. This one was unzipped and white, with several black block designs and a gray hem on the end of each sleeve. This jacket's collar was red and pleated and folded back. He also wore 2 colored pants. The legs of his pants were beige with several of what looked like buttons on the hem that appeared to attach the legs to the rest of the cloth, which were dark colored. His shoes were colored in shades of gray and black, and had red straps in place of laces. Finally, he wore a wristband with a black and white checkerboard pattern on his left wrist. Why is there no orange? Naruto asked after they were done. Trust me when I say you look a lot better in that, Mira smiled back. But I like orange. Earthland, Magnolia/outskirts. A week later after his arm had completely healed from the self-inflicted damage he had caused, he had traveled out into the fields around Magnolia in order to make contact with his homeworld again. Kuchios no Jutsu! Naruto exclaimed as he slapped his hand down on the ground and the human-sized toad known as Gamakichi appeared in a poof of smoke. Bro! We've been waiting for you to summon us all week. What happened? The toad questioned. It's a long story, Naruto sighed and shook his head. Anyway, I just summoned you to deliver an update to Tsunade Abakan and Ero Sennin. Oh man, you don't know, Gamakichi spoke with a subdued voice. I don't know what? Naruto inquired. Perhaps it would be better if you hear it from the elders, Gamakichi suggested. What the he dash, Naruto started. Just summon the elders already. Gamakichi yelled at him. Okay, Naruto nodded confused quickly formed the hand seals for another summoning. Kuchios no Jutsu, he exclaimed as he slapped his hand down on the ground once again. A moment later both Fukasaku and Shima appeared in poofs of smoke. Yo, he waved in greeting. Naruto boy, Fukasaku said in surprise and some sadness. What's wrong, geezer toad? Naruto asked confused. There's no easy way to say this so I'll be blunt, Fukasaku started. Jiraiya boy has been killed in battle. What? Naruto stammered not believing his ears. A week ago when we lost contact with you, Jiraiya boy located the whereabouts of the Akatsuki leader which turned out to be Amigekure no Sato. He infiltrated the village and encountered the leader of the Akatsuki, a man whom called himself Pain. The battle was long and Pain appeared to be not just one man but 6 different people. Jiraiya boy was outnumbered and eventually overwhelmed. He was struck down after engraving this message on my back, Fukasaku explained and removed his coat to show a series of numbers on his back. Ero Sennin is dead? Naruto asked as his fists clenched in anger and sadness at his sides. Yes, Fukasaku nodded sadly. That's not all. 2 days later Pain launched a direct attack on Konoha in the hopes of locating you. He attacked Konoha? What happened? Naruto questioned with mounting horror. When we arrived it was already too late, Fukasaku replied. Konoha has been completely destroyed, all that remains is a crater where the village used to be. This can't be happening, Naruto shook his head in denial. There were survivors, Fukasaku continued. But Pain has a dujitsu called the Rinnegan, the dujitsu wielded by the Rikudo Sennin, the first shinobi. Against something like that, even Konoha never stood a chance. Damn it, Naruto gritted out. Calm yourself Naruto-kun, a new voice spoke from behind him. Getting angry won't solve anything here, it was Itachi. Then what do you suggest? Naruto demanded. Learn, Leader Sama wields the Rinnegan, Itachi said clearly. 3 years ago both Kisame and I opted against facing Jiraiya-sama directly because I thought that the best we could accomplish was our mutual destruction. If Pain has indeed killed Jiraiya-sama then I doubt even at my best that I could defeat him in one-on-one combat with any real hope of victory. As you are now, I am sorry to say that you really don't stand a chance. A member of the Akatsuki? Here? Shima asked in surprise. It's a long story, Naruto replied. Anyway, let's go and kick this pain guy's ass already. Unfortunately, I have to agree with him, Fukasaku responded as he gestured towards Itachi. There is no way you can hope to defeat pain as you are now. Then what am I supposed to do? Naruto demanded. I can't just sit around here and wait while that bastard is running around like this. You can come with me, Fukasaku offered. I'll train you personally in senjutsu at Myobokuzen and hammer it into you the same way I did to Jiraiya boy. Will it give me power to beat pain? Naruto asked him. I can't guarantee, Fukasaku replied. But right now you really don't stand a chance at all. Then let's go. Earthland, Magnolia/Fairy Tale Guild. What do you mean, you're leaving? Natsu yelled, catching the attention of everyone in the guild. I'm just leaving for a little while to train, Naruto explained. I'm not sure when I'll be back, so keep a chair warm for me. But Loki got us all tickets to the Akane resort, Lucy spoke up. Urza is already packed. Then Itachi can have my ticket, Naruto shrugged and turned away. Maybe a vacation will mellow him out. Hey, wait a minute, Natsu started only to feel a hand on his shoulder. Just leave him be, Itachi said with a sigh. He's going through a rough time right now and just needs time to sort out his priorities. What could have happened to change him from the cheerful Naruto from yesterday into that angry person that he is now? Urza thought as she watched the blonde boy go. Whatever it is, I hope he gets over it soon. Earthland, Akane Resort/Beach. A shinobi is someone who strikes from the shadows, Itachi thought as he stood on the sand that made up the beach and stared out at the vast blue ocean. Originally he had refused to come on this vacation but had eventually accepted when Natsu all but dragged him along. Now he stood dressed in nothing but swimming shorts and was paying no heed to the dozens of fangirls that were following his every move. He had long since learned to ignore the stares of his fan clubs when he was still a ninja of Konoha and couldn't help but let out an irritated HN at the reminder of those days. Why aren't you playing with the others? This is supposed to be a vacation, you know? Urza asked from her sitting position atop her blanket. I've never done something like this before, Itachi answered honestly. I know the real reason that Makarov-sama offered me a position in Fairy Tail and the real reason Naruto-kun sent me with you in his place. Since neither of them were around to watch me, they wanted you all to keep an eye on me just in case I tried something foolish. When did you know? Urza asked, not denying it. When Naruto-kun left for his training trip, Itachi replied simply. Why does he even need to train? He seemed pretty strong to me, Urza inquired. It is for him to say, Itachi responded. I have no right to tell you. He's clearly hurting, Urza said clearly. I can see it in his eyes. Very well, Itachi conceded. We received word that his home village was attacked and destroyed by a single man. This same man has murdered Naruto-kun's former master and most likely has killed his grandmother too. He wants revenge, Urza whispered and clenched her eyes shut. He really is a fool. Indeed, Itachi nodded in agreement. Nothing good will come of it, but it will make him feel better once he has his revenge. When that time comes he will truly understand what my brother has gone through, and then, we can only hope that he is strong enough to push past his pain. All things considered, today was a blast, it really was, but it would have been better if Naruto was there with us, Urza thought as she lay down on one of the lounge chairs and closed her eyes. Still, Naruto, what is it about him that makes me feel this way? Urza, in this world freedom is merely an illusion. Images of a little girl with red hair, a tower under construction and dozens of slaves working to complete it filled her vision until she awoke with a jolt. A dream, I must have nodded off, she muttered and shook herself awake before heading back inside. She looked into the mirror and admired the way she had styled herself with a smile. I'm most at ease in armor after all, she chuckled as she re-equipped her standard armor on. There's no changing a girl like me. Urza. Lucy called from the doorway. They've got a casino in the basement, want to come and check it out? Well, I'm not really fond of gambling. Urza trailed off. Natsu and Gray are already down there playing, Lucy informed. And Itachi is just outside. Dear me, Urza sighed with a smirk and re-equipped her purple dress decorated in red roses. This should work, right? Dressing casual would have been fine, Lucy replied with a sweat drop at the sight. Okay, so I thought you'd have to change the armor, but still. Since I'm going, it'd be an insult to the casino if I wasn't playing to win, Urza chuckled. Yeah, we're off, Lucy hollered as she walked out the door. Once in a while is fine, right? I'm allowed to have laid-back days every now and then. Urza thought as she cast one last glance in the mirror before leaving. Urza, you're amazing. Lucy exclaimed as Urza won yet again. Her luck is as good as like Naruto-kuin's, Itachi thought, unconcerned. It's fitting, I suppose. Time for a new dealer. A man dressed in the same attire as the staff member spoke up and exchanged places with the current dealer. Right now I feel like I can't lose no matter who I'm up against, Urza commented with a smirk. Hell yeah, Lucy agreed. If that's the case, why don't we enjoy a special game? Except we won't be betting with coins, the new dealer offered. Something is wrong here, Itachi thought and narrowed his eyes as the dealer placed 5 cards down on the table. They were face up and together they spelt the word death, causing Urza to look up in confusion. Let's bet with our lives, the dealer smirked. Urza-ne-san. Sister? Itachi's eyes darkened as his Sharingan swirled into existence. Sho? Urza trailed off in shock. It's been a while, Ne-san, Sho smiled back darkly. What's going on? Lucy asked but received no answer. You were safe? Urza said in relief. Safe? Sho sneered back. No. I meant. Urza stumbled over her words. Guys, I found her, Sho said with his hand brought up to his ear. Utakata, Itachi thought as waved his left hand between the two, catching Sho in his genjutsu with just one look. A second later the whole room became pitch black, almost like all of the light had simply vanished. What the dash, Lucy started. It's pitch black. What's going on? This reminds me of Kokwanjio no Jutsu of the Shodai and Nidaime Hokages, Itachi mused as his Sharingan spun wildly. He may not have been able to see clearly but he could still see chakra signatures such as the other people in the room. Just as suddenly as the darkness came, it vanished again to reveal the shaken and confused people around them. Meow, a new female voice whined as a long whip wrapped around Lucy and pulled her back, restraining her. What the heck? What is this thing? Lucy yelped in surprise as her arms were pulled back over her head. Lucy! Urza shouted in worry. Meow, spoke a young woman with brown hair in the shape of cat ears. Super strong, right? Miliana? Urza asked now sweating. You can use magic? This is getting out of hand, Itachi thought as stood over the motionless Sho. Long time, no see, Urza-chan, the cat girl said happily. What is the meaning of this? Lucy is my friend, Urza questioned. Friend? Miliana mused. But weren't we your comrades, Urza-chan? Meow? They were comrades? Lucy thought as she tried to break free of her restraints. Enough of this, Itachi spoke clearly. Let Lucy-san go or face the consequences. Meow, you're no fun, Miliana said back. So be it, Itachi said unconcerned as another Itachi appeared behind the cat girl. Huh? Miliana yelped in surprise as she turned, only feel a brief strike to the back of neck and fall to the ground unconscious. We must hurry, Itachi told the two girls as he cut through Lucy's restraints, freeing her. The others have probably encountered more enemies. Why now? Urza muttered in anger and sadness. You turned out to be quite the looker, spoke a new voice as a new man materialized a few feet away. Another one? Itachi thought with the smallest hint of irritation. That voice, Wally? Urza asked and turned to look at him. He wore a business suit but it was his face and hands that caught her attention. He appeared to be made out of blocks and his arm appeared to change shape before their eyes. You can use magic too? Not that it would matter if you hadn't recognized me, Wally shrugged as he brought up his right arm which was now in the shape of a long barrel and aimed it right at her. Compared to Mad Dog Wally from the old days, I'm much more well-rounded now, there's no need to be awestruck. Once that guy gets his mitts on you, a new voice spoke as a large man with a turban on his head appeared on the other side of the room in a flash of light. Anyone would be able to use magic, right Urza? Simon? Urza asked recognizing the voice. Urza, who are these guys? Lucy asked. Why did that guy call you his sister? He's not really my brother, Urza replied. They are my former comrades. Comrades? But I thought you'd been in Fairy Tail since you were a kid. Lucy continued. This was before that? Urza trailed off and turned her attention back to the two newcomers. What's the old gang doing here? We came to bring you back, Wally answered. That's all I needed to know, Itachi thought as he shifted into his Mangekyo Sharingan. Amaterasu, he whispered as black flames exploded from his eyes and crossed the difference between them in an instant. The black flames consumed Wally's right arm causing him to scream in pain as his arm melted in a matter of seconds forcing him to turn his other arm into a gun barrel and shoot his burning arm off at the shoulder. Before he could recover Itachi was already in front of him with his fist covered in lightning. Wally! Watch out! Simon called out but it was already too late. Chidori, Itachi whispered as he struck forward, impaling Wally through his remaining shoulder, effectively crippling the only good arm. That's excessive, Urza thought as Wally went done. Yami no Meho, Yami Setsuna. Simon exclaimed as he brought his hands together to form activation circle. A second later the room faded into darkness, blinding everyone in the room. This man is the main threat here, I need to take him out now. And then I can face Urza, he thought as he rushed through the darkness and threw out a punch right at Itachi's face. The punch seemed to strike an invisible wall around the Uchiha, catching Simon by surprise. What sort of magic is that? Even if I can't see you normally, Itachi's voice echoed throughout the darkened room. I can still see your chakra, and I can hear you when you move. Who is this guy? Simon thought only to feel a blade impale him through the shoulder and lift him into the air. He was pushed back and slammed hard into the far wall with the sword, or whatever it was, still in his shoulder with enough force to cause the wall to crack. The darkness faded to reveal Itachi standing up straight with the red spiritual thunder god having materialized its skeleton with only its sword in hand and no shield. Enough, Urza said finally, and Itachi retracted the spiritual blade, allowing Simon to slump to the ground. Itachi's power borders on inhuman. I would need to resort to my fairy armor in order to defeat him, but maybe Natsu can eventually beat him too, should Natsu ever learn to fight without actually looking into Itachi's eyes. They clearly wanted you for something, Itachi said over his shoulder as he approached Simon, who was clutching his bleeding shoulder. I already know where they were going to take me after they captured me, Urza declared. The Tower of Heaven. Let's find out the rest, Itachi said as he made eye contact with Simon, causing the bleeding man to slump to the ground. What is your purpose here and where were you going to take Urza-san? The Tower of Heaven has been completed, Simon replied in a hollow tone. Urza is to be the sacrifice for the ceremony that will accomplish Jellal's goal of using the R system. Kanso, Heido Kurosu no Yoroi, Urza whispered as she re-equipped her standard armor. I'll never forgive Jellal for changing everyone so much, I'll put a stop to him and destroy that Tower of Heaven myself, she declared. Let's go and retrieve both Natsu-san and Gray-san before we go, Itachi nodded. What about them? Lucy asked as the three turned away. Leave them, Urza said coldly. Oh, and Itachi? Yes? Itachi asked with a look. Dispatch a message to Mayabokuzan, Urza gave the order. Recall Naruto, we may need his help. Chapter 7, The Tower Part 1. Earthland, Tower of Heaven/Throne Room. So they failed, mused a man with blue hair and a tattoo across his right eye. It appears that we have a wild card in play at the moment. Jellal-sama, let us quickly capture Urza and hold the ceremony. This is no longer the time to be playing around, spoke the dark-haired man. In that case, why don't you go yourself? Vivaldis, Jellal suggested. Are you sure? Vivaldis asked. They are no doubt on their way here as we speak, Jellal smirked and rearranged one of the pieces on his chessboard. And they have finished their turn, have they not? Earthland, Tower of Heaven/Courtyard. That's a lot of guards, Gray commented as they hid behind some rocks on the shoreline. Who cares? Let's plow through them, Natsu suggested. For once I agree with him, Gray nodded. Jellal is in that tower, Urza said clearly. Let's go and say hello, she jumped out of cover a moment later as her body glowed. Kanso, Tenrin no Yoroi, she dashed forward as dozens of swords materialized in the air around her. Intruder, one of the guards yelled when they spotted her. Sound the alarm. Tenrin, Sakurin Soto. Urza exclaimed as she jumped into the air and spun the swords round her faster than the eye could see. A second later the circle of metal that was created lashed out and decimated the dozen guards in front of her. Her skills are impressive, Itachi thought as he watched her move to re-engage the enemy. I can see why Naruto-kun is interested in her even if he hasn't realized it yet. Not to mention she looks like teenage Kushina-sama. Karyu no Tekken. Natsu exclaimed as his fist ignited in flames and he ran through anyone that challenged him. Kori no Zokiai Meiho, Hanma. Gray called out as dozens of ice spikes shot out of the air and Mizu no Meiho, Woda Saraisa. Juvia soon followed with a blade of water which cut through the last of the guards. That was way too easy, Urza commented. Itachi nodded in agreement. The enemy probably knows we're here now and they'll be coming shortly. Urza, Lucy spoke up. Who is Jellal? When she didn't receive an answer she continued. If you don't want to tell us, that's fine, those guys said they were your former comrades, but we're your friends now. And we'll always be here for you no matter what happens. This is personal for you, I get that, Gray added. We're still going to help, even for you, it's okay to be scared once in a while. I'm sorry, Urza said finally as she re-equipped her normal armor. There they are, a new voice called from entrance to the tower. Get them. Here they come again, Gray gritted out. They never learn, Natsu nodded. Kuchios, Yatai Kazushi no Jutsu, a new familiar voice exclaimed from above. Suddenly a massive green toad crushed them beneath its weight, seemingly appearing from nowhere as a blur of red and black dropped down in front of them. "Thanks for the lift, Gamma Hero," the figure spoke as he stood up with his back to them. "Anytime, Naruto-kun," the massive toad nodded and disappeared in a poof of smoke. "Is that?" Gray trailed off as the newcomer turned. "Welcome back, Naruto-kun," Itachi greeted. "Sorry I'm late." Naruto turned towards them with one eye that of the Sharingan and the other gold in color, with the pupil now a horizontal slit. There were orange rings around his eyes and he now sported a red trench coat with black flames emblazoned on the bottom of it. "A black cat crossed my path, so I had to take the long way." Naruto. Urza trailed off. "He's back, he's really back, but he's different now. That aura of his is calming, and is that magic power he has now? He didn't have that when he left, but now I can feel it. That is definitely magic power he's using now." From what she was able to understand, his chakra, as he called it, was a mixture of mental and physical energies within the human body. Magic used spiritual energy from the user's soul, not their body like chakra did, and so was an entirely different power. From what she felt now, Naruto was clearly using magic power, but it didn't seem to be originating from his soul like what she was accustomed to. It almost felt like he had somehow drawn it into his body from the spirit of Earthland itself and had become one with it. She had heard the tales from her guildmates and even Master Makarov of how even the world itself was alive, but she had never truly believed it. She'd heard of some people trying to harness the power of nature itself, and some had even partially succeeded. The forbidden spell of mass destruction called Ise Mahajin, Eterian, was said to be powered by the magic of Earthland itself, even though only the Magic Council had the sheer skill needed to control such a spell from destroying the whole world while in use. But she had never heard it ever augmenting a human body before, and she had thought it was impossible to control such a dangerous power, until now, that is. "I heard you had a bit of a run-in with your old friends," Naruto smiled at her as they entered the tower. "And I heard you were heading to confront some guy you used to know. Over 10 years ago, a cult that worshipped black magic wanted to construct a tower to use a magic that could raise the dead," Urza started. "Raise the dead?" Lucy asked, surprised. "It sounds like Orochimaru would have loved it here," Naruto mused as he released the natural energy within him, returning his right eye to its natural blue color. "Indeed," Itachi nodded, knowing the Snake Sanin's research into resurrection jutsu. "The project wouldn't have been condoned by the government or the Magic Council, so they captured slaves from all over the world to build the tower," Urza continued. "When I was little, I was one of those captured and taken here." "Why, you were a slave?" Naruto stammered in surprise. "That was where I met Jellal," Urza explained. "After a failed escape attempt, I was taken down to isolation and tortured. They ripped out my right eye." Her words shocked them all. "But you have both your eyes," Lucy spoke up. "Porla Yusaka created a new one for me," Urza responded. "Jellal came to rescue me, but he was captured and was taken in my place. Later, after I had been returned to my cell with the rest of the prisoners, I just started attacking the guards. I rallied the prisoners to me and we all revolted against them. We stood up for our freedom and to save Jellal. At that time, Jellal was our leader, our hero with a great sense of justice. He was also my idol," she admitted. "But with the time that passed, Jellal had changed." "What happened?" Naruto asked, knowing that things weren't going to be happily ever after. "If someone can be called evil, I'd call him that," Urza answered. "That was the day I learned magic. The enemy mages had finally come onto the battlefield and they struck down my old master." "Her old master?" Naruto thought as he remembered his own now deceased masters. "He took a spell aimed at me and was killed," Urza explained. "My magic awakened then and there. With that power I killed the mages who killed him and led the slaves out towards the boats on the shore. After I was sure they would make it, I turned around and headed back inside the tower in order to find Jellal. I found him all right." "Let me guess," Naruto stopped her. "You were too late." "Yes," Urza replied harshly. "He was insane. He said that he wanted to resurrect Zeref. Now, he almost killed me but decided it was better to exile me instead. He said if I breathed a word of what was happening here to anyone, that he would kill my friends. I woke up on a beach the next day and just cried for what felt like an eternity." "Urza," Naruto said as he reached out a hand to her. "I?" the redhead said as a single tear fell from her left eye. "I am going to fight Jellal." "Hold on, Urza," Gray spoke up. "That Zeref you just mentioned. Ah, he's called the most brutal and cruel dark mage in the history of the magic world," Urza explained. "Indeed," Lucy mused. "The monster summoned by Lullaby was created from Zeref. Not only that, I'm afraid Deliora could have been another such part of Zeref," Urza added. "Zeref has the power to create these terrifying monsters with little effort." That's the Ziraf that Jellal plans to revive? Lucy asked with mounting worry. I'm not sure what his motive is, Urza bowed her head in shame. According to Jell, my old comrade, when Ziraf is revived they would become the rulers of the world. World domination? Itachi mused, thinking back on his days in the Akatsuki. It sounds familiar. I don't know what Jellal has been filling their heads with since I escaped the Tower of Heaven, but I did abandon everyone for 8 years, Urza continued. I betrayed them. Bullshit, Naruto declared. This guy goes insane and threatens to kill all your old friends so you don't talk. Now he can't touch them and we're going to kick his ass here and now. I'm with Naruto on this one, Natsu agreed. We're in this until the end. Itachi nodded. What are we waiting for? Gray asked. An engraved invitation? Welcome everyone, spoke dozens of mouths that formed on the walls around them to their surprise. What's with these mouths? Gray asked surprised. They're talking, Juvia said confused. Jellal must have set this up so he could be heard in every corner of the tower, Urza mused. His words are transmitting through the mouths? Lucy asked with a shiver of disgust. I am Jellal, the one who controls this tower. All the pieces on both sides have been placed, the voice spoke. It is about time to being the paradise game. A game? Natsu inquired. The rules are simple, Jellal explained. I will use Urza as my sacrifice in a ceremony that will resurrect Ziraf. Who's he kidding? Gray sneered back. Like we're going to let something like that happen, Naruto growled out. Sacrifice, human sacrifice, no one deserves that fate. That is to say, if I open the gates to heaven, then I win. If you are able to prevent this, then you are the winners. But, to make the game more interesting, I have 3 players here, Jellal continued. 3 players, Itachi mused. You must get past them to reach me, Jellal declared. Thus this is a 7-on-3 battle. Lastly there is a special rule in play. The Magic Council might attack using the Ise Mahajin, Iterian. It's a very destructive magic capable of annihilating everything. A weapon capable of destroying the entire island in one blast? Naruto thought in surprise. He knew that the Biju could do such a thing and there were certain kinjutsu which could cause destruction on such a scale, but this sounded like something else entirely. This wasn't a jutsu which you hit an enemy with and watch as it tears them apart. This was a long-range weapon of mass destruction designed solely to wipe the enemy from the face of existence. Such a weapon should only ever be used as a deterrent for war or at the worst, a last resort, and that seemed to be the case here. It is unknown how much time remains, Jellal continued. But when Iterian hits, everyone here will die, there will be no winner. Hence, game over. What is Jellal thinking? Lucy stammered. He might be killed too, and he calls it a game. Iterian, from the council? That's impossible, because they would need a majority vote to give such an order, Urza reasoned. That's it, enjoy the game, Jellal concluded, and the mouths disappeared. He must have some kind of escape plan, Naruto suggested. Agreed, Itachi nodded. Either that or he has something planned for when Iterian fires. Alright then, Urza started. Lucy and Juvia, you two head through the door on the right, she ordered as she gestured towards the doors. Natsu and Gray, you two take the door on the left. Naruto and Itachi, you both climb up the tower from the outside. I'll take the main stairwell, let's all meet up in the throne room. Let's go, Natsu said with a grin. Earthland, Tower of Heaven/East Wing Hallway. Rasengan. Naruto exclaimed as he blew open the outer wall of the tower 100 feet up. Guards, Itachi said as dozens of guards took notice and charged towards the 2 shinobi turn mages. These guys are a real pain, Naruto groaned and formed a familiar hand seal. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, he called out as 10 clones popped into existence at his side and charged at the attacking guardsmen. There are just 2 of them. Stop them already, the captain of the guardsmen yelled only to freeze and fall to the floor unconscious. Genjutsu? Naruto asked his partner beside him. Itachi responded. Impressive, a new female voice commented as a woman with pink hair dressed in white robes and wielding a sheathed katana appeared in front of them. I am called Ikaruga, greetings. Oh shit, Naruto muttered. Another Sakura-chan. Excuse me? Ikaruga asked curious. Never mind, Naruto shook it off. Listen, you wouldn't mind just stepping aside, would you? I'm afraid not, Ikaruga replied amused. I didn't think so, Naruto sighed. Itachi, you go on ahead, I'll catch up in a minute. Are you sure? Itachi asked. Yeah, Naruto nodded. Besides, Urza is probably already up there. Very well, Itachi conceded and burst into dozens of black crows. Naruto sighed as he recalled his previous battle with the elder Uchiha brother and shook his head at the thought. Despite everything that had happened, Itachi was the sole link he had to his old world other than the Toads, but since they weren't technically from the shinobi world, it was different where Itachi was concerned. Itachi was many things but a madman with a need to prove himself by killing his family. He most certainly was not. His powers were almost ungodly and he seemed to use them wisely. He was quiet most of the time and kind of reminded him of both Sasuke before he left and Shino. He could be trusted, for now at least. This guy did kill his entire family after all. Still, there was something wrong with that story when compared to the Itachi that had fought him and now fought alongside him and his new friends. He'd worry about it later. Alright then, Naruto sighed again and stood completely still. Let's go wild, he said as orange rings formed around his eyes, his right pupil elongated into a horizontal slit and his right eye turned yellow. Senjutsu, Sannin Moto. What strange eyes. Ikaruga mused. Fuin, Kai, Naruto spoke as he unsealed a dozen shuriken from a scroll that had appeared in his hand. The shuriken sailed towards Ikaruga only for her to unsheath her sword and deflect the dozen shuriken. There is nothing under the sun that I cannot slice, Ikaruga proclaimed and slashed one last time, this time striking at Naruto directly. Naruto brought his hands up and a kunai slipped into his grasp. Futon, Hein, he exclaimed as his wind chakra coated the blade. You're good, he commented as the two blades connected and Naruto pulled back. But I'm better, he said as he lunged forward and threw out a punch with his free hand. Kawazu Kumite. Oh? Ikaruga asked amused as she dodged the punch effortlessly only to feel a solid hit to the side of her face, sending her crashing back into the far wall. What was that? She stammered in surprise. She's insanely fast, Naruto thought as he narrowed his eyes. If I wasn't in Sage mode and using the Sharingan, she would have sliced right through me and I wouldn't have been able to do a damn thing about it. That sword of hers is something else too. My wind-enhanced kunai could barely hold itself together when we clashed. That was my way of greeting, Ikaruga said as she stood up completely recovered. I am no mere passerby on the road. I don't care, Naruto said back and formed a familiar hand seal. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, he exclaimed as three clones popped into existence beside him and charged. Here I come, Ikaruga spoke as she readied her sword. Yasha Senku, it came out as a whisper and a second later she made one slash with her sword. Suddenly all three clones were wiped out and were soon followed by a gust of wind. Her speed with that sword of hers is unreal, Naruto thought as his Sharingan spun wildly. Well, I guess I have to even the playing field. Suddenly his Sharingan shifted into its Mangekyo form and he focused on her sword. Kamui, he whispered as space and time distorted where she held her sword. What the dash, Ikaruga said and jumped away from the spiraling vortex. I won't fall for your tricks, she said as she landed a few yards back. Senpo, Rasenrangen. Naruto exclaimed as he appeared from above with two spiraling chakra spheres in hand. Is that pure magic? Ikaruga asked in thought as she narrowly evaded the attack. The twin orbs of energy struck the ground and exploded in a blast of smoke and dust as she skidded to a halt just outside of the smoke cloud. I can't see anything, don't tell me he planned to use this as a smokescreen, she narrowed her eyes in anger at the thought. Kururien, she bellowed as she unleashed a blast of fire from her blade with one single slash, blowing away out the smoke and leaving a trail of destruction through the hall. She's too good, Naruto thought as the smoke cleared. It looks like I can't afford to hold back, he sighed and formed a hand seal. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, two clones instantly popped into existence at his side and started charging a familiar blue chakra sphere in his hand. Another magic ball? No matter what weapon you wield, it cannot stand up to my blade. Surrender, Ikaruga spoke clearly. This isn't meant to break your sword, Naruto explained as white wind blades formed around the chakra ball and a bell-like screech filled the air. It's just meant to defeat you, he yelled as he lunged at her. Foolish, Ikaruga said as she readied her sword. Futon, Rasengan. Naruto exclaimed as the spiraling chakra sphere connected with Ikaruga's sword. Her eyes widened as the energy ball drilled into her blade and broke through. She was blown back upon contact with the chakra sphere and slammed into the far wall with an echoing explosion. He looked where his opponent had crashed. She sat motionless against the dented wall breathing heavily but she was clearly still alive. We're done here, he said and turned away. Wait, she stammered as she looked up. You, who are you? Ikaruga thought as she slipped into unconsciousness. Now, I need to find Urza and Itachi, Naruto thought as he turned and dashed down the darkened corridor. Chapter 8, The Tower Part 2. Earthland, Tower of Heaven/Throne Room. Dear me, it seems the game is already over, Jellal sighed as he knocked over the pieces on his chessboard. Is it really entertaining, playing with people's lives? Urza demanded as she stepped out of the doorway. Oh, but of course, Jellal answered. Life and death are the very basis of all things, they intensify every emotion. Or to put it a rather different way, there is nothing quite as dull as life. It has been a while, Urza. Jellal. Urza trailed off when he turned and she saw his face. You could have simply fled this place at any time, Jellal told her. Why did you choose not to do so? I need to free all of my former comrades, Urza replied. Not that I care, Jellal countered. I no longer have any use for them, not with the Tower of Heaven complete. Even if it were to be destroyed only 10 minutes from now? Urza questioned. You are referring to Tyrion? He, Jellal chuckled at that. You seem unconcerned, so you really were bluffing, Urza guessed as she gripped her sword tighter. Oh no, the Tyrion will fall, Jellal responded as he removed his hood exposing his face. That is what I wanted to hear. Urza shouted as she raised her sword. 10 minutes. If I can simply keep you here for that long, I will be able to bring an end to all of this. Oh no, you are going to be sacrificed to Zeruf, Jellal laughed. That much is pure fact. It is your destiny. Sorry I'm late, Naruto said as he arrived at the throne room doors to the sight of Itachi waiting for him. Where's Urza? Inside, Itachi replied. Why aren't you in there with her? Naruto asked. At the moment she does not seem to need our help, Itachi replied. 7 minutes left, Jellal chuckled. In 7 minutes' time, Tyrion will strike this place, let us enjoy those 7 minutes, Urza. Right now there is nothing that I fear, Urza declared. Even if Tyrion does fall upon me, I will be satisfied as long as I take you with me. Here I come, Jellal smirked as he raised his hand and whips of dark energy lanced out. Yami no Meho, the whips were so fast that they were able to strike Urza across the chest plate as she evaded the assault. I've got you now, Jellal's smirk widened as he sent a condensed ray of darkness at her. It stuck her in the stomach and blew her back through the wall and outside of the tower. She tumbled for a moment before kicking off of some falling debris and launching herself back up into the throne room. You've just built this huge tower and you're just smashing it up? Urza shouted as 2 swords appeared in her hand and swiped down at Jellal. I just don't know what to say. It's just a pillar or 2, Jellal responded with a knowing grin. Nothing more than decorations. Sho and the others worked 8 long years believing in you, to make those decorations. Urza yelled in anger as she slashed away at him. Oh, don't play your little word games with me, Jellal shot back as he evaded each strike. What's important here is the R system, that's what those 8 years were for, and now it is finally complete, he laughed as he hurled a volley of darkness at her, binding her. Enough. Urza screamed and with one single slash, wiped away the darkness that had assaulted her. This ends now, she called out as she appeared in front of him and slashed with the back of her katana. You're telling me, this is the same Urza? Jellal thought in shock as she slashed him across the chest with one swift move and then pinned him to the ground. Damn. What are you really after? Urza demanded as she looked down at him. You haven't completed the R system at all, have you? Don't think I've been doing nothing for those 8 years, I've done my research on R systems. Sure, you've constructed the building itself perfectly, in accordance with the blueprints from back then. But you're still missing one basic thing to actually complete the R system. I already told you, Jellal strained. The sacrifice will be you. I mean something more basic than that, Urza continued. The thing you're lacking here is magic. To activate a magic spell of this scale requires a total of 2,700,000,000 ideas of sheer magic power. We're talking about the kind of magic you might not even be able to achieve by gathering all the mages on the continent. It is utterly impossible for a single human to gather up all of that magic and store it in this tower. And that's not the only thing, you are perfectly aware of the Council's intents to destroy this place, yet you make not a single move to run. What exactly are you planning? I think you've already realized what he has planned, a new voice spoke from the entrance. The sheer amount of energy needed for such a technique is inhuman, only the Biju are capable of generating the amount of power needed. Not quite, Urza said as she stood up and stepped away. There is one other source of energy great enough to power a spell of this scale, the magic of the world itself. The world itself? Itachi asked with a raised eyebrow. The energy Naruto was able to gather from the world around him, Urza replied and turned to the blonde sage. You mean natural energy? Naruto asked and she nodded. But I'm only able to use a small amount of it. The magic of a world is theoretically limitless, Urza explained. You figured it out? Jellal stared up with widened eyes. Tyrion is said to gather the magic of the world itself and unleash it in one blast at a target, Urza finished. You're hoping for the Council to fire Tyrion at the tower and somehow use that energy to power the R system. It doesn't matter now, Jellal smirked. 1 minute. We can't stop an attack of this scale, Itachi said to his 2 guildmates. Maybe we can, Naruto suggested and ran over to the hole in the wall that was created earlier when Jellal had blown Urza through it. What are you planning to do? Urza yelled after him. I'm going to stop that light. Naruto shouted back as he jumped and stood on the side of the wall. Senjutsu, Sanin Moto, he whispered as gathered natural energy into his body and his eyes shifted into sage mode. Here it comes, he thought as he looked up and saw a beam of light descend on the tower. Senpo, Kamui, space and time distorted right above the tower and the beam of light was sucked in upon contact. Unlike the regular Kamui, which was capable to creating a small black hole and capable of sucking up most attacks and people, the Senpo, Kamui was the same jutsu powered by his sage chakra and as such was far larger and stronger than the original. The black hole that Naruto had just created above the tower was so large that it was capable of transporting the sheer power of the Eterian blast into another dimension. However, there was a problem with this specific jutsu. It drained him completely of natural energy in one go. Damn, Naruto grunted as he felt sage mode leave him and he started to fall off the tower. Urza appeared and grabbed his hand before he could fall, pulling him back inside the throne room. Thanks, he breathed and she nodded in response. He really has gotten stronger. Urza thought with a small smile and stood up once more. You, all those years of work, infiltrating the council, you'll pay for this, damn you. Jellal roared in anger as he stood up. I've had enough out of you, shouted a familiar pink-haired boy with his hands covered in flames as he appeared and landed a solid punch to Jellal's face, sending him crashing back into the far wall. Natsu. Urza trailed off surprised. Urza belongs to Fairy Tail, Natsu declared. Don't think, even for a second, that you can screw with us and get away with it. And now the Dragon Slayer appears, Jellal sneered as he stood up, casting away his coat revealing his armored suit underneath. You all have the nerve to disrupt my plans, I'm going to crush you with my Tentai Meiho. Naruto-kun, Itachi spoke up catching the downed blonde's attention. How long until you recover? Give me 5 minutes, Naruto replied clearly sweating. Very well, Itachi nodded. Move aside Salamander-san, he ordered as his eyes shifted into his Mangekyo Sharingan. I will deal with this. Natsu remembered the kind of power Itachi had wielded during his battle with Naruto and reluctantly moved out of the way. Amaterasu, the Uchiha whispered and black flames exploded from his eyes. Ryusei, Jellal smirked as his body glowed yellow and his right eye changed in appearance. The pupil became a strange red pattern as he disappeared in a burst of speed before the black flames could touch him. What? Itachi thought in surprise. No one had ever dodged Amaterasu before and for good reason, considering the speed that the flames traveled at to reach their target. Hell, Sasuke had only survived because of Orochimaru's rebirthing technique and Naruto had been forced to manipulate space and time with Kamui just to deflect it. Too slow, Jellal said as he appeared behind him and landed a solid punch across his face. Even with my Sharingan, I can barely see his movements, Itachi thought as Jellal continued to batter him. There is a foreign energy coursing through his system that is not his own, disrupting his chakra and my genjutsu. It reminds me of the Kyuubi's chakra when it influences Naruto, but not as a chaotic, it's almost calm. He's also not looking into my eyes, so I can't use Tsukuyomi. He must have received word of my abilities. I am not a fool, Jellal said as he threw out another punch. Your eyes are the source of your power. As long as I don't look into your eyes, you cannot defeat me. Even with that power of yours, it's over. It's time for you to have a glimpse, he spoke as he jumped up onto the ceiling. Of real destructive power, 7 spheres of yellow magic connected around him and suddenly shot down at Itachi. Shikisaiken. Susanoo, Itachi whispered as the spiritual thunder god formed around him as the 7 golden orbs struck him. It doesn't matter what you do. As long as this tower still stands, I will just find another way to gathering the energy needed to power it. Jellal laughed as he landed back on the floor at the other side of the room and threw his arms up in a cross shape. What is this feeling? Itachi thought with narrowed eyes. Arudiarasu. Jellal exclaimed as he gathered the darkness of the shadows around him into a single large sphere and hurled it at the spiritual thunder god. Susanoo brought down the Yata no Kagami down to cover Itachi as the swirling dark orb struck with a deafening explosion. This isn't going the way I'd hoped. At the very least I need to ensure that the enemy does not win this battle, but right now I don't have the chakra to completely destroy this tower. There has to be another way, Itachi thought and saw Natsu out of the corner of his eye. Salamander-san, I am told that you can devour flames in order to gain strength. Yeah, Natsu nodded. Devour these flames and use that strength to destroy this tower. If this tower were to fall, then at the very least we can deny the enemy victory, Itachi spoke as black flames erupted from his eyes once more. Amaterasu. Natsu quickly ate the black flames without them burning him, and after the last of them were devoured he grinned. I'm all revved up. He punched his hand into his palm as his magic seal appeared in the air in front of him and orange flames wrapped around his body. Scales formed across his forehead and his teeth elongated into sharp canines. Fairy Tail mages specialize in property damage, he said as he charged forward far faster than before and landed a solid punch to the jaw, sending Jellal flying back. You little punk? Jellal growled out as he recovered and charged back at the dragon slayer before him. I'm going to finish you in an instant. You're going to regret getting up here. I'll send you straight to hell. I've got confidence in my own stubbornness, Natsu grinned as the two exchanged blows. Come and get me if you can. Shikasaiken. Jellal exclaimed as he knocked Natsu away and fired off a volley of light orbs at him. Come on. Natsu urged and Jellal struck him head-on with an orb of light only for it to break apart upon contact with his flames. What's the matter? Are you holding back because you're afraid to damage your precious tower? Your attacks have no effect on me at all. Is this really Natsu? He might be stronger than me now, Urza thought as she watched on. That power, it has to be Doragon Fosu, there's no mistaking it. This is Natsu's true power, unreal. Impressive. Itachi mused. Don't get cocky. You little punk. Jellal shouted as he telekinetically blasted Natsu back into the far wall. Karyu no Kun. Natsu exclaimed as his hands ignited in fire and slammed them down into the ground, shaking the tower and unleashing a torrent of flames everywhere. My tower, I spent 8 years building it, you, Jellal said enraged. Unforgivable, he yelled and brought his hands up in a cross shape above his head, releasing a shockwave. That's the same spell as before, Itachi thought and prepared to intervene should that spell be used again. Something that could damage even the Yata no Kagami was not something that he would allow to be used against one of his allies if he could help it. But he had already released Susanoo and his chakra was running low despite his inhuman resilience to exhaustion. Senjutsu, Sanin Moto, Naruto spoke from behind him as the ground around him seemed to crack. Naruto-kun? He's finally ready to re-enter the battle, Itachi mused. He recharged. Urza thought as the blonde took a step forward and disappeared in a burst of speed. What inhuman speed? You again? Jellal sneered as he finished gathering darkness from the shadows around the destroyed. Arudiarasu. Senpo, Cho Udama Rasengan. Naruto exclaimed as he descended upon the blue-haired mage with a large spinning chakra sphere in hand nearly twice as big as his own body. Susanoo, Itachi strained as the spiritual thunder god formed around him once again. He quickly grabbed Urza and Natsu with its two right hands, discarding both the sword and the jar while raising the Yata no Kagami up to defend from the resulting blast unleashed by Naruto's very destructive jutsu. The massive spiraling sphere connected with the orb of darkness and both exploded with an echoing crack. The tower shattered and fell, or it would if it didn't fall away and reveal nothing but blue crystal in its place. Naruto landed beside Urza, Natsu and Itachi, the latter of whom had released Susanoo and had fallen to his knees in exhaustion. Did you get him? Natsu asked. No, Naruto shook his head. I can still sense his chakra. This is? Urza trailed off at the sight of the now crystal tower around them. Lacrima, the entire tower is one big lacrima. He must have been planning to absorb magic from Eterian with this lacrima. You dare to interfere with my plans, Jellal spoke as the dust cleared and revealed his glaring form. I'll kill you here and now. Jellal, Urza muttered as a single tear slid down the left side of her face. Urza, this guy, Naruto thought and formed a single hand seal. Urza, I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to make you cry, Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. A second later two clones popped into existence at his side. Naruto? What are you? Urza started only to cover her ears as a familiar and disturbing bell-like screech echoed through the air. Don't tell me he's going to use that spell? But I thought I told him never to use it again. He's going to cripple himself at this rate. That's... Itachi whispered as Naruto and his clones formed a white chakra shuriken in the original's right hand. What is that? Jellal asked with wide eyes. This guy? You're done for now, Natsu declared. Futon, Raisin Shuriken. Naruto exclaimed as he hurled the chakra shuriken through the air at the blue-haired mage. He threw it. Itachi thought with wide eyes. How can he throw such condensed chakra? The chakra shuriken closed in and Jellal jumped over it in order to evade the strike. The wind blades expanded just as he landed several feet away, and a moment later the Rasengan core of the chakra shuriken expanded. Finally, with an echoing explosion, it was over. It ends now. Naruto yelled as he appeared beside the blue-haired mage. Senpo, Raisin Rengen, he exclaimed as he slammed a pair of spinning chakra sphere into Jellal's chest. I'm impossible. I cannot be defeated. Jellal shouted back as he quickly recovered despite the sheer amount of damage he had taken and hurled a bolt of light at Naruto. I will create a land of freedom. Ziraf called to me softly, through the pain and fear. He asked me if I wanted true freedom. That's right, I am the only one who can sense Ziraf's presence. I am the chosen one. Together with Ziraf, I will create a nation of true freedom. Would you just shut up already? Naruto yelled as the two traded blows, battling their way from one side of the room turned roof to the other. I don't give a damn about your freedom or any shit like that. Who cares? Crap like that has got nothing to do with my life. The will to change the world, that alone is enough to turn the wheel of history. Why can you fools not understand that? Jellal exclaimed as he jumped into the air and formed a large yellow magic circle in midair. The Abisubiriku again? Are you trying to bring down the whole tower? Urza demanded at the sight. Just give me another 8 years, no, this time I'll build it in 5 years, Ziraf, just a little longer, Jellal rambled. I don't care if you tell me that the whole damn world will be destroyed tomorrow. I'll never give up. That's what it means to be human. Naruto yelled as he jumped and his Mangekyo Sharingan spun. Abisubiriku! Jellal exclaimed as a large fusion blast of darkness right at him. Kamui, Naruto whispered as space and time distorted between them. Jellal's spell was sucked into the spiraling vortex, much to his shock and anger. Damn it, I'm out of sage chakra again, he thought as he breathed raggedly. I have just enough chakra left, he said as he started channeling chakra to his left arm and jumped right at Jellal. That spell he just used, that's what he used to stop Eterian. Damn him. Jellal thought in anger only for it to turn into shock as Naruto jumped at him. Rasengan! Naruto exclaimed as he slammed the spinning chakra sphere into Jellal's chest, blowing him downwards through the tower. The tower shook as the lacrima crystal started to crack and shatter until the whole tower started to fall as one down onto the island below. Chapter 9, Homeward Bound. Earthland, Fiori Southern Beach. Where am I? Urza whispered with a groan as her eyes slowly opened. Urza, a series of voices were heard along with splashing water. Thank God you're okay. Don't make us worry like that, damn it. What's going on? Urza asked as she shook herself awake. She appeared to be on a beach under the night sky and in someone's arms. Her friends were running towards her, splashing water everywhere as they ran. She raised her hands and gazed at them for several long seconds as her vision returned to normal. I'm alive, she looked up at the one who was holding her bridal style in his arms. We all are, Naruto replied as he looked down at her with a small smile. It's over. Jellal, did he? Urza trailed off. I don't know if he survived or not, Naruto answered her unasked question as he dropped to his knees with her still in his arms. You really cared about him, but sometimes, you just can't save everyone. The only option people like us have is to move forward and never give up, even at the end. You're right, Urza smiled sadly. Fairy tale, I can't really imagine a world without my comrades. It's the same for all of us, Natsu was the one who responded to that. You're a member of Fairy Tail, you're one of us and we weren't going to let anyone take you away. That's right, Lucy nodded in agreement. You all? Urza closed her eyes with a smile. Thank you, she told them. That's right, I don't have to die for my comrades' sake, I have to live for their sake. Because that's the only way to bring about a happy future, she thought as tears flowed down from both of her eyes. Let's get out of here, Naruto grinned. Earthland, Fiori Southern Beach Hotel. Is this guy really going to be okay? Gray asked as he looked at the bedridden Natsu wrapped in bandages. Yeah, seriously, he's been sleeping for 3 days now, Lucy added. Natsu. Lucy's wearing a maid outfit, and she's dancing for everyone, Happy shouted into the Dragon Slayer's ear. I'd be pissed off if that managed to wake him up, Lucy huffed and turned away only for the pink-haired young man to start smiling. No grinning in your sleep. Oh, just let him rest a little longer, Urza spoke up from the desk on the other side of the room. Not that it could have been helped under the circumstances, Itachi mused. I took a gamble when I allowed him to devour the black flames of Amaterasu, by all rights, he should have been incinerated by merely touching it, he grunted as he turned away. Thankfully all I had to do was buy time for Naruto-kun to recover, otherwise I would have had to go on the offensive and risk leaving the others unprotected. This guy is becoming more of a monster every day, Gray sighed and leaned back in his chair. Natsu's skills are extraordinary, Itachi thought as he gazed down at the young man's sleeping face. His body was able to break down Amaterasu into mere particles and absorb the energy from it, thus triggering that transformation we saw. This boy's potential rivals Naruto-kun's, they both even act somewhat alike, I wonder. I caused so much trouble to all of you in this incident, Urza spoke apologetically. I really don't know what I can say. Don't worry about it, Naruto told her. We won and we all made it out of there alive. Whatever happened to that Element 4 girl? Urza asked, changing the subject. Juvia? Oh, she's headed back already, Gray answered. She said she wanted to join Fairy Tail as soon as possible, so she ran off to find the old man. I see, I hear she helped us out a lot, so I would have liked to be there to back her up, but… Urza mused. Shouldn't you be getting some sleep? Naruto asked the redhead. I wasn't really hurt that much, Urza shook her head and waved off his concern. It could have been a lot worse. That's an understatement, Gray muttered. So this is where you were, Naruto spoke up as he stepped out onto the balcony. Urza stood at the edge with her arms resting on the banister as she gazed out at the calm ocean that was reflecting the moonlight. Huh? Oh, it's you Naruto, Urza said over her shoulder as he approached. Are you alright? Naruto asked her. I'm just thinking about my old comrades, my old friends, I feel like I've betrayed them, Urza responded. I don't know if Jellal was really possessed by Zeref's ghost or not, but he was able to change my old friends into some of my worst enemies. I just left them after Itachi defeated them without a care in the world. I know the feeling, Naruto started. Before I came here I was being hunted by a group of S-class criminals called the Akatsuki who wanted to harness the demonic power I have. I heard that your home was destroyed, Urza said a little subdued. Itachi told you that? Naruto asked before shaking his head. Of course he did, he used to be one of them, a member of the Akatsuki, before he was brought here. So Naruto and Itachi really were enemies, Urza thought in confirmation. I could have gone back and defended my home but the leader of the village. The Hokage ordered me to remain here out of the Akatsuki's reach, Naruto continued. That didn't work out as well as we'd hoped, my old sensei infiltrated the Akatsuki's home village and was killed by their leader. With Erosenin dead they knew Konoha couldn't protect me and as soon as the Akatsuki realized that they couldn't find me, they launched a direct attack on Konoha. The whole village was destroyed in one day, and I wasn't there to do a damn thing about it. I'm sorry, Urza whispered. It seems we all have our problems. Yeah, Naruto nodded sadly. Itachi's little brother was my best friend and he betrayed us 4 years ago. I promised the girl I liked that I would bring him back to her but in the end I failed. I've always failed, no matter how far I go or how hard I try, it never seems to be enough. Have you given up? Urza asked him. I'll never give up, Naruto replied. There is nothing more I can do about my home or the people that died for me, but I'm not just going to let the Akatsuki take me. Konoha is my past, Fairy Tail is my future, unlike my old friend Sasuke, I'll keep moving forward and never look back at what could have been. Keep moving forward, huh? Urza smiled at that. Sho, Simon, Wally, Miliana, Jellal, I'll keep moving forward, I forgive you all, and I'm sorry for everything. Let's go back inside and get some sleep, Naruto suggested as he turned back towards the door. Naruto, wait, Urza said quickly stopping him. What is it? Naruto asked as he turned half towards her. Thank you, Urza smiled and hugged, catching him by surprise. Ha! Naruto thought, unable to comprehend what she was doing. He'd seen others hug before but had never actually experienced it himself before. You're welcome, it came out as a question even as he slipped his arms around her and hugged her back. Neither of them said a word as they broke apart and went their separate ways. Earthland, Magnolia/Fairy Tail Guild. What the fuck? Naruto's voice echoed as they all stood in front of the newly completed Fairy Tail Guild. Is anyone else seeing this? The new guild was far larger than the one that was destroyed during the war with Phantom Lord several months ago. This is… Gray trailed off. That was a shock, Urza commented. They actually finished it? Natsu exclaimed in surprise. Itachi grunted. It looks like a castle, Lucy mused at the sight. Hey, Mira Jane greeted them with a wave from the entrance. Welcome back to Fairy Tail. It's totally different from before, Natsu said. We did rebuild it from scratch, Mira Jane responded. We've got an open-air cafe now along with a souvenir shop that sells Fairy Tail t-shirts, wristbands, mugs and towels. We even have lacrima crystals for sale, though they are pretty pricey. As she and the others continued towards the gift shop, Itachi hung back with Naruto. Naruto, Itachi spoke up catching his attention. Who is she? Mira-chan? Naruto asked. I'm surprised you haven't met her yet, she's usually the one in charge of the guild whenever the old man has a council meeting. She's supposed to be insanely strong and I do know she is registered as an S-class mage though she never seems to take any missions. Her chakra is strange, Itachi mused. You cannot tell me you haven't noticed. So your Sharingan picked up on it, huh? Naruto asked though it didn't come out more of a statement than a question. She and her brother are the same so I think it's their branch of magic. Perhaps, Itachi conceded. You guys are finally back, huh? Kana spoke from the doorway. Come on inside and check it out, she said as she gestured towards the main hall. It's not like it was before, Natsu grumbled as the group looked over the new main hall of the guild. Hey there, one of the blonde waitresses dressed in a fairy tale mindress greeted them with a smile. Welcome to Fairy Tale. The waitresses have got new outfits. Gray trailed off with a glazed look. Nice legs, Naruto thought only to receive an elbow from the redhead at his side. Quit staring you idiot, Urza hissed in his ear. Sorry, Naruto apologized as she turned away. Why does she care? Girls are just so confusing, Sakura-chan did the same thing. I'll admit that the outfits are cute but that doesn't give you the right to stare, Urza thought with an annoyed look. It had been 3 months since the blonde had entered her life and even she had to admit that she'd started to think of him as more than a friend. And after the recent incident at the Tower of Heaven, he'd become her lifeline and support to continue living in this strange world. Was that the master's idea? Lucy asked with a sigh. It's all different, Natsu pouted. And that's not all we've got that's new. Behind the bar we have a pool, downstairs there is an amusement center, and perhaps the biggest difference is the second floor. Anybody's allowed up there now, Kana continued. Although naturally, you still have to have an S-rank mage on your team to go on S-rank missions. We can go up to the second floor? Lucy asked surprised. S-rank huh? Naruto muttered though the redhead at his side heard him. Is that what he wants? To be an S-rank mage like me? He certainly has the power to be one, Urza thought. So you're finally back, are you? A familiar old voice spoke up from the side. Long time no see, old man, Naruto greeted with a wave. Welcome back, all of you, Makarov nodded back and motioned to the blue-haired woman at his side. This is our newest member, Juvia, cute, ain't she? So you really have joined up? Gray grinned at the sight. Juvia, thank you for all of your help back at the tower, Urza said with a nod. So you know one another? Makarov mused before shrugging. Juvia has all of you to thank, Juvia smiled happily while speaking in third person as normal. Juvia will do her best. Good luck, Lucy smiled back. In that case, Makarov whispered to Urza. You probably already know but, she used to be one of Phantom's. Yes, don't worry about that, Urza reassured. She's our comrade now. I see, Makarov nodded and waved off their chat. Well, make her feel at home, oh, and there's one more new member I'd like you to meet, he said and turned to one of the tables. Hey, come and introduce yourself. Someone else? Happy asked as they turned towards the table. What? Lucy shouted in surprise as she recognized him. Why you're kidding me? Gray yelled. Gajeel Red Fox, Natsu glared at the man. What's this punk doing here? Master? What kind of joke is this supposed to be? Gray questioned. Wait. Juvia brought him here, Juvia pleaded. Am I missing something? Itachi inquired. That guy used to be one of the top members of Phantom Lord, a guild that Fairy Tail was at war with 3 months ago, Naruto explained. From what I heard he is also a dragon slayer like Natsu only he uses iron instead of fire. I see, Itachi nodded in understanding. Juvia is one thing, but this guy was directly responsible for our guild's destruction, Urza declared. Now, he was only acting on Jose's orders back then, Makarov reasoned. It couldn't be helped, you know what they say, yesterday's enemies are today's friends. I know the feeling, Naruto grumbled as he sent a glare at the Uchiha to his side. Itachi grunted in agreement. Stop screwing around. Natsu yelled. I can't work with a guy like that. Oh, don't worry, Gajeel shot back. I have no intention of being all buddy-buddy with you. I need work, one guild is as good as the next. Not that I ever thought I'd end up working at a nasty guild like this. What did you say? Natsu snarled out. Gajeel-kun is always so lonely, Juvia cried. Juvia couldn't bear to just leave him, I mean, Juvia doesn't like him or anything. It is the duty of an old man like me to guide young men who have lost their way back onto the right path, Makarov spoke wisely. He's not a bad guy at heart, you know, at least, I hope not. If this is Master's decision, then I will support it, but I think we should at least have someone keep an eye on him for the time being, Urza said clearly. It's not like we haven't done something like this before. Indeed, Itachi thought as he remembered that despite the fact that he was now recognized as a friend and comrade by the others in Fairy Tail, he was originally an enemy of Naruto's and the two had almost killed each other during their little reunion back when he confronted the young Uzumaki. Is something wrong? Lucy asked Natsu. I dunno, Natsu shivered. This new guild, it doesn't feel right. Hurry up and take a seat. The main event is about to start, Kana told them as she pushed the group to one of the empty tables and the moment they were seated, the light went out and shrouded the room in darkness. Too dark, Natsu said and breathed a small stream of fire into the air above him to cast some light on them. Stop doing that, Kana ordered. It's a show, it's meant to be dark. What's all this now? Gray asked. There's a stage over there, Lucy said as the stage lit up with lights. Is that Mira-chan? Naruto blinked as the curtains parted to reveal the white-haired beauty in a dress with her legs crossed sitting on a chair and a guitar in her arms. I gently touch the desk where you used to sit, alone once more today with the shadows. I look up to the sky and whisper a prayer. You're out there, somewhere, too, under this vast sky. I bear with the tears even as I tremble, even when the darkness threatens to swallow me. Don't forget, there will always be a place for you to come home to, and people waiting for you, Mira sang and the crowd cheered. All was well. Natsu yelped in pain as Gajeel stood on his foot, causing him to stand up and turn on the Iron Dragon Slayer. What the hell was that for? You did that on purpose. Shut up. Stop interrupting Mira-chan's song, a random guild member shouted as he and his friend hurled a pair of mug at the two dragon slayers. Here we go, Naruto grinned. Okay, who threw that? Natsu yelled as he flipped over the table. Damn it, Natsu. Stop screwing around. Gray shouted as he stood up, accidentally knocking over Urza's cake that she was just about to eat. My strawberry cake. Urza muttered as his eyes darkened. Oh no, Naruto shivered. Naruto-kun, I recommend that we retreat immediately, Itachi spoke up. Too late, Naruto winced as Urza jumped to her feet, knocking down Elfman with one kick and jumping into the fray. It's just another day in Fairy Tail. I guess this is no time for ballad, huh? Mira Jane mused before in an instant she tore off the dress leaving her in a miniskirt and revealing top. Let's rock this house, then. This place hasn't changed a bit, Lucy commented as she took cover. But then, I guess that's what makes it Fairy Tail. Why couldn't they just bottled it up for one day? Makarov asked darkly. Tomorrow is the day the reporter comes to collect data on the guild. Reporter? Lucy turned sharply. Cut it out, you lowlifes. Clean this place up. Makarov shouted. Oi, Gramps. Natsu yelled back. Don't go all giant on US dash. Chapter 10, and so it begins. Earthland, Magnolia/Fairy Tail Guild. It really is noisy in here, Lucy commented as she leaned over the table. The others in the guild were as rowdy as ever and it didn't seem like it would end anytime soon. It can't be helped, Urza shrugged as she stood to the side wearing her new armor. This kind of fairy tale spirit isn't bad, is it? Heh, Urza has changed as well, Lucy smiled knowingly. Really? Urza asked with a raised eyebrow. Before it was, you better clean that up, or, how dare you? Get back to work, but now you're joining the party with us. Relaxing a bit once in a while is a teenage attitude too, you know, still it makes me wonder why you've changed, Lucy smirked. Or should I say who changed you? I don't know what you're talking about, Urza denied. Naruto is a nice guy, Lucy grinned and brought her hand to her chin in a thinking pose. I wonder if I should go out with him sometime. That is not going to happen, Urza said clearly. Oh? And why is that? Lucy's grin widened. Because, just quit it already, Urza stammered and turned away. Why won't you just admit that you like him? Lucy asked her. It's complicated, Urza replied. He lost his home, his friends and his master in a matter of days. Then he left to train to get strong enough to avenge them and then there was that whole mess with Jellal at the Tower of Heaven. He likes you, Lucy spoke clearly. He may not know it and he seems to be as dense as they come but it's clear that he would do anything for you. I know, Urza whispered in response. Oh. Titania Urza, a new unfamiliar male voice echoed from behind them. Oh my god, the real person, the real Urza is so cool. Is this the guy from the Weekly Sorcerer? He looks excited, Lucy commented with a sweat drop. You've come, Urza mused at the sight of the strange reporter. I'm sorry, the reporter, Jason bowed. Please excuse me. My name is Lucy, Lucy introduced with a dazzling smile. I'm Urza's friend. If it's alright, can I ask a few questions? Jason questioned Urza as they walked away, completely ignoring Lucy's presence. Go ahead, Urza sighed. What the hell? Lucy thought in shock. How many armors do you use to requip? Jason inquired. More than 100, Urza answered. Cool. Jason exclaimed. Which do you like most? The bunny suit, Urza replied as she requipped a pair of bunny ears and a white fluffy tail on a skin-tight suit. The bunny suit? Those ears are cute, cool. Jason squealed. What the hell is going on here? Urza froze at the sound of that very familiar voice. Huh? Jason uttered as he looked over his shoulder to see a young man, probably around 16 wearing a red trench coat with black flames on the bottom of it over a black and orange jumpsuit. He had blonde hair, blue and 6 whisker-like marks on his cheeks. "Oh, you're new. Is there a problem here, Urza?" Naruto asked the redhead, preferring to ask her instead of the reporter. "That outfit, bunny, damn, I need a cold shower after this." "No, everything is fine," Urza reassured as she re-equipped her armor back on. Is he your boyfriend?" Jason asked Urza. "And no, I mean Urza stammered out in surprise. "It's Gray. The real Gray over there," Jason yelled as she ran across the hall towards the ice wielder. "What the hell was that about?" Naruto blinked. "It's just an interview," Urza replied. "Nothing more." "Shouldn't we stop this?" Naruto asked as Natsu slugged the reporter across the face and another brawl broke out. "Let them be," Urza sighed and shook her head. "Everyone, look over here. I'm going to sing." Lucy called out, drawing everyone's attention to her. She was now dressed in a bunny suit of all things and was standing on the stage. "Damn," Naruto muttered only to receive a smack across the head by Urza. "Quit staring," the redhead hissed at him. "If you are going to stare, then stare at me when I wear that suit." "Sorry," Naruto apologized as the light cut off, darkening the room. "What the hell? Is Mirachan performing today?" Suddenly the curtains parted at the stage lit up to reveal a shocked and mortified Lucy standing next to a sitting Gajeel whom was wearing a white business suit and had a guitar in his hands. "You've got to be kidding me. There aren't many things that can entertain," Gajeel started to sing, though the music was a far cry from perfect. "I was a stray wolf, but now that I'm accepted by you guys, then I should get closer to you. Even though we were enemies before, now we're friends. This is a song I wrote called Best Friend, so listen up." "At least he's got some decent lyrics," Naruto commented. Colorful shubdoda, the melody of the blue metallic. Do-do-do shalayla, shubadoda shalayla. "What the fuck is this?" Naruto asked with wide eyes as she covered his ears. "I'm not sure if I should be sorry for him or for everyone listening to this." "I bite those honeys tightly." Gajeel stopped and turned to the still frozen Lucy. "Oi, be my dancer." "Dancer?" Lucy exclaimed. "Dance," Gajeel ordered. "Yes sir," Lucy said sharply and started to cry as she danced at his side. "Shalalalala," Gajeel continued. "Cool. The absurdity is resounding. It's the hit song of the year." Jason cheered as tears of joy started to fall from his eyes. "What is that guy smoking?" Naruto asked Urza, who waved away his concerns. "Shubadoda," Gajeel was still going. "What's a shubadoda?" Lucy asked him. "Someone stop this guy already." "Earthland, Magnolia/Central Park. Why did you guys call me here?" Gajeel asked, annoyed. "I've got a job to do." "Job? This coming from the guy who destroyed the guild?" Jet sneered at him. "You can go to any other guild to take missions. Have you no shame?" Droy added. "You guys can hold a grudge," Gajeel said, amused. "Can't just let bygones be bygones, huh?" "Jet, Droy, don't, I'm over that, really," Levi spoke from behind the tree behind them as she remembered the incident where Gajeel had attacked them and nailed them to the tree she was currently hiding behind. "This is our limit," Jet continued. "You're ruining our guild's reputation," Droy declared. "Humph," Gajeel smirked. "You won't act so casual for long." Jet yelled as he rushed forward in a burst of speed and threw out a punch. "Nakuru Puranto!" Droy exclaimed as he hurled several green seeds into the ground beside Gajeel. Dozens of vines in the shape of hands emerged from the soil and bombarded Gajeel's form as Jet disappeared in a burst of speed. Jet reappeared above him a moment later and landed a bone-shattering kick to his midsection, sending him crashing down to the ground. "Hey," Jet sneered. "What are you up to?" "That can't be it for your power," Droy added, confused. "You're being picked on?" "Huh?" A new voice spoke from behind them. "Laxus?" Droy asked in surprise as everyone turned towards the newcomer. "So, this guy is the punk that turned my guild into a mess," Laxus sneered as he approached. "And that old fart, he let you join for some lame reason? It's because of this that we're looked down upon, damn it." Rijingu Baruto, a bolt of yellow lightning shot down from the sky and struck where Gajeel was standing. "It's all your fault," he yelled as he unleashed another bolt of lightning at the Iron Dragon Slayer. Stop. Laxus," Jet shouted. "You're going too far." "It doesn't matter how strong Laxus is, he should be able to fight back," Droy said with wide eyes. "Could it be that Gajeel was, from the start? He wanted us to recognize him as a comrade," Levi spoke with a look of horror. "So he didn't fight back? It's all your fault that we're being made fun of," Laxus snarled as he kicked Gajeel away. "Why don't you just die? I'll kill anyone who goes against Fairy Tail." "That's enough, Laxus," Jet shouted again. "Shut up. Little weaklings should keep quiet," Laxus yelled back as he hurled a lightning bolt at them, or more specifically at Levi. Gajeel pushed himself to his feet and quickly moved in between Levi and the yellow lightning. His arm turned into an iron club and used it to shield her from the attack. Gajeel? Levi asked surprised. He protected Levi? Droy stammered in shock. You? Jet trailed off. I believe that's enough, a new voice spoke from the side, catching their attention. Itachi. Gajeel winced as the Uchiha approached. You've got work to do, Itachi told him as he passed. Get going. Fine, Gajeel conceded and started walking away. But dash, Levi stammered. Don't worry about me, Gajeel waved it off as he staggered away. You dare to interfere? I'll deal with you too, Laxus said with a glare. It's too late for that, Itachi responded. I have already trapped you in my genjutsu. Your what? Laxus questioned only to see Itachi burst into dozens of black crows. Your strength of body is impressive, however, your strength of will has much to be desired, Itachi spoke from all around him as he felt his consciousness leave him and he fell face first to the ground. What did you do to him? Jet asked, shocked that Laxus could be defeated so easily. He appears to have very little mental strength, Itachi replied. I merely took advantage of that. This guy, he's on a whole other level. I mean, I know we saw what he could do when he fought Naruto, but still, to defeat Laxus with one move, even the master would be hard-pressed to do such a thing, Droy thought. We should leave, Itachi spoke clearly. It won't be long before he overcomes my genjutsu and break, so we should withdraw before he regains consciousness. Yeah. Jet agreed. Are you sure we should just leave him like this? Levi asked worried. Itachi responded seemingly unconcerned as he started walking away. Come on Levi, Jet gestured for her to come out from behind the tree. Okay, Levi nodded and the three members of Team Shadow Gear followed the lone Uchiha away from the unconscious blonde mage. Later that night on the outskirts of Magnolia, 6 cloaked figures stood with their backs against the moonlight. All 6 had a series of black piercings covering their faces and each one had a different style of orange hair. Their cloaks bore a distinct red cloud design and their eyes were gray with black rings circling his pupils. It's time to begin. Chapter 11, Fairy War Part 1. Earthland, Magnolia/Fairy Tale Guild. Miss Fairy Tale Contest? Naruto asked confused. It's a beauty contest, Gray explained. I know that Lucy and Juvia have entered but I'm not sure who else has. We didn't have anything like this back in my old home, Naruto said as they stood in front of the stage. People of Magnolia Town. And people from nearby towns, a booming voice spoke as a Fairy Tale Guild member Naruto hadn't met stepped onto the stage. And those who especially came from the underworld, don't forget to go back to your graves when it's over. Okay? And for what you have all been waiting for. That fairy tale beauties will perform on this stage. Let the contest begin, the crowd cheered as he continued. The announcer will be me, the Sand Mage Maxalor. That guy, for him to take responsibly. Gray shook his head and turned to Natsu whom was currently eating. Hey, are you even listening? You don't think that Urza is in this thing, do you? Naruto asked. Probably, Gray winced. She'd never refuse a challenge, no matter what it is. May I introduce to you, our first contestant, Miss Kana Alberona. Max proclaimed and the crowd went wild as Kana stepped onto the stage. She threw out dozens of cards and they started to spiral around her, concealing her form from view. Wow! The cards are covering her body, suddenly the cards feel away revealing Kana, now dressed in a bikini with her fairy tale stamp on display on the side of her very slim stomach. She changed into a swimsuit. Damn, Naruto grunted as he clutched his now bleeding nose. Despite the fact that he proclaimed to hate perverts, there was no denying that with Kakashi and Jiraiya as his teachers, he didn't really have a chance. I need a cold shower after this, he thought as he watched her walk off stage. Second contest, the new S-Class member, the lovely, Miss Juvia. Max exclaimed as Juvia stepped out onto the stage and suddenly turned into water. Gray-sama, are you watching? Juvia smiled as her clothes changed into a swimsuit and water cascaded around her. Wow! Her performance also comes with a swimsuit. Max commented. You know, I think Juvia likes you, Naruto mused. Like you're one to talk, Gray shot back. Urza has been hanging around you more than she used to. What does Urza have to do with anything? Naruto blinked in confusion. This guy can't be that dense, can he? Gray thought in disbelief as Juvia walked off stage. And now here is the third contestant. Her beauty can make all the men in Earthland drunk, Mira Jane. Max declared as Mira appeared. Even Mira-chan is in this? Naruto asked in surprise. He'd heard that she was in that weekly sorcerer magazine as a cover girl but he'd never thought she'd enter a beauty contest like this, even if it was fairy tale. Her chakra is still different than a normal human's, Itachi thought as Mira took center stage. Her brother's is similar, however hers seems to be far denser. I am very skilled at transformation magic, Mira said, and her head transformed into Happy's. Just the face, Gajeel. True to her words, Happy's head suddenly turned into Gajeel's. That's just not right. Naruto shivered at the sight of Gajeel's face on a woman's body, especially Mirajane's. Now for our fourth contestant. Max continued. The strongest woman in Fairy Tail, Urza Scarlet. She really did enter, Naruto thought as Urza walked out in her regular armor. I'll let you witness that requip that I've reserved, Urza whispered and requipped a maid outfit. Heh, I won. Damn. Naruto trailed off as he watched her turn and walk off stage. Naruto, hey, Earthland to Naruto, hello? Gray called, but Naruto just stood there in a daze. We've lost him. Fifth contestant. The fairy, the cute and knowledgeable, Levi McGarden. Max exclaimed as Levi stepped onto the stage, and with her magic she created several large colored words in the air around her. It's Levi. Jet and Droy cheered for their teammate. Sixth contestant. The sexy cowgirl, Bisca Mulan. Max declared. Super cute, Alzak smiled. Seventh contestant. The super rookie, give it up for Lucy H. Max started only for Lucy to jump out at him and stop him. No. Don't say my last name. Lucy yelled at him. Name? Itachi inquired. Don't ask, Naruto sighed, remembering the war with Phantom Lord. If people know my dad is rich, I won't be able to get the money, Lucy thought as she waved at the crowd. Well, I'll dance with my stellar spirits. Number 8, a new voice spoke from behind her. Wait, I haven't even started yet. Lucy began as she turned and saw the newcomer. If you talk about the greatest fairy, then it's me, the woman spoke clearly. If you talk about beauty, then it's me, that's right, it's all me. The champion will definitely be me, Evergreen. It's boring, so we'll end this beauty contest here. Evergreen? Gray's eyes widened in shock. She came back? Elfman added, just as surprised. Who is she? Naruto asked as Itachi narrowed eyes at the woman. Quit playing around. This beauty contest concerns my living. Lucy yelled back at the woman. Lucy! Don't look into her eyes. Gray shouted quickly. What? Lucy asked, confused at his words. What did you say, little girl? Evergreen questioned as she lifted her glasses and the two made eye contact. A moment later, Lucy froze and turned to Stone. What is that? Stone? Is this a performance? This is terrible. Everyone! Run! Max shouted to the audience and they hurriedly ran out of the guild. What are you doing, Evergreen? Are you trying to ruin the festival? Makarov demanded. Doesn't a festival have a main show? Evergreen asked, amused as the curtains behind her were pulled up, revealing the previous 6 Miss Fairy Tail girls, turned to Stone. Urza? Naruto's eyes widened as the sight of the redhead. As she turned those in the waiting room to Stone? Max stammered as he fell back. Sis. Elfman called out to the petrified Mira. There must be a way to return them to normal, Itachi thought as he looked over at Mira. You fool. Turn them back to normal. Makarov ordered in anger. Oi, fairy tale idiots. There was a flash of thunder and Laxus suddenly stood on the stage with 2 other males at his side. The real festival begins now. Laxus? Makarov asked, surprised. Freed and Bixlo too, Gray gritted. The Reijinchu, Laxus bodyguards. Why don't we play a game, old man? Laxus sneered. Don't do something stupid, Makarov spoke clearly. We have to get ready for Fantasia, turn them back to normal now. Fantasia is late at night, Laxus responded knowingly. If we hurry, people might get to see it, he called forth a bolt of yellow lightning from above and sent it at Lucy. Stop it! Makarov roared. Senjutsu, Sanin Moto, Naruto whispered and disappeared, a burst of speed. He reappeared beside the other petrified girls with an unharmed Lucy in hand as the lightning bolt struck behind him. You know, I let a lot of bad stuff slide where I'm concerned, but the moment you dared to attack one of my friends was moment that you really pissed me off. He turned sharply with his Sharingan spinning wildly. He has the same eye as that freak from the other day, Laxus thought. You may have saved one of those girls, but can you save all of them? He sneered as he gestured towards the rest of the petrified girls. I'll destroy them all if you break my rules. Like I said, this is the main show. There are things that can't be taken as a joke, Laxus, Makarov spoke, obviously furious. Of course, I'm serious, Laxus chuckled in response. I can only make 5 sage clones and there are 7 hostages. A regular shadow clone isn't fast enough to dodge one of those lightning bolts, Naruto thought quickly. What now? It's just a game, to find out who. Freed began. Is the strongest mage in Fairy Tail, Bixlo finished. The rules are simple, Laxus bellowed. The last survivor wins. Fairy tale fight starts now. A second later a table was blown up into the air and fell to the side of the room, causing silence to reign. Isn't this great? This is way too easy to understand. I'm revved up, Natsu grinned as he pumped his fist into the air. Natsu, you're always up for a good time, aren't you? I kind of like that, Laxus smirked in amusement. Natsu. Makarov trailed off as the fire dragon slayer stepped up to his side. This is a festival, right, old man? Let's go. Natsu was about to launch himself at Laxus when Itachi placed a hand on his shoulder. Your strength of will is admirable, however in this type of situation the best way to defeat an enemy is to remove their advantage from the battlefield first, namely the hostages, Itachi told him. He's right, Makarov nodded as he looked over the 7 petrified girls. If you want to free these lovely ladies, you'll have to defeat us first, Evergreen explained. There are 4 of us, and about 100 of you, we're at a disadvantage, she laughed at her own words. The time limit is 3 hours, if you cannot defeat us before that time is up, then these girls will be reduced to sand. Thank you for informing me, Itachi bowed his head in acknowledgement and raised it back up to reveal his eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. Amaterasu, black flames exploded from his eyes and engulfed Evergreen, making her scream. Laxus saved her by turning his body into yellow lightning and quickly disappeared in a burst of speed along with Fried and Bixlow. He's fast, Naruto growled out. I can sense them, they're outside and they're splitting up. Probably heading for each corner of the town, Itachi added. He's gone? Hide and seek with the whole damn village to play in, damn that Laxus. Why, that absolute moron. I've got to save Nachon and the others. Elfman roared as he barged through the main door and ran out of the room with most of the guild following close behind. Damn those assholes. Capture Laxus. Hell, I'm gonna smash him to pieces. How dare he look down on us. Biska, I will save you, no matter what, Alzak promised and left with the rest. Damn him, I'll put him in his place. That damn brat. Makarov roared in outrage as he followed the crowd only to run right into an invisible wall. What are you playing at, old man? Gray asked him. What is this? I cannot go any further. There is an invisible wall, Makarov strained as he pushed against it. What's wrong with you, at a time like this? I'm not seeing any invisible wall, Gray responded as he tried to pull the old master through the doorway, even resorting to lifting him off the ground and trying to drag him through. There's a seal in the air above you, Itachi spoke up as a series of purple runes hung in the doorway above them. Is this Fried's enchantment? Makarov mused. Enchantment? Gray asked. A form of barrier, Makarov explained. It's a form of magic placed upon a location, designed to trap those who stray within its borders. It must be inscribed in these runes all around the building. Those who stray within the enchantment are placed under certain rules, and without following them, escape is impossible. Look, rule, those above the age of 80, and are stone statues, may not pass. What the hell is with this magic? It's like some kid saying, because I said so, and it actually works. Gray exclaimed. That is a very dangerous ability, Itachi mused. It takes time to inscribe an enchantment like this, as such, it is practically useless in ordinary combat, but incredibly effective as a trap, Makarov continued. So what, because of this magic, you won't be able to get out of here? Can't you just destroy it? I mean, come on. Gray gritted out. An enchantment's rules are absolute, Makarov responded. And this one encompasses both age and substance. Damn you Fried, when did you become this powerful? In other words, he never intended to let you take part in this from the start, Gray mused darkly and turned away. Well, I guess we'll just have to give it our best shot. Why is it affecting me? Natsu shouted angrily as he banged on the invisible wall. Me too, Naruto growled out as he punched it. I really hate barriers. Are you over 80, Natsu? Makarov asked incredulously. Of course not. Natsu yelled back as he continued to punch at the invisible wall. It must be affecting you because of the QB, Itachi mused as he looked over at Naruto. Damn it, Naruto gritted out and stepped back. Well then, if I can't go through it I'll just have to go around it. He bit his thumb and formed a series of hand seals. Kuchios no Jutsu, he slammed his hand down on the ground and Gamakichi appeared in an explosion of smoke. Jobro, Gamakichi griti. What's going on? Long story short, there's a civil war going on and I'm trapped inside a barrier that I can't get out of. Can you reverse summon me to Mayabokuzen and then back to Earthland? Anywhere in the town would do, Naruto asked. Sure, Gamakichi nodded. It's not like we haven't done it before. He disappeared a moment later in a poof of smoke. I'll see you guys on the outside, Naruto waved at them before he too disappeared in a poof of smoke. Itachi, Gray, Makarov spoke up. Go after Laxus and end this before it gets any worse. Right, Gray acknowledged. Itachi nodded and the two turned to leave. I'm not gonna show any mercy just because he's your grandson, Gray said clearly as they left. We're taking Laxus down. We should split up, Itachi suggested. We'll cover more ground faster. Yeah, Gray agreed and the two split apart, heading in opposite directions through the city. Earthland, Magnolia/Ocean. Gyakukuchiyose no jutsu. Gamakichi bellowed as Naruto appeared in an explosion of smoke. After returning to Myobokuzen, he had then used one of the water passages to travel to Earthland in order to reverse summon Naruto. The easiest water passage to access was the ocean behind the fairy tale guild itself, which was where Gamakichi had summoned the blonde sage. Thanks Gamakichi, Naruto nodded. Anytime bro, Gamakichi responded. So you finally arrived, a new voice spoke as a figure landed on the water in front of them. Who are you? Naruto questioned and then narrowed his eyes when he saw what she was wearing. It was a black cloak with red clouds emblazoned on it. Akatsuki? Laxus certainly played his role well. The newcomer was a girl with orange hair. She looked about 16 and had numerous black piercings on her face along with 2 gray eyes with circles around the pupils. Kuchiyos no jutsu, she whispered and slapped her hand down on the water. A moment late 5 different people, all with the same hair, piercings and eyes appeared at her side. 6 people with the same eyes, Naruto thought as he clenched his fists at his side. This is pain. Bro? Gamakichi asked. Head on back to Myobokuzen and tell Fukasaku-sensei and Shima Abakan that pain is here in Earthland. I might have to summon them for this, Naruto told him. Right, Gamakichi nodded and disappeared in a poof of smoke. Surrender the Kyuubi and I will make your death as painless as possible. Resist and I will take you by force, Pain demanded. You want the Kyuubi? Come and get it then, Naruto snarled as his uncovered Sharingan quickly shifted into its Mangekyo form. Chapter 12, Fairy War Part 2. Earthland, Magnolia/Ocean. Kuchiyos no jutsu, Naruto whispered as he slapped his hand down on the water and both Fukasaku and Shima appeared at his side a moment later. We heard from Gamakichi, Fukasaku spoke first as he turned his gaze on the 6 paths of pain. This isn't going to be easy, Naruto boy. I could do with some help here, Naruto responded. The chubby one can absorb chakra so ninjutsu is useless against him, Fukasaku informed. The girl is new so she must be the one that replaced the summoning one that Jiraiya boy killed back in AIM. Any ideas about the others? Naruto asked. No, Fukasaku replied. All other information about him that Konoha gathered was lost when the village was destroyed. Damn, Naruto gritted. Well then, it looks like I'd better take out that absorbing pain first. How? Shima asked him. Kamui, Naruto whispered as he concentrated solely on the Preta path. Space and time distorted mere inches from Preta's chest and the spiraling vortex quickly pulled him in. He has the Mangekyo Sharingan like Itachi and Senjutsu like Jiraiya-sensei. This will not be as easy as the other Jinchuriki, Pain thought as his Preta path was ripped apart. 1 down and 5 to go, Naruto thought as he formed a familiar hand seal. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, 5 shadow clones popped into existence at his side. Kuchiyos no Jutsu, the animal path whispered as she slapped her hand down on the water. A second later a giant rhino, a giant bull and a giant dog appeared in an explosion of smoke. They charged as one, running atop the water towards Naruto and his clones who were currently readying their next attack. It's ready. Go, the real Naruto shouted as 3 of his clones jumped at the approaching summoned creatures. Senpo, Udama Raisin Rengen, the 3 Naruto clones exclaimed as they slammed 3 separate chakra spheres the size of their own body down on top of the attacking animals. Clear, they yelled as their attacks knocked the creatures out of the way. Futon, Raisin Shuriken, the real Naruto called out as he hurled the chakra shuriken at the remaining 5 paths of pain. What is that jutsu? Pain thought as the chakra shuriken closed in. Shinra Tensei, Deva whispered and a moment later the chakra shuriken fell apart, scattering wind chakra around his form. He repelled it? Naruto's eyes widened at the sight. You are clearly outmatched, Pain declared. Senpo, Raisin Rengen, 2 of Naruto's clones dropped in from above and slammed twin chakra spheres down on both human and animal. What? Pain thought as his summoned creatures disappeared back to where they came. He created 5 clones, 3 of which engaged my summons and he used the other 2 to aid in forming that chakra shuriken he used. Once he formed it, he must have had those 2 clones jump up while I was forced to maintain my concentration on his jutsu. Only 3 left, Naruto thought as his clones lunged at the remaining paths from different directions. Shinra Tensei! Deva exclaimed and suddenly the shadow clones were blown away, destroying them. What the hell was that? That wasn't a shockwave, Naruto mused. Shirato, Azura spoke as it threw off its cloak, revealing a man with 4 arms, 3 faces and a blade-like tail. Its arms opened up and small missiles exploded out towards the blonde sage. Damn it, Naruto grunted as he jumped back. The missiles struck where he had just been standing and exploded, blowing him back while he was in midair. He landed back on the water's surface a moment later and looked over at his opponent only to find that Deva stood in front of Naruto. To the side of Naruto was a thing, with the Rinnegan and purple flames covering its bottom. What the hell is that? Jigakudo, Naruto spoke clearly as a fully healed human and animal paths emerged from the monster's mouth. How the hell did he resurrect those two? Naruto asked over his shoulder. I am unsure, Fukasaku answered. But Jiraiya boy killed 3 of them and Pain resurrected them later. So that thing must resurrect anyone who falls in battle, Naruto thought as he formed another hand seal. Why haven't you run out of sage chakra yet? Fukasaku inquired. Without Ma or I gathering it for you, you should have used up all of your own natural energy by now. I found a way to gather it myself, Naruto replied as he thought back to a very long discussion. Flashback no jutsu begin. So you can use natural energy? Makarov inquired. But power like that must come with serious risk. Yeah, Naruto nodded. I can control it, but I can only take in a certain amount, and when it's used up I have to remain still in order to gather more. I see. Makarov trailed off. That could be a problem should you face someone who is able to last long enough for you to expend all of your natural energy. We tried a jutsu to allow one of my toad summons to gather it for me, but the fox keeps interfering, Naruto grumbled. What about a lacrima? Makarov suggested. We could modify a lacrima to gather natural energy like we do for Eterian, though I admit it will have to be surgically implanted within you. You can do that? Naruto asked. Porla Yusuka can, yes, Makarov nodded. Alright then, let's do it, Naruto nodded. If you're sure, Makarov agreed. I'll talk to Levi and see if she can help modify a lacrima for your use. Flashback no jutsu end. Tajukage Bunshin no jutsu. Naruto called out as 1,000 clones popped into existence around them. An army will not save you here, Pain declared. We'll see about that, the clone army yelled back as they jumped at the 5 paths of Pain. Senpo, Cho Udama Rasen Terengan, they exclaimed as they descended on their opponents with huge spinning chakra spheres in hand. That is not good enough, Pain thought as Deva launched himself up at the attacking clones. Shinra Tensei, with one mighty blast of gravity, the clone army was hurled back with an echoing pulse followed by dozens of explosions as the chakra spheres lost containment. What? Deva's eyes widened when he saw a chakra shuriken emerge from the smoke and sailed right at him. Futon, Raisin Shuriken. Naruto called out as the chakra shuriken struck Deva dead center in the chest and expanded into a spinning sphere of wind and destruction, sending ripples across the water they stood on. Shirato, Azura muttered as he unleashed a beam of green light from his hand which had changed into what looked like a machine-like cannon. Kamui! Naruto exclaimed as space and time distorted in front of him, deflecting the blast as it closed in. Damn it, he thought as he felt Sage Mode leave him. So I was right, thought as the human path appeared behind him. If I create more than 5 clones then my lacrima can't gather Sage Chakra fast enough to maintain Sage Mode. It's over, Human spoke clearly and outstretched his hand to grab Naruto. Ning dash, he started only to freeze in place when a familiar melody reached his ears and the ears of the other paths. Majin, Gumahin. Fukasaku and Shima called out together as the remaining 4 paths of Pain found themselves in the familiar in a watery cube surrounded by 4 samurai toads. Now Naruto. Finish them. Naruto didn't have to be told twice and quickly withdrew 4 kunai from his weapon pouch before throwing them at the 4 motionless paths. The kunai struck each target in the neck and sliced right through, causing them to collapse and fall into the water that they had stood upon. We did it, Shima sighed in relief. Not yet, Naruto responded as he walked over and lifted the now headless human path out of the water. Senjutsu, Sanin Moto, he whispered as he felt Sage Mode return to him. He removed one of the piercings from Human's body and stabbed his hand with it. What are you doing? Fukasaku inquired. It was just for a moment, but I know what I felt, Naruto replied cryptically as he closed his eyes. There you are, he muttered before turning towards the east forest. Where are you going? Fukasaku asked as he saw the blonde turn and start walking. To confront the real Pain, Naruto answered. I just hope the others can handle Laxus and save the girls while I deal with this guy. Earthland, Magnolia/Cathedral. You're a difficult man to track down, Itachi spoke as he entered the cathedral. And you're a persistent guy, Laxus responded with his back towards the Uchiha. Unlike last time, I will not fall to your little eye tricks, he said as he turned while making sure to keep his gaze at Itachi's feet instead of his face. Itachi grunted. Both Bixlo and Evergreen have very dangerous eyes. I know how to fight someone without looking at their eyes, Laxus continued. So it would seem, Itachi nodded as his eyes shifted into their eternal Mangekyo Sharingan form. Amaterasu, he whispered as black flames erupted from his eyes and shot at the blonde man in front of him. He's fast but I'm faster, Laxus thought as he encased his body in yellow lightning and evaded the black flames. He disappeared in a burst of speed and reappeared above Itachi. Rijingu Baruto, he exclaimed as he sent a yellow bolt of lightning at the Uchiha. Susanoo, Itachi grunted as he read spiritual bones formed around him. That level of skill will not be enough to defeat me, he spoke clearly as the lightning struck. So that is his true form, Laxus thought angrily and then snapped his head to the side when he felt something that he thought would never happen. Evergreen has been defeated? Then the hostages are now free. Has something happened? Itachi inquired. The hostages have been released, Laxus gritted out with anger lacing his words. No matter, I will just have to up the stakes of this little game of ours. Stakes? Itachi questioned further. I will use Kaminari Den and destroy Magnolia Town, Laxus declared. I cannot allow that, Itachi responded. Then let's continue, Laxus smirked as his body exploded in yellow electricity. Rai no Mitsurima. He is a dragon slayer? Itachi thought in surprise. This will not be easy. This is your end, Laxus sneered as he disappeared in a burst of speed and reappeared right in front of Itachi. Raryu no Hoken. Enten, Koken no Tate, Itachi spoke clearly as black flames wrapped around the spirit bones forcing Laxus to back away. You are even able to manipulate those flames of yours that much, Laxus mused at the sight. I could never do that before, Itachi thought as he examined the black flames he had created. Is this the power of the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan? Just then the door to the cathedral opened allowing a single cloaked figure to enter. Reinforcements? So you're here, Laxus smirked at the newcomer. Mystigan, I never dreamed you'd actually decide to take part in my little game. Deactivate the Kaminari Den immediately, and you may still be able to pass this off as a mere addition to the festivities, Mystigan spoke clearly. This is my lucky day, Laxus chuckled. I'm sure you know, right? The rumors are flying left and right about who is the strongest mage in fairy tale. Me, or you? I have little interest in such things, Mystigan responded. But I would propose Gildarts. Meh, he's no use, he isn't coming back, Laxus shrugged. Urza's showing a lot of promise and all, but she's still weak. Urza? Weak? You must be as good as blind or perhaps your current opponent has injured your head, Mystigan almost quipped. Look, I'm giving you a compliment here, Mystigan, Laxus smirked though there seemed to be a flash of anger when Itachi was mentioned. Right now, the strongest member of Fairy Tail is one of us too. I would have to disagree, Itachi cut in. You and I are evenly matched and even though I have gotten stronger, I know that I am no match for Naruto Uzumaki as he is now. Besides the master, Naruto is the strongest mage in Fairy Tail. So I have heard, Mystigan nodded. I believe he is currently in battle against 5 men and 1 woman with strange eyes. Pain, Laxus sneered. He came to me and offered to take care of that brat. Leader Sama is fighting Naruto-kun right now? Itachi questioned in surprise. How could Leader Sama have even gotten to this world? The battle is already over, Mystigan replied. Uzumaki defeated all 6 of his opponents and left to confront what I believe to be a 7th. It doesn't matter, Laxus shrugged. Let's settle this once and for all with the title of strongest at stake. Mystigan, or should I call you Jellal? Jellal? Itachi thought in surprise. Just then both Laxus and Mystigan hurled shockwaves at each other as Itachi jumped into the air. The windows shattered and the floor cracked as the entire cathedral shook from the clash. Itachi landed a moment later and kept glancing from Laxus to Mystigan as more the spiritual bones around him continued to form until it took the shape of a red humanoid skeleton. Where did you learn that? Mystigan inquired. Good question, Laxus grinned. Maybe I'll tell you if you beat me? You will regret this, Laxus, Mystigan spoke clearly as he held up his staff. You are about to witness a form of magic never seen before. Bring it, Laxus dared. I'll show you just where you stand. Laxus, two voice called out as the doors to the cathedral swung open allowing Urza and Natsu to enter. Urza, Natsu, Itachi nodded. Who is this guy? Natsu asked as he looked over a Mystigan. Mystigan? Urza asked. You're wide open, Laxus smirked as he threw out another bolt of yellow lightning. Rijingu Baruto, the attack struck Mystigan in the chest and sent him crashing into the wall beside the door. When the smoke cleared, Mystigan's mask was torn to shred revealing his blue hair and very familiar face. Jellal? Urza froze at the sight. You? Natsu said angrily. You're alive? Urza trailed off. Oh? A familiar face? Laxus asked mockingly. What's going on here? Are you saying that Mystigan is Jellal? Natsu demanded. It would appear so, Itachi replied. Urza, I wanted you, at least, not to see this face, Mystigan sighed. What? Urza asked confused. I am not Jellal, Mystigan told her. I know him, but he is not me, he turned away. I'm sorry, I leave the rest to you. Hey! Natsu called out, but it was too late, Mystigan was already gone. You stupid idiot. Fine, I'll deal with you later. Laxus, it's you I'm here for. Urza, I'll handle this guy, alright. When she didn't answer he spoke again. Urza. Raryu no Hoko. Laxus bellowed as blast of yellow lightning exploded from his mouth right at Urza. Your opponent is me, Itachi spoke clearly as he quickly moved in the way and Susanoo completely formed around him. He brought down the Yata no Kagami to deflect the blast and readied the flaming Totsuka no Tsurugi for his counterattack. You're an annoying pest, Laxus sneered at him. That was Dragon Slayer magic. Natsu thought in shock. Just what are those things in the sky, Laxus? Urza questioned. The Kaminari Den, I dare say that you've heard of it? Laxus smirked. You're not planning to destroy the town? Urza questioned further. Ha 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 ha, it's a new rule, it hurts to have to use it. But, Laxus shrugged. You swine. Urza yelled as she quickly closed the distance between them and landed a kick to his chest, knocking him back several feet. 2 minutes to go, Laxus declared. Natsu. You have to destroy them. Urza shouted to the Fire Dragon Slayer. We can't destroy them, Natsu gritted back. Well, I mean, if we destroy them, then we get taken out with them. That is a problem, Itachi mused. Sidai Rinkumeho? Urza asked in surprise. That's right, Laxus replied with a wide smile. Nobody can lay a finger on those lacrima. You cowardly. Urza trailed off angrily. Fine, she turned and started walking back towards the main doors. Where are you going? Natsu asked her. Don't tell me you're going to try and stop the Kaminari Den? Ha 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 ha. Useless. Just destroying a single lacrima could cost you your life. There are 300 individual lacrima floating in the sky up there. And you're out of time. Laxus laughed. I'll destroy them all at once, Urza declared with absolute confidence. Impossible. Laxus bellowed. And even if you did manage, you'd die for sure. But the town will be saved, Urza responded, surprising Laxus. Itachi, Natsu, I'll leave Laxus to you too. Why you? Are you trying to destroy the rules of the game? Laxus demanded. I can trust you too, right, Urza? Natsu asked. And I don't mean on whether it's impossible or not. I mean you'll come out of this alive. Naruto and everyone else saved my life. I have no intention of wasting it, Urza thought as she ran out of the tower and towards the center of town. That girl is something else, Itachi thought as she disappeared from sight. Damn it, Laxus snarled as he lunged forward. Karyu no Hoko. Natsu bellowed as a large blast of fire exploded from his mouth. I am going to defeat you, here and now. Chapter 13, Fairy War Part 3. Earthland, Magnolia/Cathedral. Natsu, prepare yourself, Itachi said as his spirit thunder god raised thrust forward with the Totsuka no Tsurugi. You little pests, Laxus sneered as he evaded the flaming sword. This man is a dragon slayer, like you, Itachi said to Natsu. A dragon slayer? Natsu asked in surprise. Since when? It surprised me too, Itachi nodded. A dragon slayer, huh? A new voice spoke from behind them. Not like I care or anything, but he's still an enemy of the guild. Urza is rounding up everyone else to deal with Kaminari Den, so that leaves this guy. Gajeel? Natsu blinked in surprise. You're protecting the guild? Destroying it, protecting it, it's my choice, Gajeel responded. I thought there wasn't room for 2 dragons in the sky, Natsu grinned. Maybe not, Gajeel smirked back. But with all this damn thunder around, the sky isn't fit for flying. This is a one-time thing, alright? Damn right it is, Natsu nodded. I'm going to settle things with you one of these days. Settle your differences later, Itachi said to his new partners. For now we have an enemy to take down. Raryu Hotenjiki. Laxus exclaimed as he formed a spear of yellow lightning in his hands and hurled it right at Itachi. That is not enough, Itachi spoke clearly as the lightning spear struck the Yata no Kagami and exploded with a maelstrom of power. Unlike my predecessor, Madara Uchiha, my Susanoo has both the Yata no Kagami, which is said to be almost impenetrable, and the Totsuka no Tsurugi, which can seal anything it touches into the jar held by Susanoo's third arm. Couple these with the other abilities of my eternal Mangekyo Sharingan and I am said to be invincible. Is that a boast? That doesn't sound like you, Laxus sneered. I am merely pointing out that unless you have a spell that can penetrate my defenses, you cannot defeat me, Itachi explained. I know just the thing. Laxus smirked at that and his muscles seemed to enlarge as yellow lightning exploded from his form. Doragon Fosu. Natsu, Gajeel, now is the time, Itachi spoke clearly as both Susanu's shield and sword disappeared. Gari no Achika. Natsu exclaimed as he breathed a large blast of fire at Laxus. Tetsuryu no Hoko. Gajeel called out at the same time as he expelled a tornado of wind and metal. Yasaka Magatama, Itachi whispered as his Susanu threw several linked tomo. The three attacks merged into one and struck Laxus in the chest, exploding upon contact with thunderous force and shaking the whole cathedral. Did we get him? Natsu asked. However, this was soon followed by a wave of sheer power. What is this insane magic power? Gajeel stammered. This feeling, it's the old man's. Natsu answered with wide eyes. What is this? Itachi inquired. Master Makarov's ultimate spell of judgment, Natsu replied. Targeting everyone the user identifies as an enemy. Issei Noritsu. Laxus roared as light gathered in his hands. Issei Noritsu? The attack that defeated Master Jose in a single blow? Gajeel shivered at the memory of that spell. Stop, Laxus. Natsu yelled. That shouldn't be allowed. An attack that targets everyone the user recognizes as an enemy, Gajeel said shakily. Amaterasu, Itachi whispered and sent a wave of black flames at the lightning dragon slayer before him. If that spell is anything like the one that was used at the Tower of Heaven, then I cannot allow him to use it. Not good enough. Laxus roared as the light extinguished the inextinguishable black flames. Stop, Laxus, a new female voice called out from the door. Levi? Natsu shouted in surprise. You fool, Gajeel growled. What are you doing here? The master is, your own grandfather, is on death's door. Levi shouted at the top of her lungs. So please, just stop this. Just go and see him. On death's door? Natsu muttered in shock. The old man is gonna die? Laxus. Levi shouted again. Well, that just suits me great, Laxus sneered. Looks like my chances of becoming master just went up again. Why you? Gajeel growled in disgust. Die fairy tale. Laxus roared. I'll build you up from scratch. A guild that'll make everyone tremble in fear. I'll make the ultimate guild. Not today, Itachi spoke clearly as his Susanoo pierced Laxus with the Tatsuka no Tsurugi. When did you dash? Laxus gasped as the light of fairy law dissipated. You talk too much, Itachi replied. I won't seal you inside the jar, however I will seal your power until such a time as you are ready to wield it again. Why you can't do this to me? Laxus shouted as the flame sword in his chest pulsed and he felt his power leave him. We rise, you fall, Itachi declared. Karyu no Tekken. Natsu roared as he shot forward and slammed his flame-covered fist into the side of Laxus' face. And stay down. It's finally over, Itachi let out a small sigh as he felt Susanoo disperse around him. It looks like Urza and the rest of Fairy Tail have stopped Kaminari Den too, Gajeel spoke up as he gestured over to the hologram displaying the status of the Lacrima. I knew Urza wouldn't let us down, Natsu grinned. Now all that remains is Naruto-kun and Leader Sama, Itachi mused as he turned away. Earthland, Magnolia/outskirts. This must be it, Naruto thought as he approached a tall tree made out of paper. Rasengan, he exclaimed as he slammed a spinning chakra sphere into its side, blowing open a hole large enough for him to step through. Where are you? So, peace has arrived, huh? Spoke a male voice from the shadows. It took only a moment for his eyes to adjust to the darkness, but upon closer inspection he saw that it was a man with red hair sitting in a white walking machine and he didn't look at all healthy. Judging by his eyes he had the Rinnegan and at his side was a woman with blue hair and an origami flower pinning her hair together. Are you the real one? Naruto asked plainly. Move aside, Conan, the redhead spoke and the woman moved out of the way. Do you hate me? Now that you see me before you, you want your revenge, don't you? The redhead asked the blonde Jinchuriki. If you kill Nagato and get your revenge, that won't change anything. It'll only make you feel better, Conan said clearly. You're right, Naruto nodded. But I didn't come here to talk to you, I came here to end this once and for all. Then let's finish this. Nagato narrowed his eyes and a black chakra rod shot out of his chair. The chakra rod hit Naruto right in the stomach, forcing him to grunt in pain and clutch the wound. At this range I can easily control you with my chakra, don't worry, it's not fatal. As a Jinchuriki, you're very important to me after all. You know, you're seriously starting to piss me off. Naruto roared as the Kyuubi's sinister red chakra exploded from his form. He let me hit him, on purpose? Nagato's eyes widened as the Kyuubi's chakra condensed until Naruto stood before him with 6 swishing tails, red chakra skin and a white bone-like wrapped around him. Nagato, Konan gasped as she jumped between the two of them. I also came here to find out how I would feel when I finally saw you in front of me, Naruto snarled out. He still has control, Nagato thought. And? I really want to kill you, Naruto growled and lunged forward. Get out of the way, Konan. Nagato yelled, but it was already too late. Naruto merely batted Konan aside with a back fist across the face. Damn it, he gritted out as Naruto lunged at him directly. Come here. Naruto roared as he landed on Nagato's chair and expelled blue and red spheres of chakra from his body. Oh no, Nagato's eyes widened as he saw Naruto start gathering the blue and red chakra spheres into a pitch-black chakra sphere at his mouth. Konan! Run, yelled the god of rain as he brought his hands up into a seal. I'm a dash, Naruto started. Bansho Tenin! Nagato exclaimed as he slammed a nearby boulder into the side of Naruto's chakra-covered face. The world was consumed in light a moment later. Earthland, Magnolia/Fairy Tale. It looks like thanks to poor Yusuke-san his life is no longer in danger, Urza declared to the room. Don't worry, the master is going to be just fine. Thank goodness, a bandaged Lucy smiled. I was really worried for a while there. Heh, the old man's not gonna go out that easy, an equally bandaged Gray smirked. Still, his years are showing, if he's put under too much stress, his condition could worsen again. I'd like everyone to keep that in mind, Urza told them. I wonder how Naruto-kun is doing right now, Itachi thought. He knew that the blonde Jinchuriki could take care of himself, and according to Mystigan he had even defeated the 6 paths of pain before heading out to confront what seemed to be a 7th. Are you alright? Mira Jane asked. Itachi grunted with a slight nod. Were you hurt? Mira inquired. What am I saying? Of course he was hurt, he was fighting Laxus. It is nothing a little rest will not cure, Itachi replied in his usual tone. I wanted to thank you for what you did, Mira said with a smile. Urza-san is the one who defeated Evergreen-san and freed you when you were turned to stone. I did nothing, Itachi stated clearly. You beat Laxus, Mira countered. Natsu and Gajeel may have helped, but it was you that stopped Laxus from destroying all Magnolia. Perhaps, Itachi mused, only for everyone to stop when they felt the ground rumble. What was that? Natsu asked. Naruto, Itachi answered. I thought he'd returned by now, Urza said as she turned to the Uchiha. I didn't see him anywhere near Laxus or his team, so what's going on? Naruto-kun is currently in battle against my former employer, Itachi replied. Pain, the leader of the organization of S-class criminals known as the Akatsuki and the man who single-handedly destroyed Naruto-kun's home village in a single day. What? He's fighting that monster now? Urza yelled. Why didn't you say anything? Because in a fight like that, Itachi answered honestly. We'd only be in the way. I'm going after him, Urza declared and headed towards the main doors. Earthland, Magnolia/Outskirts. The power of the Kyuubi, magnificent. Nagato thought as he shakily stood on his badly crippled legs. Nagato. Konan shouted from the edge of the newly formed crater. Stay back, Konan. Nagato yelled back as the dust cleared to reveal Naruto in 6-tailed form once more. You have one fucked up notion of foul play, pal, Naruto growled at him. And it's pissing me off. Bansho Tenin, Nagato held up his hand and chakra pulsed from it. Naruto suddenly found himself being pulled towards Nagato as the Akatsuki leader hurled a large boulder at the chakra fox once again. What the fuck is with your jutsu? Naruto yelled as he stuck his tails into the ground and halted his fall towards the Rinnegan wielder. As the boulder came crashing down, he created a chakra arm from his chest and literally threw himself out of its way, letting it crash harmlessly to the ground where he had stood moments ago. Kuchios no jutsu! Nagato exclaimed as he slammed his hand down on the ground, and in an explosion of smoke a large bird appeared. Crap, Naruto thought as Nagato took to the sky atop the bird's head. Come down here and fight like a monster, you crippled bastard, he yelled as he belched out bolts of fast-moving chakra at his now airborne opponent. They bounced harmlessly off of what seemed to be a bubble around the bird, forcing him to fire off a beam of red chakra at the bird. Hold still, you overgrown rooster, he thought as the bird dived and evaded the compressed red chakra beam. His control over the Kyuubi is impressive, Nagato thought. This will not be easy. Come on, come on, come on, Naruto thought as he started charging red and blue chakra spheres into a black ball at his mouth. Imari, he exclaimed as the black chakra sphere exploded right at the evading bird. Shinra Tensei. Nagato called out as the chakra sphere slammed into the side of his bird and exploded forward, washing over him. Nagato. Konan thought as she stared at the destruction around her. I need to end this now, Nagato thought as he dropped down in front of the chakra fox. I've got you now. Naruto yelled as he lunged forward with a spinning red chakra sphere in hand. Yokorasengan! Gakido, Fujitsu Kyuin, Nagato grunted as the spinning chakra sphere slammed into his chest. A second later the Kyuubi's chakra seemed to slide off from Naruto and was pulled into Nagato, seemingly rejuvenating him, and a moment later he appeared completely healthy. He's absorbing the Kyuubi's chakra? Naruto thought in surprise as he jumped away, putting some distance between himself and the now no longer crippled Nagato. Bansho Tenin, Nagato's hand pulsed again and Naruto found himself pulled towards Nagato once more. Damn it, Naruto grunted as Nagato grabbed him with his hand covered in blue chakra. Ninjendo, Nagato spoke clearly as he pulled his hand back with a white-blue ethereal something connected to it. I don't know what the hell he is trying to do, but it can't be good, Naruto thought as his Mangekyo Sharingan spun wildly. Kamui, he whispered as space and time distorted where Nagato's outstretched hand was forcing him to break their connection and jump back, away from the blonde. You can use all of your puppets jutsu? This isn't a fight between ninja, Konan thought as she watched on. This is a fight between gods and demons. Surrender, Nagato spoke clearly. Your death will lead to peace. Peace? Naruto asked incredulously. You kill my sensei, destroy my village and slaughter my friends, and you have the nerve to speak about peace to me? What the fuck is wrong with you? You cannot possibly understand my pain, Nagato said clearly. I don't want to either, Naruto shot back. Shirado! Nagato exclaimed as his arm seemed to detach, revealing what Naruto had come to recognize as a small cannon. Green chakra started charging in its tube as he took aim and then fired one sustained beam right at him. Oh shit, Naruto cursed as his Mangekyo Sharingan spun wildly. Kamui, he called out as space and time distorted in front of him, drawing the blast in. Now I know why Itachi said he could never beat pain, this guy is a fucking monster. Chibaku Tensei, Nagato whispered as he brought his hands into a triangle seal and a ball of compressed gravity formed in the center. No Nagato. You can't use that jutsu with the amount of chakra you have left. Konan shouted from the sidelines. This is the Kyuubi we're dealing with, Konan. I can't afford to hold back. Nagato yelled back as he cast the gravity ball into the sky. This guy is using the same jutsu as his puppets, but he has the strength and speed to back it up. It's like fighting Itachi, Urza and Natsu at the same time, Naruto thought as the gravity sphere suddenly shone down light onto the battlefield. Oh shit, he added as he was lifted off of the ground along with most of the mountainside. How the hell do you beat something like this? This is your end, Nagato declared. Think damn it, that chakra ball he threw up into the sky must be what's causing all of this, Naruto thought as he saw the piles of rock that had been lifted up were smashing into the chakra sphere and forming some kind of moon from it looked like. If that's true, then all I have to do is get rid of that chakra ball. He stared up at the new moon and focused with all his might. Senpo, Kamui, he whispered as time and space distorted in the center of the new moon and sucked it in. He destroyed Chibaku Tensei? Nagato thought in surprise as debris fell all around him. Damn it, I used up my sage chakra on that last jutsu, Naruto gritted his teeth as he fell and landed on his feet. Now what? You? Nagato trailed off. You have become a sage like Jiraiya-sensei. Jiraiya-sensei? Naruto snarled in anger. What the fuck are you talking about? Like you, I also studied by Jiraiya-sensei, Nagato replied. He desired peace and entrusted that peace to me. I intend to merge the Biju together and create a weapon so powerful it will cause pain and fear in order to prevent future shinobi wars. Pain? Fear? Like hell I'm gonna allow that. Naruto yelled back. You were his student, he trusted you, and you betrayed him. I will establish peace and order, Nagato declared. Any peace you create will bring nothing but suffering, Naruto responded with a glare. I'll stop you. Your fate is to be the sacrifice in order for me to establish peace, Nagato spoke clearly. You know, you really need to stop underestimating me, Naruto gritted out as the debris around them burst into smoke. Take him down. When did he dash? Nagato thought as 1,000 shadow clones descended upon him from all sides. He must have done it right before he destroyed Chibaku Tensei and used the falling debris as cover. He took a deep breath and raised his hands. Shinra Tensei, with one mighty push he blasted the clone army away. It's over, he declared. Not yet, it's not. Naruto called out from above with a familiar spinning chakra sphere in hand. What? Nagato thought as he snapped his gaze skyward. It's too late for that jutsu. You haven't a ghost of a chance now. Rasengan. Naruto exclaimed as he thrust down as he descended towards his opponent. Gakido, Fujitsu Kyuin, Nagato spoke quickly as he absorbed the jutsu just as it connected. It's over, he said again as he grabbed Naruto and restrained him. Gakido, Fujitsu Kyuin. He is absorbing my chakra, Naruto thought as he felt the last of his chakra being drained from him. The Kyuubi no Yoko has been captured, Nagato declared. Senjutsu, Sanin Moto, Naruto whispered as he remained perfectly still and slipped some natural energy into the rapidly his depleting chakra reserves. What is this? Nagato thought as he felt the unfamiliar energy enter his body and tried to alter him from the inside. Sage chakra is hard to control, don't you think? Naruto winced with a grin as Nagato pushed him away, causing the blonde to fall face first to the ground. What did you do to me? Nagato rasped as he glared down at the exhausted blonde Jinchuriki. I just mixed in some natural energy required for Sage mode into the chakra you took from me, Naruto replied as he pushed himself back to his feet. Though I had thought it would turn you into a stone toad, but I think that Rinnegan of yours is trying to even it out with the rest of your chakra so you don't transform. You? Nagato glared as Naruto held out his hand and started forming another spinning chakra sphere. It's too late for that jutsu, I'll just blow it away like everything. Give up. Shinra Tensei, his chakra pulsed, but unlike before nothing happened. With that natural energy in your system, your chakra control must be screwed, Naruto grinned as he lunged forward. Why don't you give up trying to make me give up? Rasengan, he exclaimed as he slammed the chakra ball into Nagato's unshielded gut. Impossible, Nagato thought as he was blown back and sent crashing into the side of a nearby cliff. Nagato. Konan shouted as she dropped down where her friend and partner had crashed. And stay down, Naruto breathed. Naruto, yelled the voice of a familiar red-headed girl as she landed a few away atop a chunk of debris. What happened here? Natsu asked as he and the rest of Fairy Tail arrived at the edge of the crater. Are you alright? Urza asked as she rushed over to the blonde Jinchuriki as he swayed on his feet. I've been better, Naruto admitted with a wince. Damn. Nagato gritted out as Konan threw his arm over her shoulder and pulled him to his feet. It would seem your allies have arrived, what will you do now? Will you kill me and take your revenge? The shinobi world is ruled by hatred and my plan is the only one that has any chance of succeeding. I'm not going to kill you, Naruto sighed as he fell to the side only for Urza to catch him before he could hit the ground. The shinobi world may be ruled by hatred but I don't care, that has nothing to do with my life. Konoha is gone and so is any attachment I have with that world. I am no longer a ninja of Konoha, I am a mage of Fairy Tail. And Fairy Tail mages don't kill people, we just beat them until they can't fucking move. The moment the words left his lips the gathered Fairy Tail mages around them cheered. We're letting them go? Urza asked him. Ero Sennin wouldn't want me to kill one of his students, Naruto replied with a smile. Let's go home and prepare for Fantasia. You're leaving? Nagato asked. Just like that? You gave up on everything Ero Sennin stood for, Naruto replied without looking back. Just because you've given up doesn't mean I have. You? Nagato trailed off. There is no peace. And there never will be as long as we continue to live in these accursed worlds. Then I will break that curse, Naruto declared as he stood and half-turned back towards the Rinnegan wielder. If there is such a thing as peace then I will find it, the shinobi world is doomed to destroy itself but this world doesn't seem to be much different. I'll find a way to create true peace, because as long as humanity exists there will always be fighting. A little fight now and then is good and all but too much of it can consume you. No. That can't be. Nagato stared as his eyes widened. Nagato? What is it? Konan asked him. Those words, Nagato rasped out. Yeah, Naruto nodded. They're lines from Ero Sennin's first book, the book he wanted to change the world, the book that he based off of you, Nagato. It can't be, Nagato denied. It must be coincidence. If I've learned anything from joining Fairy Tail, Naruto grinned and turned away again. It's that there is no such thing as coincidence, he nodded to Urza and they resumed walking. Because the name of the main character of that book is, Naruto. That boy, Nagato thought as he watched the mages of Fairy Tail laugh and joke as they headed back towards their guild. I wonder, could he be the child of prophecy that Jiraiya-sensei spoke of? Could Jiraiya-sensei have been mistaken when he selected me? Was all of this mere coincidence or, is this the plan, of a real god? Nagato? Konan asked worried. Konan, I'm sorry, Nagato sighed. We're leaving too, there's nothing for us left here, let's collect my paths and then leave this place. What about the boy? Konan inquired curious. Has that boy really changed Nagato this much? Leave him, Nagato responded as a small smile crossed his lips. My peace will never come now, but perhaps, his will. Earthland, Magnolia/Marketplace. The Fantasia parade began at 9 o'clock with the appearance of a statue Happy sitting atop a fish-styled float with 2 bunny-styled floats following close behind. Dancers ringed around them as a dressed-up Droy, Jet, Max and Alzak soon followed on a fruit-styled float. After that was a heart-styled float with Biska, Lucy and Levi wearing short dresses and waving fans around cheerleader style. Following close behind was Elfman in full beast mode walking down and waving to everyone he passed, happy that he finally had complete control over his form. Next was Gray and Juvia dressed as a blue king and queen with an ice castle they had created standing right behind them on their own float. After that was Urza dressed in something she called her demonstration armor, which was basically a white and red dress with knight markings on it, a white breastplate, white and yellow gauntlets and allowed her to be capable to spin various swords around her in a circle. Naruto stood right behind her with his arms around her waist while 4 of his clones stood at each corner of the platform with those familiar chakra spheres in their hands being held up to the sky. Next was Master Makarov's float where he stood atop what seemed to be a large red hat wearing green pants, a yellow shirt with purple sleeves, a pink tie, red gloves, a long yellow tail and a red hat with pointy yellow ears. He was dancing around with a grin on his face as Itachi followed his float close behind with the ethereal form of Susanoo overshadowing him and Mira riding on its shoulder wearing a long white dress. Finally Natsu was at the rear of the parade with crimson flames flickering behind him as he walked with Happy sitting the small green creatures that were pulling the mobile torches. Natsu turned his head up to the sky and lobbed a few fireballs into the darkness, letting them explode like fireworks. It's Fantasia. Awesome parade. It's the girls from the Miss Fairy Tale contest. So cute. They're fairies all right? And what's that? It's a castle of ice. There's water gushing all around it. Over there. It's Titania. Check out those swords. Marry me. Is that guy with her, the one everyone's talking about? You know, the maelstrom of fairy tale? Yeah, I think it is. Look at him with his arms around Titania, that lucky bastard. I would have thought she'd have stabbed him by now. Clearly not. It's the master. The master is here. What kind of getup is that? It does suit him. Come on, stop making a fool of yourself already. Hey, is that guy the Dark Knight you were talking about yesterday? You know the one inside that giant magic knight thing? Yeah, it is. And look! Mirajaneheim is riding on it. He's so handsome and he's so mysterious. Mirajaneheim is as beautiful as ever. Makarov stopped dancing and with a serious and triumphant look he put his hand up towards the sky, pointed one finger up and his thumb to the side before twisting his arm round so the back of his hand was visible. A second later the other mages of Fairy Tale did exactly the same with smirks, grins and wide smiles as fireworks went off above the town. Fairy Tale wasn't just a guild, it was a way of life, of freedom and family. It didn't matter who you were or what you were, everyone in Fairy Tale was family and in this world there was nothing more important than family. As the parade came to a close, Naruto couldn't help but grin as Urza slid back into his chest and smiled over her shoulder at him. Today wasn't so bad after all. Chapter 14, Daybreak. Earthland, Magnolia/Fairy Tale. A week passed and everything had gone back to normal, or as normal as it could get where Fairy Tale was concerned. Nagato and Konan had disappeared after their defeat and hadn't been heard from since. Itachi suggested that they may have returned to the shinobi world, however Naruto really didn't know what to think about them anymore. Laxus had been excommunicated from Fairy Tale by his grandfather, Master Makarov, and had left during the Fantasia parade. Naturally this caused some problems. Makarov himself had tried to take responsibility for Laxus' actions by stepping down as Master of Fairy Tale despite everyone trying to convince him not to do it. In the end, it was a single comment from Fried that made Makarov give up on the idea. Then there was Urza? Mystigan. Urza muttered under her breath as she sat at the table alone in the corner. Do you mind some company? Naruto asked as he approached. Have a seat, Urza nodded towards the chair opposite her. I heard from Itachi that Jellal appeared in the fight against Laxus, Naruto said as he pulled out the chair and sat down at the table. The master doesn't really know anything about him, Urza uttered. He's been going by the name Mystigan while he was here. Maybe he was keeping an eye on you? Naruto suggested. I mean it's not like he hasn't done it before when he infiltrated the council. I know that, Urza acknowledged. But this was different from what happened with the council. This Jellal didn't seem insane or suspicious. In fact he seemed almost sympathetic. Anyway, I heard the results, Naruto spoke up changing the subject. Results? Urza blinked in confusion. The beauty contest, Naruto replied. Oh, Urza said catching on. The Miss Fairy Tale contest, she sighed and smirked. Naturally I won. You did, Naruto nodded with a grin. Not to mention you looked as hot as sin in that maid outfit. He shook himself at that thought. Damn you Ero-sennin, you've corrupted me. Then there was Fantasia. Urza sighed and then stared right into Naruto's only visible eye. I know it was my idea, but did you have to hold me that tightly? Naruto stammered in response. I was still aching from destroying those lacrima, you know? Urza smirked as she stood up and stepped around the table. You could have been a bit gentler. Well, I thought you may have needed help standing up after that, Naruto replied. Despite the fact that your battle with pain exhausted you so much that I had to carry you back to the guild, Urza countered as she slid herself into a sitting position on the table and half-turned towards the blonde. Come on Naruto, think fast, Naruto thought as his eyes unconsciously slipped down from her face to her curves. I wasn't that exhausted. Naruto, Urza said promptly. Do you have feelings for me? She clearly wasn't playing around anymore. For the last 4 months since he had joined Fairy Tail, the two had grown closer, especially after the incident at the Tower of Heaven. However, the two had kept themselves busy and didn't stop to think on their friendship. However, after Naruto defeated Nagato and his 6 paths of pain, it was clear that things had changed between the two. They had grown closer than either of them thought they could, and now Urza apparently had enough of their constant stepping around the subject. Yes, Naruto bowed his head as an image of his old love Sakura flashed through his head. When Konoha was destroyed, it was clear that he would most likely never see her again and had long since discarded his feelings for her. Now here he was admitting his feelings for the only girl that had truly given him the time of day. Good, Urza smiled. Then you won't have any objections to what I am about to do. What? Naruto started only to be cut off when she grabbed his collar and pulled his lips to hers. He thought as he closed his only uncovered eye and kissed her back-headedly. All right, break it up you two, Mira Jane spoke up as she approached from the side and the two sprang apart. There's a place for that sort of thing. Yes, Urza said curtly as she stood and started walking away. Naruto, you're taking me out tonight, she spoke over her shoulder. Yeah, Naruto nodded as he stared after the red-headed beauty. What was it you told me, Ero-sennin? There is nothing hotter than a woman who can kill you, you said, and I told you that I didn't believe you and that you were just being a pervert like usual. I take back everything I said, you were absolutely and completely right. Urza is a strong woman, Mira Jane spoke up, catching his attention. Don't hurt her. I won't, Naruto declared. That's a promise of a lifetime. A few days later everything had returned to normal and the events of the previous month were forgive but not forgotten. The few dates that Naruto and Urza had gone off really well, though Urza had refused to allow him to eat ramen on their dates. What'll I do? Lucy cried as she rested her head on the table. I wish I had a boyfriend, Kana sighed as she sat down beside the blonde girl. What's with you all of a sudden? Lucy asked, looking up. Men, it's men, Kana replied, like that explained it all. Go without a boyfriend for a while and I start getting the itch, you know? Lucy's face reddened at her words. What are you all embarrassed for? I am not, Lucy stammered as she turned her head away to conceal her blush. Oh? Kana asked with a knowing smirk. How many guys have you gone out with? Maybe like 3? Lucy chuckled nervously. Yup, a total lie, Kana confirmed. Haven't you ever wanted a boyfriend? Sure, a little, Lucy admitted. But honestly, I don't really know, and it's not like there are many guys I like that way. Well, Urza has already sunk her teeth into Naruto and the rest are either hopeless like Natsu or total perverts, Kana mused. I may try my luck with Itachi. What about Natsu? Lucy asked. Sure, Natsu was hot-headed and everything, but he was a good guy. Natsu? Kana sighed and shook her head. He never really got over Lisana's death. Lisana. Lucy thought as she remembered seeing the white-haired girl's picture a few times. Listen up, everyone. Lucy's never had a boyfriend. Kana shouted to the room. Don't tell everyone. Lucy cried. Fear not, Kana said as she turned back to the blonde girl. My cards have spoken, she took out a blue and white card. Today you will have a fateful encounter. A fateful encounter? Lucy asked in surprise, and a second later Urza ran past them wearing a purple dress. Urza, what's with the dress? Next is makeup, Urza responded as she stopped and looked over her shoulder at them. I can't stay like this, she took off running again. Shubada-duda, Gajeel sang as he slid past wearing his white business suit and a guitar in his hands. That's odd, Lucy commented. The harvest festival is over already, so, didn't you know? Mira giggled as she approached carrying a plate of drinks. A reporter for the Weekly Sorcerer is coming to do an interview here. What? Lucy gasped in surprise. The source is coming? He said he was writing a special feature on Fairy Tail, Mira added. Interview, special feature, reporter, fateful encounter? Oh my god, Lucy said as her eyes widened. I can do this. I can totally do this, she chuckled darkly, forcing Mira to take an uncomfortable step back. Natsu, Lucy's broke, Happy commented from the side. Natsu, Lucy's broke, Happy commented from the side. Maybe she ate something that went bad, Natsu suggested. Or maybe she snapped under the pressure of having to pay her rent, Gray mused. I can't stay here. Lucy yelled and took off running out of the door. Well, that was odd, Happy said in his usual tone. How the hell do you keep winning at this? Macau questioned as he threw down his cards. You said you've never even played before. I'm just lucky, I guess, Naruto shrugged with a grin as he placed his cards down on the table. It was a royal flush. I call bullshit, Droy spoke up. That's the 8th game we've played where you've gotten a royal flush. Yeah, Gray agreed as he leaned back wearing nothing but his boxer shorts. Gray-sama. Juvia stared misty-eyed from the side. We're not playing strip poker, Natsu told him as his cards burst into flames. Maybe you should worry about burning your cards every time you lose, Gray shot back. Are you trying to pick a fight? Natsu glared as he stood. You're pissing me off, Gray glared back and the two dissolved into a brawl, causing the others to sigh. Just another day in Fairy Tail, Naruto groaned as he leaned back his chair. So who is winning? Urza inquired as she appeared behind him still wearing her purple dress and gently massaged his shoulders. I am, Naruto purred as she slipped her hand up to touch the side of his cheek. Stop that. Why? Are these marks you have sensitive? Urza questioned further as she continued her task. Wipe those smirks off your faces before I pummel you all, Naruto said with a glare at the others who sat grinning at the table. Spoken like a man, Elfman proclaimed. I think I'll call it a day, Naruto said as he stood up, turned to his new red-headed girlfriend. You're taking me out tonight, Urza spoke clearly. It wasn't a request, it was a direct order, and the unmentioned possibilities of what would happen to him if he should deny her request were too gruesome for him to imagine. I'll pick you up at 7, Naruto responded. And I have to say that dress looks great on you. Finally, Jiraiya's teachings were proving to be useful. You think so? Urza asked back. I was thinking about changing it. Really? Naruto blinked confused. But I thought you liked it? I do, it just doesn't feel right, Urza replied. Truthfully, she had always preferred her armor over dresses and civilian clothing, a result of her time as a slave at the Tower of Heaven wearing nothing but rags. The armor signified her resolve and strength, so she normally wore them instead of regular civilian clothes like her friends. Well, I personally think that you look better in your armor, Naruto smirked similarly to his fallen sensei, Jiraiya. Either that or nothing at all. Pervert, Urza whacked him upside the head for the mere thought. She turned away to hide her now red face that had turned the same color as her hair. He has been turning into more of a pervert as the day goes by, especially when reading those books of his, she thought as she saw Naruto recover and take out a familiar orange book. Naruto. Fight me. Natsu yelled out his challenge. Huh? Naruto asked, turning towards him and looking up from the book. Did you say something? Karyu no Tekken. Natsu exclaimed as he lunged forward with his fist now covered in orange flames. Rasengan, Naruto whispered as he charged a spinning chakra sphere in his right hand. The two attacks connected head-on and the floor around them cracked before they were both blown back. Natsu crashed into the stage while Naruto landed on the wall above the door and stood there on the wall itself, defying gravity and still reading his book. Natsu is at it again, Urza sighed. Earthland, Fiori southern shoreline. Far to the south sat Nagato, not far from the cliff edge, with a sleeping Conan at his side as he stared out at the calm ocean. They had been traveling for days with no particular direction in mind, and they appeared to be seemingly lost on the road of life. Though if you were to ask him, he would tell you that he was waiting for something. You are a difficult pair to track down, a familiar monotone voice spoke up, breaking the silence. Itachi, Nagato grunted as the Uchiha approached from behind them. Madara thought that you had died after your battle with your younger brother. I did, Itachi confirmed. I assume that Madara didn't get my body? There was no body to recover, Nagato replied. He was quite angry at that. I'd imagine so, Itachi grunted. Though I am sure he has another way to gain the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, he added in thought. And Sasuke? He is Madara's pawn now, Nagato answered. I see, Itachi said finally. What are you doing here, Itachi? Nagato inquired. You already know, Itachi responded. Naruto. So peace has arrived, huh? Nagato mused as he stared up at the moon. Then the time has come. Chapter 15, The Mage Alliance. Earthland, Magnolia/8 Island Restaurant. Hello and welcome. Have you decided on your order? Lucy asked, dressed in an orange waitress outfit. I would like a blue sky with meat sauce, and a holly soda pollo, one customer dressed in a stereotypical dark blue wizard outfit answered. I'd like the Beastman curry, the other man dressed in a white business suit spoke up. Right, Lucy smiled as she wrote down their orders. Thank you for your orders, would you like some dessert with that? Let's see, yes, I'll have this ruby parfait, the blue wizard replied. Same for me, nodded the businessman. Thank you very much, Lucy bowed and turned away. I'm ready to order now, called another customer. Coming, Lucy called back. Wait, what the hell am I doing? She yelled and threw her notepad to the floor. Come on, Lucy, Natsu spoke from the side wearing a waiter's uniform with his scarf and carrying a plate of food. This is a job too, you know. What part of this looks like a mage's job to you? Lucy shot back. And what is with this outfit I'm wearing? The chefs at the restaurant make magical food, after all, Happy explained. Yup, Natsu nodded as he took a bite out of the food on the plate. And we're here to help out, remember? No eating the customer's food. Lucy yelled at him. A waiter's uniform isn't bad once in a while, Gray spoke from the side carrying another tray of food and only wearing his boxers. Try wearing it, then. Lucy shouted at him. And whose rent are we working to pay off here again? Gray asked her. I'm sorry, Lucy apologized. Recently there was a fiasco with her father where he lost his company and all of the family money including his home. He had gone to work at a merchant guild in a nearby town that had a little trouble with some thugs which Lucy had beaten up, and in doing so she hadn't been on a mission where she could earn the money needed to pay her rent. Now here they were. Besides, check it out, Gray said as he nodded towards the far end of the restaurant. May I have your order? Urza asked as she leaned over an occupied table wearing an orange waitress outfit. I want. Please give us one of everything, the three customers at the table pleaded. Some people are really getting into this, Gray commented. I guess I'll do my best, Lucy sighed. And then there is Naruto, Gray added as he turned towards the ex-shinobi. May I take your order now? Naruto asked cutely, also dressed in an orange waitress outfit. When Urza had found out about his Oiroke no Jutsu, she wasn't impressed and had been about to ban him from ever using it when he told her it was used for infiltration missions. After a very long conversation she eventually allowed him to use it, but only on missions, and even then he was to say that Naruto was his sister should the weakly sorcerer ever get wind of it. A sweet lie that he could easily make true by simply having a clone become Naruto while he stood at the counter collecting payment. Unlike Naruto, she had both of her ocean blue eyes instead of Kakashi's Sharingan despite Naruto's attempts to add it to her. Sometimes it almost seemed like she was a separate person. Are you on the menu? Asked a brute of a male customer. Oh you, Naruto waved away his question. I'm sure you taste absolutely lovely, the brute smirked and reached up to grab her. Let go of me, Naruto glared at him as she tried to pull away. I just want to ask you something, the man's smirk widened at seeing her struggle. Nissan. Naruto yelped as she felt his hold tighten around her wrist. Get your hands off of my sister, Naruto growled and appeared from the side, landing a solid punch to the brute's face. This is a restaurant, not a whorehouse, get out of my sight before I throw you out. Why you'll regret that, the brute snarled back as he and his gang attacked as one. A minute later restaurant doors flung open as the brute and his gang were kicked out into the street. You're banned from eating here ever again, Naruto growled and closed the door, not even bothering to see if the troublemakers he had just beaten up were even conscious anymore. Thanks Nissan, Naruto sighed in relief. If that brute had used any more force on her wrist then she would have popped then and there. That would have taken a while to explain. Don't mention it, Naruto waved it off. Still, that was the 5th time today that someone had tried to harass Naruto, not to mention Urza and Lucy. Natsu and Gray usually stepped in when someone tried something with Lucy, but when someone messed with Urza, well, let's just say she didn't need help dealing with them. Let's get back to work. Good work out there, everyone, spoke Shirtu Yajima. You young UNS these days sure are hard workers, eh? There'll always be a place for you here. Thank you, Urza smiled back, still dressed as a waitress. Today was an exceptional experience. I think she likes the outfit, Happy commented. What's not to like? Naruto grinned only to receive a whack across the head from a blushing Urza. Man, now I know how Mirachan feels, Gray groaned as he sat back against the stone wall. Phew, I'm stuffed, Natsu sighed as he sat down. Just how much of this place's food did you eat? Lucy asked incredulously. What about Naruko-chan? Gray asked. Shouldn't you dispel her by now? I wish you wouldn't talk about me like I'm not even here, Naruto glared and turned away with a huff. Seriously, what is with her? Gray questioned. If I didn't know she was one of your clones, I would have thought she really was your sister. My clones can think for themselves, Naruto shrugged. Isn't that dangerous? Lucy inquired. What if they rebel? They're still a part of me, Naruto replied. I trust them like I trust myself. Naya. Naruto stuck out her tongue at them when he said that. By the way, Yajima-san, how did things go at the council? Urza asked the old magic chef. Oh, well, I'm not a member anymore, you know, Shirtu admitted. The council, exclaimed both Natsu and Gray in surprise. Didn't you guys know? Yajima-san used to be one of the counselors, Lucy explained. Zuku, or was it Zellal? Shirtu mused. You mean Jellal? Urza answered with a sweat drop. Ah yes, that's right, Shirtu nodded. The betrayal of Zellal and Altair was quite the blunder for the council. Now should be the time to establish a fresh, new council, and the groundwork for it seems to be being laid in all quarters. It caused you all quite a lot of grief, it did, I am really sorry. No. I've heard that you were set against firing Eterian the entire time, Urza smiled sadly. And you even retired out of shame for the actions of the council. Nah, I just don't think I'm cut out for politics, Shirtu sighed. Anyway, cooking is so much more fun. Ramen. Naruto drooled when Shirtu handed a bowl of ramen to the blonde Jinchuriki. Where's mine? Naruto whined. Nissan, share it with me. Huh? Did you say something? Naruto asked. Nissan. You're turning into Kakashi-sensei. Naruto cried. By the way, Natsu-kun, Gray-kun, Shirtu spoke directly to the pair. A lot of changes are going to be made to the council, and without me around, there won't be anybody to stand up for Fairy Tail when they get into trouble anymore. So suggest you keep that in mind. Absolutely, both Natsu and Gray responded at the same time. We should be heading home, Urza spoke up. Until next time, Yajima-san. Earthland, Magnolia/Fairy Tail Guild. What is this? Lucy asked the question as everyone crowded around the image of a blue chart hanging midair. It's an organization chart of the Dark Guilds, Mira replied. I drew it, Rita spoke up. When you look at it overall, there are quite a lot of them, Urza mused. Are we going to go out and pound them? Naruto asked. Yeah, that sounds like fun, Natsu agreed. There has been some activity from them lately, Mira stated. We have to strengthen the bonds between guilds. What's the big oval? Gray inquired. Juvia knows, it is the Balam Alliance, Juvia spoke up. The Balam Alliance is the most powerful force of dark guilds, combining the three guilds of Oration Cease, Tartaros, and Grimoire Heart. Each of them have a number of associated guilds, and they control the underworld of dark guilds. Then there's the guild that acts independently of the rest, Raven Tail. If they've been around for so long, then why hasn't someone dealt with them by now? Naruto asked the question. The law against starting wars between guilds, Mira answered. The old Magic Council refused to allow any single guild to wage war on another, even if they were a dark guild. I hate politics, Naruto sighed and shook his head. Huh? Lucy blinked in surprise. Eisenwald? Yes, that's the guild that Aragorn was in, Urza nodded. So that was one of the guilds associated with Oration Cease, huh? Gray mused. Eisenwald? Naruto asked. It was a guild we destroyed before you joined, Urza replied. There are a lot of names that I remember up there, Macau commented. Aren't there some that used to be legal guilds, too? Ghoul Spirits, the one that the Reijinchu destroyed, was also one of them, Mira added. And the guilds Juvia and Gajilkuan destroyed when we were in Phantom Lord were all from Oration Cease, Juvia declared happily. Please, don't go smiling about it. Gray said with a sweat drop. I hope they're not angry, Lucy shivered. Don't worry about it, Naruto grinned. If they decide to pull something, then we'll kick their asses. I heard that Oration Cease only has 6 members, Mira added. But even with only 6 members, they're a member of the strongest organization. Only 6? Naruto asked. These guys sound like the Akatsuki. About the Oration Cease, Makarov spoke up as he entered the room. We're going to take them down, he declared to the room's shock. Oh, welcome back, Master, Mira smiled. What kind of reaction is that? Lucy asked her. So, Master, what exactly is this about? Urza inquired. At the regular meeting a few days ago, the Oration Cease came up on the agenda. It seems that they're up to something, Makarov explained. It was decided that this development cannot be ignored, and so a guild must be sent to eliminate them. And you just had to draw the losing card, as usual, huh? Gray asked knowingly. Fairy Tail is taking up that responsibility? Juvia asked further. Not quite, Makarov continued. The enemy is simply too large for that. If we went in alone, then we would end up as the sole targets of the Balam Alliance's wrath. As such, we're going to be forming an alliance of our own. En alliance? Naruto asked the question. With who? Fairy Tail, Blue Pegasus, Lamia Scale, Kate Shelter, each of these guilds is to select a number of members, and those members will join forces to defeat the enemy, Makarov concluded. We can handle those guys alone, Natsu spoke up. Hell, I can handle those guys alone. Naive fool, Urza said as she whacked him over the head. The master is thinking of the consequences that come afterwards. Wait, hold on a second, we're only dealing with 6 people, right? Lucy asked. What kind of monsters are they? You've seen what the master, Urza, Naruto and Itachi can do. Not to mention Natsu, Gray responded. With comrades like them, what do you think qualifies as a monster? He has a point, Naruto agreed, though he hated to be referred to as a monster. Speaking of Itachi, has anyone seen him? He has been gone for nearly a month now. Gray trailed off. Itachi-kun said he had some business to take care of, Mira answered with a smile. Then it seems he will not be going with you, Makarov sighed. Urza, Naruto, Natsu, Gray, Lucy, you 5 will represent Fairy Tail in the Mage Alliance.